Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the penultimate round of the Drift Masters European Championship 2023. We are here in Ferropolis in Germany, one of the most unique and crazy locations for a drift event. It is an abandoned mine and quarry that has been flooded and turned into a unique venue, usually for concerts like AC/DC or Limp Bizkit, but this weekend, different kind of rock and roll for you. It is all about the horsepower, it is all about the drifting, and we're heading towards qualifying. My name is Dave Egan. I'm going to be talking you through all of the action today and tomorrow. I'm alongside my good pal Ian Waddington. Ian, we love this place. It always brings out the best in our drivers. Tons of concrete walls. We're going to see a lot of body panels scattered around the German arena today.
Yeah, look, we love this place, Dave. It is such a unique setting in such a unique place. There is nowhere else in the world you're going to find an island that has been designed like this, and it really, really throws down for these guys. Complete concrete wall the whole way around. There's nowhere to escape. There's no safe zones, Dave. This is a battle arena, and this is where these guys are going to be doing battle this weekend. Absolutely.
Today's attention turns to qualifying, but it's just as tough as the battles when it comes to this track because the walls are so immovable, and you've got to be on them. That's what the judges are saying. It's going to be really tough to see who comes out on top, and these are the men that have come out on top this year. Wiańczek taking the win as he was continuing a run of form from a two-time back-to-back winning championship run, but it fell apart in Sweden as Juha Rintanen took the win. Then Connor Shanahan and Jack Shanahan, two brothers winning the last two rounds, are now 1 and 2 in the championship, and the fight is very much on right from the off here in qualifying. I'll tell you one thing, the fans are getting ready. We're going to see this place packed under the lights tomorrow for the main event, top 16, but right now this championship very much on the line. Just a few points separating our top couple of drivers. Jack Shanahan leading his brother Connor Shanahan at the moment, and as the two Finnish drivers, Juha Rintanen and Lauri Heinen, looking here this weekend to head to that big final in Poland right on their tails. As Dwayne McKeever rounds out 5th, Peter Wiańczek a little bit out of touch, the previous champion in 6th, but he can get back in the mix this weekend. Kevin Pazor on a big charge this year as Kuba Pszczonski rounds out our top 8. And those drivers will go in with the most pressure into this qualifying session, meaning that, of course, your qualifying session dictates where you sit in the battle action in the top 32 main event. That's why you want to get a good qualifying score, because you're going to go up against somebody who may be struggling a little bit more with the track. The fans are ready, the drivers are ready, and Ian, we are definitely ready here in the tower because this track is going to see some crazy stuff over the next couple of hours.
Well, it certainly is, Dave. We've already seen some crazy stuff in practice over the last 2 days. Those guys were out this morning practicing, and there was a few spills and frills, Dave, on the circuit. And there we go. This is the weekend calendar.
Yeah, we're going to head to qualifying today, and then tomorrow it is main event, 4:15 local time, and then the big finale, 8:25 p.m. local time, under the lights here in Ferropolis, when it just looks so cool and the smoke cuts through all that glare, and we are going to have a very interesting championship fight on our hands this weekend. But the time for talk is over. The time for action is coming, and I will tell you one thing, Ian, I am ready for it.
Yeah, I am ready for it, Dave, but we need to talk about the track, because we've spoken about how good it is, Dave, but let's take a look at the technical side of it and what these judges are expecting our drivers to do this weekend.
Yeah, watch that first 2 marks on the line. They're the ones the judges are going to be looking for that initiation, and this track is all about those outer wall runs. Inner zones, we don't even need them this weekend. Just 7 outer zones, 1 deceleration zone. You only let slow down once, and it's just at the end of the first corner. And you can see it's going to be kind of a kick of the clutch through this very strange half corner into our first outer zone 1, where you decelerate to set the car up and then get on that outer line. And you got to get the rear end of that car to those walls, and you can see outer zone 2 and 3 as you pass around those. Outer zone 3 that has the first transition on the track, heading to another huge outer zone, which is outer zone 4. You want the car rear wheels inside that white lines that are painted on the edge of the circuit, but not making heavy contact with the wall. Then it's another transition towards outer zone 5, and then this is where you set yourself up for this perfect outer zone 6 and the finish line at outer zone 7. It looks easy, it's anything but. The drivers are going to be expected by the judges to be scraping paint off those bumpers all the way around this track to get high scores and be fluid, and obviously look like they're well in control of the car, not making any stall-ups or any hiccups along the way. Ian, it's going to be tough on them because you can't make any mistakes, because it's into a wall that could be the end of your weekend. Each driver will get 2 runs of the qualifying layout, with their best run counting as their overall score. The top 32 will advance to the finals, and we've got over 50 drivers here this weekend, so some are going to be eliminated at the end of qualifying as per usual. Makes it very knife edge, very sort of, I would say, high pressure from some of these, especially the wild cards. So you can see those are the drivers on the start of your screen. Three of those drivers, Andreas Lydia, Torren Kavia, and Sebastian Fonda, coming through from the Iron Drift King competition, which is also taking place this weekend, jumping back in the mix. But all three have been previous drivers in Drift Masters, so this will be no worry for them. And then we got a lot of drivers here in the mid-pack, I think, looking to pick up a little bit of form. Ian, you get into the 5th round of the championship, you definitely don't want to be down the bottom half.
No, and I think this is the round where really, and if you're this far into the season and you're kind of mid-pack, as you say, lower down the order, where you can make a move now or risk the car, Dave. You can really say, look, I'm going to throw the car to the walls. I'm going to make a big impact. I'm going to try and make a move. And you could, you know, we've seen it in the past. We've seen drivers come in as a wild card or a mid-pack driver, make a big impact at round 5, score a whole load of points, and be the talking point going into the final round in Poland.
Absolutely, and of course, this is the qualifying start list, so it's in reverse championship order. So our highest championship contender at the moment, which is Jack Shannon, will be our final driver in qualifying, and he's the one right now we're looking at on your screens. That is the tension right now in the Shanahan camp as they head into one of the toughest qualifying sessions. They're so close now. It could all fall apart this weekend or be rewarded. But we're ready on the line. The marshals are ready. We hope you guys at home are ready, because we are about to head to qualifying. The stage is set here in Ferropolis. We have a lot of runs to get through. We're going to talk you through all the action. If you're new to the sport, welcome along and welcome to the madness. As we start with our first driver, Nicolas Manuer. He is our first driver. This is a crazy 4-cylinder, 1,000 horsepower GT86 X Formula Drift car. Ian, what a way to kick off qualifying.
Yeah, what a way to get off qualifying. This car has been out, as you say, Dave, in America doing its thing, but now back in Europe and being piloted. Nicolas hoping to join the team, the Drift Force team, for the rest of the season of Ismaier and Joshua Reynolds. But as we see now already, for Nicolas Manuer, not going too well, fails to get to that big long outside zone there in the centre of the circuit. Big clutch kick as the front wheel almost pops off the tarmac, dives up onto the wall, looks to stamp a little bit of an impression on the end of the run, Dave, but judges will be heavily picking up there every single part. They're saying if you're not on the wall, Dave, if you're not touching the bumper on the wall, every single outside zone, you'll be bleeding points from 2 judges.
Absolutely. Looked to me from start to finish like a very conservative run from Nicolas. Looked like he didn't want to make any major errors. Now the line is pretty good. He gets the front wheel to where he needs to be. You'll see those 2 marked lines.
Yep.
That's where the left front wheel of the car is supposed to be. But as you can see, as he comes to those outer zones, he's collecting just the edge or not at all some of those, which is going to hurt some points. And judges saying that there's at least 3 or 4 points every single clip on the track that you've got to be deep within it, that you're going to lose those scores. Now, again, new car for him this weekend, and you know, but this is a big mistake for me. Missing this outer zone, judges are going to look at that very heavily. And while, you know, it's a pretty run, it looks good, there's lots of smoke, it looks comfortable, it's only going to score you a 57 when you're missing so many zones.
Yeah, exactly that, Dave. And the zones are the big key point, and that initiation, as you spoke about. We keep it moving, though. It's going to be Jason Banet, the French driver. Again, another a BRZ, a Subaru, a GT86. That chassis, Dave, yeah, so popular now.
Very popular, and again, we're seeing some of the best in Europe here right off the bat. Some of these incredible builds. It's not just about the drifting, it's also about the car build. Yeah. He's come off with a lot of gusto here. Good line so far. Fires the car in a little wobble as he comes down to zone 1. Tries to keep it wide down to zone 2. Does a good job of getting the rear wheels in, but not as fluid as the judges would have liked in some areas there. As he transitions back, this is fast, this is spicy, we like this, out to the wall, rubbing the rear end of the car. Not a lot of overhang on a GT86, so you got to be really brave, but then just gets a little unstuck as he comes to that outer zone 5, and it just kind of gets him up a little bit for the end of the run. Not a bad run, beautiful looking car, some moments of brilliance, but overall could have been a bit more fluid. Yeah, could have been a little bit more fluid. He was getting, like we say, Dave, we've said before, there's ways of getting to those outside zones, and sometimes it's not the ethical way. It's not the right way that the judges have laid out in that briefing. You can see that. Look at that timing, the way he positioned that front wheel on those 2 white lines, exactly where he needed to be through outside zone 1. Looks like a nice line, gets nice and deep into outside zone 2, but then for me, he kind of makes a few errors. You can see him locking up that front wheel, left foot braking, trying to push the back end of that Subaru BRZ into those outside zones. Now, this is where I think everything kind of goes wrong. He sets himself up lovely here, gets into this outside zone, but watch right at the end of the zone, he tags the wall and it upsets the car, and that kind of fires him away at the wrong angle for the transition. You can see here, ready? Boom, tags the wall and it upsets the car. Look, boom, just upsets him a little bit, and then he has to think about the transition. Transitions mid-track, doesn't get the outside zone. Yeah, and it's very tough because, you know, you're almost, how much do you want to take a bite out of this track is a lot of them going to be the questions asked. And 70 on the board for Jason Banet from France, but that's the thing, you go too deep in the wall, it's going to upset. So, you know, if you're in the wall and you're scrubbing paint, that's cool. But if it starts to upset your line, well, then it's not going to work. From 2 GT86s or BRZs to something completely different, we have got this Mercedes A-Class of Olaf Hagen Hasdal. And this is just a wild car. It's got a BMW V8 twin turbo.
Yep.
700 horsepower in a Mercedes hatchback.
Yep.
Doesn't need to make sense, Ian, because he's ready to rock and roll here as he fires into that first corner. Nice and wide to the wall, but he kind of stalls up a little bit, but he's getting that line right, and the judges will reward him for this as he tries to make sure that he gets out to every single outer zone. It's not the fastest run we've seen today. Oh, he's just barely dropping a tire into that next outer zone. Oh, and drops out of it very early. This is going to be an early transition, which is going to be tough for the next zone here, but he does get there. Nice recovery from Olaf as he puts in a good run. Just so cool to see something different on the grid. We like to see cars that we've never seen before, and we always say, we've been around this game a little while.
Yep.
We've seen it all. Well, we haven't seen an
seen
A-Class with 700 horsepower before, and it works pretty well.
And you know what, such a friendly guy. We went down to the pits yesterday and had a chat with him, had a good look around the car, because me and Dave started getting wild ideas about getting on eBay and buying ourselves some A-Class BMWs. But no, we had a good look around it. Very well built car, and he actually got this wild card entry. It was gifted to him by Torane Kavir when Kavir won the Norwegian championship. So Kavir said, hey, this guy has drove so well all year, he's helped us out, we're going to give him the wild card. And Kavir wanted to earn his way into Drift Masters through Iron Drift King this weekend.
Which he did.
Which he did.
So that's a level of confidence I'd be scared to come up against this weekend. You see, it's the problem with these hatchback cars is they've so little overhang on the rear that another driver will be pushing a bumper onto the wall. These guys are wheel in the wall.
Wheel in the wall,
69 on the board, second position right now. We will see these scores rise. You want to see high 70s, low 80s to be guaranteeing yourself even a good shot of getting into the top 32, and the scores will come in pretty high, especially with this track being very technical but also doable for most of these drivers. Next up, a returning driver to the grid from Poland, Krzysztof Romanowski. He's had some amazing results in Drift Masters in the past. Haven't seen him for a little while. 900 horsepower, 2JZ BMW 46, and he's not going to be afraid of this one bit, Ian.
No, he certainly isn't. Well, this is a new chassis for him. He kind of debuted it a few years ago, and now he's back, and it looks like he's really refined his team and got his program back together. And look at that, right to the white line, puts the bumper to the wall, and Romanowski looking strong, just as we remember him now. A little shallow on the entry into that long outside zone, but he gets the job done, puts the bumper and flexes the rear quarter. Good transition across the circuit, nice and smooth. Looks for the final two outside zones, pins the back end to the wall across the line, and that, Dave, is the Romanowski that we remember.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you one thing, some good moments out there, getting real close to the wall. The judges saying they're not taking any excuses here. They say you guys should be able at this level to get that car a little tight on the inside on that first corner, dropping over some of those white lines for me. But again, it's a smooth line. This is the highlight for me. This area here of the track, outer zone 2 to 3, was probably the most aggressive he was on the track. But again, did that aggression carry across everywhere? Maybe not. There was a couple of moments and again, we're being super harsh here because we want to be clear to you guys of what the judges are looking for. Their expectation levels are incredibly high. Can you drift around concrete walls casually in 800 horsepower? Of course, every driver here is incredibly talented, this is beyond anything you've seen anywhere else. But we still have to separate those guys with these criteria decisions. So 75 on the board for Krzysztof Romanowski. Solid first run, good return to Drift Masters. Has something to build on for the second half of qualifying.
Oh, it's definitely a confidence setter there, Dave, knowing that what the track's like. We had a big storm blow in last night. We were amateur storm chasers for a few hours last night, Dave, filming the lightning.
A lot of lightning.
This place got absolutely sodden wet last night, and it took a while for it to dry out. And we've had some practice sessions this morning, but now it's starting to come back to what it was. Andreas Vasiliauskas, the Lithuanian, comes off the line in a brand new build, a GM2 M4 BMW built by himself and the team, AVAS Motorsport. And as you can see, look at this, Vasiliauskas not scared to flex that carbon Kevlar, Dave, as he puts it to the wall. Nice entry into this outside zone now as he tucks the rear bumper right up onto the wall, pushes the tail light into the concrete and says, I'm not worried about those, I just want to get the most I can on the board as he absolutely pushes beyond limit.
Somewhere right now there is a man polishing his M4 saying, whoa,
wow,
imagine if a trolley dinged me in the car park. Imagine if I opened my door a little too hard against something.
Put the car cover on it at night.
He's smashing the taillights off it on walls in the middle of a mine in Germany.
And Dave, this car was only built a few months ago. If you follow Andreas Vasiliauskas on social media, you'll see the amount of work that's gone into this car. It's unbelievable. And he demoed this car like 2 weeks ago, and he's out driving it now to this limit on this level. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's a new chassis. It's a lot to learn, a lot of setup changes, but it looks like he's gelling really well with the car from the early off, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, it certainly is, Dave. And you know what? He really stamped the authority on the end of this run. Look at this as he tucked the tail light onto the wall and said, yeah, look, I can get this transition done perfectly. That's a very good run. And it's rewarded an 88, Dave, on the board for Andreas Vasiliauskas.
Yeah, not one bit surprised. Beautiful run, fluid. You can see that he got to all of those outer zones. He was touching taillights off the wall. Very expensive taillights, mind you.
Yeah.
And now we got another very expensive chassis on the start line. If you're a fan of anything to do with cars, you know the Mark IV Supra is one of the highest rising valued cars. Well, it's about to lower its value a little bit here if you see what this guy does with it. It is Andreas Lilia from Sweden, and he has got 1,028 horsepower in this Mark IV. One of the few cars on the grid with the actual engine that came in the car, if I'm not mistaken. 2JZ power, 3-litre turbo, and look at this. The noise from this thing echoing around the stadium here is phenomenal. It could be a little closer to some of those areas, but look how much smoke he's throwing. Oh, and a little miss of the outside zone. So just a couple of moments there where he made some errors. It's so cool to see that chassis still out competing at the top level.
And you know what? They're so iconic, Dave, and you kind of walk through the paddock and see it in the pits with a few battle scars on it, and you think, that is criminal, because I would love one of those on my driveway. You know what, though? Andreas Lilia this weekend turned up for one job only, and that was to get into Drift Masters through that Iron Drift King wildcard qualifier last night. And right up until those last two outside zones, he was doing an astonishing job. Look at this, right to the wall, right to the white line, and real good style, good angle. The transitions were perfectly timed. It was so nice. Look at the entry into this outside zone. He was on it perfectly. But then, as you say, gets to the end of this wall run and then completely mistimes the transition. I think it's so easily done here at that part of the circuit.
Yeah, this is a real separate. It's the timing is everything here, because you got to come out of a wall into another wall, and you got to get that transition perfect. You go too early, you miss clips later on. You go too late, you miss the clip altogether that you're trying to get to. So a 79 on the board for Andreas Lilia. Not a bad score, got to say. Impressive for a return to the grid.
Yeah.
These guys are putting in some solid scores, but what I'm also looking at is a trend of how high are these scores going to go as we get through this championship order.
Well, look, we've got a man returning on the grid, and he said he was going to do it the right way, and he is back on the grid for this weekend. It will be Torane Kavir. The Norwegian sledgehammer, Dave, is back in town in this crazy Nissan 200SX. V8 turbo, 800 horsepower, and he is the now reigning Norwegian drift champion. Look at this, all the way down through that front line. He comes up onto the wall. Kavir not messing around. He goes for the wall, and he almost tags the back bumper off it, but look at the line he takes to outside zone 2 as Torane Kavir pops the wheel off the tarmac, runs the wall the whole entirety round as Kavir looks to get this short transition time perfectly, and he does as Kavir hammers the throttle through the floor, looks for the final outside zone, and job done for the Norwegian. And that, Dave, is one hell of a return.
Yeah, I'm looking at that track going, what more is there out there? Because that was pretty solid. Yeah, he could have been a little millimeter here or there.
I was just going to say, inches, Dave, you're splitting
You're
hairs.
down to centimeters and inches.
Wow.
You're not down to meters, and that was phenomenal. And the one thing I look at Kavir when he's inside the car, so controlled, so smooth. It's like he's
taking a daily drive to the shops.
Yeah, just going to go down and get the local newspaper.
Look at that.
It's unbelievable. This wide line here, especially this is the risky part from the initiation, and look at that rear wheel right across that white line, but not making significant. This is probably my favorite part of the track. Attacks this next zone. Goes in so aggressive that I thought he was going to crash into the wall, and of course, if you don't crash into the wall, look how precise he is with the rear end of that car.
I mean, Dave, he's flexing the panels to the point that this is what the judges asked for. Trade paint, don't take the panels off. I mean, I don't know what more he could have done. Like you say, he could have been centimetres more on a few walls, but that, for me, Dave, was a phenomenal run. And that really reminds me of how much I've missed Kavir this year. He took a step back from Drift Masters to focus on his national championship, and he said, it feels good to be back. He said, but do I really want to come back? And I mean, look at this. What a return. A 94 for Torane Kavir. The judges look across, Dave. They shake their heads and they say, yeah, he's back for sure.
Well, that's a big score early on in qualifying, and I think we're going to see that right up there for a while, because that is a tough score to beat. Well, one man,
you say that,
one man
Dave.
that's going to say, not a big fan of that score. I'd like a little higher. Is Sebastian Fonten, another returning driver, one of the most stylish E36 BMW drivers in the world, in my opinion, and he is not going to be holding back here. The Dutchman ready to try and set the scoreboard light. Big early initiation from Fonten as he slides down on the wall. Little lock of the front brake, gets that car planted to the wall. Not as wide as Kvyat there, but wider on 2 as he comes. A little hesitation there from Fontaine, a little bit heavy on the left foot brake, in my opinion. Coming in there just to steady the car. We know he's got the flair, we know he's got the style. This might be a conservative first run for him just to make sure he gets a score on the board. Remember, a lot of drivers not going to qualify here. Fontaine takes it across the line. It's a good run, it's a great run. Was it as good as Kvyat's? I'm going to say probably not as special, no, not far away.
I think like we're going to get to the point, Dave, where we can get the higher end of the championship, where we're going to be really trying to split hairs with these guys because they're all going to be pinpoint perfect. Incredible initiation there for Sebastian Fontaine. Look at the way he just glances across, tags the wall, see it just upset the front wheels, and maybe is that where it kind of pushed him off that perfect qualifying line?
Yeah, I was just wondering because, you know, he was so close to outer zone 2, but he wasn't as close on 3, and I think that's because he just made a little bit of contact with outer zone 2. It pushed him off, and then he got a little cautious then, going, I don't hit all the walls, and 1 is enough. So as he comes through the middle section of the course, I think he just he started backing away from that big flare run that we're used to seeing from Fontaine. It's still a very solid technical run. I mean, there's going to be a lot of drivers out there on the grid struggling to do Fontaine's conservative run.
Yeah.
Never mind anything else.
I mean, we would struggle.
We would struggle to just drive around in the rental car on this track without hitting the walls, Ian. We're pretty bad. But what I will say is Fontaine puts a solid first one. That's an 84. It's exactly what he needs. It's something that he could probably qualify with, and now we can push again.
I was just going to say, Dave, I'm thinking the way this is going to play out, that this is probably going to be enough to get him in the show later on. But we could be wrong, and we've been wrong in the past. We're going to
rarely, but often. Rarely, but often we're wrong.
Back on the line.
Kaelin Kierton from Romania, and he is coming in. He's been struggling a little bit in practice. I was watching a little bit this morning, and I'm thinking he's got to get it together for qualifying. Romanian driver, beautiful machine, this 750 horsepower 2Js. He gets nice and wide from Kierton, but he's got too wide. Oh, he had to come late on the throttle there. I'm not sure he knew he was going to stay out of that wall. They do a good job of staying wide, really hunting those outer zones, which is what we want to see the drivers do. It just dropping a wheel outside there, barely getting it, and he transitions very late and misses the outer zone a little bit. But you know what? Not a bad run all the same from Kaelin Kierton from Romania. Good job. I think it's going to be a really tough qualifying session for everybody. I think you're probably going to need to be near perfect to get into the show.
Yeah, look, there's going to be a lot of guys sitting in the background now, in the queue, watching the live stream as they all do, saying this is not going to be easy this weekend. This is not going to be an easy fight. It never is here at the Drift Masters European Championship, but this weekend especially, the competition's heating up as we head to that final round of PG Narodowy in Poland. And these guys now, we said it earlier, Dave, they all want a little bit of success. They all want to walk away this weekend or next round with a trophy in their hand, saying, look, I did it. I managed to get it. Well, it's always a heavy fight.
There's a couple of accolades if you want. One is the championship. That's the big one. But a round win is also a rare commodity in Drift Masters, and a lot of those round wins go to the similar people. So we've had a different winner at every single round this year, meaning that some of these guys thinking, well, this could be me. This could be me now at this event, as opposed to, you know, maybe not, you know, when we saw, let's say, Vinesek dominate and James Dean dominate in the past, or Zalewski. Now we're starting to see guys say, well, this guy can do it. I can do it. Yeah. So people getting a little bit of a confidence boost around the paddock, and it's quite unpredictable at the moment. High-level drifting, I love what I'm seeing. Yeah, very hard to predict. High level of competition. You know, as you say, splitting hairs between qualifying runs. Hard to be super critical of anybody when a 75 means that you're running, in Kaelin Kierton's case, the car off every single wall into place and still scoring a 75. So it's going to be an exciting qualifying session. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Here next up, we got one of my favorite cars on the grid. All about the style on this one. Nissan Silvia S15, 2JZ, 800 horsepower. It is Henry Hampa from Finland. One of the most beautiful cars on the grid, but he's been struggling with it over the last 2 rounds, hoping for better fortune this time around in Germany. Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough season so far, Henry Hampa, but he's looking for a turn of fortune this weekend. Nice down onto that first outside zone on the throttle, nice and early. That flicks the car to angle, but that might have sacrificed outside zone 3, and it does now as he transitions into this long outside zone. Plenty of time to think about what you're doing here and get the car set up, as he looks to flick the car down, back now in towards the grandstand. Hammers on the floor, dials on the angle once again. Final outside zone on the wall across the line. Good job from Henry Hampa. It's a good job. I think he came on and off throttle a little heavy in certain areas. You can see the car stall up, then boom, there was a load of throttle, and boom, kind of off again. I think that's going to happen when you've got a new machine. You're learning its limits, and you got to remember some of the guys, if you look at the guys maybe in the top 5 or 6 in the championship, they've been in those cars for quite some time. A couple of years. They've learned all the nuances, they've learned all of those little things, and you can see Henry, they're just coming a little heavy on the left foot brake just to balance that car in. But does it matter if it looks that good? To me, no, but to the judges, probably quite a bit. Yeah. But would say from my perspective, I just think having a really cool car is enough for me.
Kevin O'Connell said to me earlier when I was talking to him about the judging criteria on the line, he said, I don't care how cool the car is. He said, you could turn up with a Ferrari drift car and I wouldn't really care.
Kevin has no appreciation of style whatsoever. It's all technical for him. And you know what, that makes it fair. But there's no golden buzzer for us for style. 78, good score though. 78 on the board for Henry Hampen.
I think you'd be very happy with that, Dave.
I wonder if 70 even going to be enough here today, because I'm just looking at how many 70s are going in early. There's going to be a lot of people sitting there.
It's been you know, it's been one of those years where we've said this, and then we get to top 32, and like 32 places, like an 80-point run.
Well, that's because it's so competitive, and that's good for us to watch. Bad for the drivers. You can see the stone-cold concentration of Enver Haskasap. 2JZ, 1,000 horsepower. Says he's having a lot of fun this year, jumping between rallying and drifting. So he's doing a little bit of both. Very aggressive, fast entry there. This looks pretty, a little lock of the front brake, but it didn't work. A little too tentative maybe towards outer zone 2. It's very tough to get back out there again, Ian, if you don't get it there initially. A late transition. It's going to put him on a weird line. It's going to put him into the wall.
Yeah.
And he's going to be, he's broken something, I think, on the rear suspension there. Maybe just put a little alignment out, but it's going to be, he's resting that car in the last section of the course. I'm not sure if it's a 0 for straightening, but it's very close to it, because he was off angle for quite a considerable amount of time in outer zone 4. But he was trying, and we like that. Yeah,
I mean, look, we spoke about it earlier, and we speak a lot about it earlier. We speak a lot about a lot of stuff off camera and off microphone. These guys have to be pushing, and we said they're going to be, you know, pushing to the limit where if you're crashing, you know you're going to be trying hard enough. And I think that is where Enver Haskasap was at. He knew he made a mistake on that initiation, and that upset that line. And you can see here that transition just kind of mistimed, and it is a 0.
Yeah, just drove essentially through the outer zone, which is a 0 for a considerable amount of considerable lack of drifting.
Yeah,
it's a drift championship after all, Ian. You can't be driving around.
No, unfortunately.
We'd be the kings of it if it was just the drive.
No, we'd win.
The international driving championship.
Yeah, we'd be champions.
Drifting's much harder. So we got Maciej Jarkovic now on the start line. He's ready to take his first run of the track. 800 horsepower 2JZ. It's kind of the recipe right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it works straight out the box. You know, 2JZ platform is so reliable and works so well for these guys, and everybody's got it dialed now. But look at this. Maciej Jarkovic takes a very shallow approach down to outside zone 1. Now starts to get the car set up, looking for what he's going to do. Dials on the angle, looks for that transition, times it very well. Tucks that rear end in to the outside zone onto the wall. He wavers and wanders a little bit though, keeps it in there now, and he's mistimed that transition. You can see how much it affects the car. Fails to get to the outside zone now, picks back up on that qualifying line, across the line. And Maciej Jarkovic there, just doing enough, I think, to keep that judges happy.
Yeah, and if you see the brake light illuminate on the back of the car or on the windscreen of the car, and it also is on the windscreen to show the judges if they are braking. It's from left foot braking, which if you're new to the sport may seem incredible, but that's what they're doing. They're actually standing on the front brakes with their left foot, which you never do in normal driving, and you're accelerating with your right foot. What it does, keeps the back wheels spinning, but it slows the front end of the car down, or sometimes can push your angle out a little bit more, and you'll see that on some of these outer zones. People like Maciej here, you can see right here, just sitting on that left foot brake, using it to tuck the nose of the car around, because these tires are so grippy on the back that if you'll get understeer if you don't have some of these extra control methods. So you think about it, you're initiating, you're putting the handbrake, clutching in, then getting back on throttle, then putting your left foot from the clutch onto the brake while you also are on throttle. It's a bit crazy when you think about it, how they drive these machines, which are set up like drag cars to have as much grip, essentially in safety terms like a rally car, and then in the front like a drift car with so much angle. Crazy, right? 76 on the board for Maciej Jarkovic. He's out 6th position so far. We'll see how that works out for him later on. But as I said, just trying to explain some of these crazy things that are happening in the sport. If you're new, here's another brand new Supra. You take that from the factory, you cut it to pieces, you replace all the panels with carbon Kevlar, which is the same stuff they make bulletproof vests out of, and aeroplanes, and then you make another Supra out of it. And then put the engine from a different car into it most of the time. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. And then you throw in a 16-year-old absolute monster behind the wheel, as we see Timo Lipski now firing his car through the Ukrainian driver, hammering down in this brand new A90 Supra, tucks the back end onto the wall. There'll be a lot of people wincing in the grandstands, and the back tail lights get pushed into the concrete. Back on the throttle he goes, the front end pops off the tarmac. Timo Lipski absolutely hammering across the line. Phenomenal job there from the young 16-year-old Ukrainian.
Beautiful car. I just love this body kit. That spoiler on the back is just so outrageous. What I love about it is that you take a 2020 Toyota Supra and you put the engine from a 92 Supra in it. So it goes to show progress isn't always, isn't always the way.
The chassis is good, the engine maybe not so much of the new Supras. Look at this, incredible job. Finding a little too much aggressive here for me on outside zone 1. You can see how that affected that line to 2. He got it back on it though, Dave, but that was a mistake down outside zone 1.
Yeah, it looked like he was indecisive.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to hit the wall, then he kind of stomped on everything, and then it slowed down too much. This is perfect though. Out of zone. A lot of expensiveness very close to the wall there, and you're just thinking...
It tags it, look, multiple times there.
Yeah,
it
just
says,
boop, boop, boop.
It's fine.
Yeah. You know, those ain't the cheapest taillights on the grid, I can tell you that. Beautiful car, though. It looks so mean in that raw carbon Kevlar.
Yeah.
You might notice why some of these cars are this darkish green. It's because that is raw carbon Kevlar. That's the color it comes in. So, yeah, it's not an aesthetically picked color. It's a more functional color. 76 on the board. Or Timur Lipski from the Ukraine, 6th position right now.
Well, if one Toyota Supra wasn't enough for you, one 2020 Toyota Supra, we have a few of them on the grid. And up next is another one. It is, of course, the man from Switzerland. Yves Meyer sits in this GR Supra. But this does run the engine it came from the factory. It's a B58 underneath the body, 1,010 horsepower. And these guys representing, Toyota Gazoo Racing in the Drift Force team. Nice initiation down that front wheel perfectly on those markers. And look at this as Yves Meyer puts the back end of that Supra to the wall. That's a beautiful initiation. Now starts to work the back end into those outside zones. A few scuffs and scrapes already on the back, and he won't mind a few more if he gets high in qualifying now. As Yves Meyer looks to fulfill all of that zone. Nice transition, times it well. Just sacrificing a little bit of points there by not getting deep on the wall, but nevertheless, it's a nice run from Yves Meyer. It's
a beautiful machine as well. We took a look around in the pits. This car is probably the most technologically advanced drift car, there's 2 of them on the grid, that I've ever seen. Air conditioning, climate control. You can change 7 different power settings through the run, live. It's just got an incredible amount of stuff in there. And they've taken all the experience they got in GT3 racing and applied it to their drift car, which is not always the way we see it. You know, a lot of drifters come from drifting alone or rallying, and they'll start to apply those. We very rarely see people come across from GT racing into drifting, and they've applied a lot of those, you know, knowledge learned from that. He said it's a lot of car, and he's still learning it. It's a first season, it's a debut. We generally don't see these cars work out the box. It takes a couple of rounds, but he's getting better and better as he goes, looking way more comfortable than he did early on in the season in the likes of Ireland or in Finland. Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, look, he debuted this car at Mondello Park at round 1, and there we go. Look at that, 83. It just goes to show you the progression from round 1, where he really struggled with the car. They went away, they did seat time, they worked on the car. Now he's getting into the groove with that car, Dave. If we go back to the line, I'm just thinking how far the sport has come on you. Every single car is just ridiculous. Brand new, another brand new build from Max Miller from the Ukraine on the start line. Fully carbon Kevlar, Eurofighter F22. BMW 2 Series, 1,000 horsepower. Another guy looking to get a little bit of a head start here. Oh, he's tagged the wall pretty heavy on the way in there as he locks up, and he is not afraid to put this car to the wall, but a little bit wavering there as he comes through the first outer zone. New car to him, new setup to him, but definitely not afraid. It's definitely not a new car in the rear end anymore as he smashes the cone off. This is an aggressive run from Max Miller. All the flair, all the style, but maybe missing just a couple of marks when it came to the judging criteria. But I'll tell you what, from where we're sitting, that was the most exciting run so far. It certainly was, Dave. And you know what? He went for the impact literally quite then on that run. Look at this from the initiation. He was already aggressive, flicked the car across super early. It was just maybe half a wheel over that white dotted line, tagged the wall, and I think that massively upset the first half of this run. You can see he gets on the wall again, tags it, and then he really has to start adjusting the car and working it back into that qualifying line. This, though, for me was phenomenal, because he got on there and he ran the back end of the car the whole way around the wall, not scared, takes the cone clean down, and then says, well, we've already wrecked the back end, we might as well just keep pushing a little bit more. Look at this, the cone says, I'm out of here, Dave. Takes the microphone down. Minded his own business there on the wall. And next thing, boom. And the thing is, he doesn't have a big spoiler to hit it with. He's just hitting it with the ducktail of that car. And the worst thing about those walls for me is that he's so deep in them, and he's not going to get rewarded for it because he just makes too much impact. So it's that fine line. We're saying to other drivers, you're not wide enough to the walls. Then you get in the wall, and you still get deducted. So the fine line of getting that perfect score here is going to be really tough for these guys. As Tobias Pushan from Poland now lines up on the start line. Tobias running a E92 BMW. This has 760 horsepower. Another very handsome car on the grid. Makes a ton of noise, this thing, as well, as he throws it in. Nice initiative. Oh, gets a little bit early. Just didn't extend the drift quite enough, but now he's got to adjust the rear end of the car, and he does, Ian. Does a good job of getting it back online again. Could be a little wider here and there, but this bit for me is so depth-defying when you watch the drivers throw these machines. Oh, he's buried the back end of the car into the wall there. Absolutely smashed it in. A little bit of nearly an over-rotation there, but he does really well to try to hold on to it. That was a thrill ride.
It certainly was a thrill ride, Dave. And you know what? He had a big accident in practice earlier. Bent the rear wheel on the car, damaged the back end. Another team have been working hard to get it back out for qualifying. And I think that kind of upset his initiation. You could see he was tentative. You mentioned it. Flicks the car very early, and then watch this. He's on the handbrake super early as he drags the car all the way down. He scrubs so much speed that when he gets back on the throttle, he's sacrificed outside zone 2. I think that's just those nerves of being backwards into that piece of wall earlier on today.
Yeah, it's tough to see, but that outer zone 2 is probably the most difficult zone on the track. 1 and 2 for me. I think that's going to divide the judges more than anywhere else, really, because you've got to be perfect.
Yeah.
You've got to be wide. You've got to be brave.
You've got to be brave more than anything, because, you know, a foot one way and you're on the white line or the marbles that are now sitting in that corner, and there is no runoff. That little triangle is like 3 meters by 4 meters. It's tiny. You get it wrong and you're in there real quick.
Yeah, well, let's see what he scored from the judges. 77 for Tobias Puszczan from Poland, 7th position so far. A lot of high scores, which leads me to believe the scores are going to get higher, and what the cutoff may be here for qualifying might be exceptional by the end of this qualifying session. We talked about Wiesmeyer's car. Well, here's Joshua Reynolds, same car, same. But also a very beautiful machine. Would you have it in yellow? Would you have it in black? What do you think?
Oh, you're dividing opinions there. I'd have it in yellow, I think, Dave.
I think I have it in black. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
That's fine. We can take one each. So here we go to the first corner. It is going to be Joshua Reynolds as they fire now. Oh, it's a little bit early on the handbrake again. He's working it now. He's going to get himself into a dangerously wide line here. And this transition here is going to have to be perfect from Joshua Reynolds. He doesn't get it perfect. He's outside of that outer zone, having to work it in pretty late. Now he's going to spin the car. Over rotates, trying to push that car out to the edge of the zone, and it just fell apart from him very quickly. Yeah,
it certainly did. I mean, look, he knew he was out of the outside zone, and he was trying desperately to get the back end in so that he knew where he had to transition, and he just couldn't get there. As soon as he started to fall out of that zone, very difficult to get the car back into it. And we can see, look, doesn't really enter it, puts the wheel on the white line, and then as he tries to push to it, it's all over.
I'll tell you what, he's on the wrong line, and if he stayed on this line, he's going in the wall. Watch, he's going to go into the end of the wall, so he has to kind of over-rotate the car to get it out of trouble. Knew he was on the wrong line, and if I owned a beautiful car like that,
I wouldn't even drive around there.
Yeah, I'd have it in the car show. There's a nice car show out there. That's where I'd be.
There's a couple of nice Supras in that car show too. Yeah,
not even as nice as this one. That's the worst part. The nicer cars are on the track, smashing into the walls. We move along. Another returning driver to the grid is Axel Francois from France. 1UZ Turbo GT86 7 horsepower. One of the more budget builds on the track, but boy, does it not make a difference when he's driving it.
Well, he's here to party this weekend, Dave, and he's not been messing around. It is the return of Axel Francois, the Frenchman, the crazy Frenchman. Look at this as he carries big speed down into that second outside zone. And Axel Francois has been putting on a show already this weekend, really getting to grips with this German track, fires in to this long outside zone 4. Nice little dab of the foot brake. You see those real tail lights illuminating there under the braking. And now Francois sets himself up, tags the wall there, looks for the final zone. Job done. Francois looking cool, calm and collected, Dave.
Hasn't missed a beat.
No.
Back in the game. Had a big accident in Poland, the final round of the stadium last year.
Well, this is the return.
And this is the return of Axel Francois since then. And you know what? He's a very talented driver. What I love about Axel is he works at what he has.
Yeah.
And you know, he kind of keeps that budget together. You know, he's not one of the highest back drivers on the grid, but he makes it work. And he said himself, you know, this 1UZ V8 Toyota Turbo that he has in this car, it's a much cheaper way of getting power than some of these 2JZs, but he makes it work so well. And again, I think he makes up for a lot of it with just raw talent and raw ability.
Yeah, he's been long in the game now, Dave, as Axel Francois, and I know he does quite a lot of drift training in France at his local circuit. And he's, you know what, he's so well liked around the paddock and in France. And it was a shame that we lost him for most of this season, but he did break his arm in Poland at that final round. And he said, "I will be back this year at some point when I'm mentally prepared." And I think he's back for this round, and he's going to head into Poland again to a walled circuit.
It'll be like Days of Thunder, going back to where the incident happened.
Where it happened a year later.
To try and overcome his fears, which I'm looking forward to seeing. And of course, big news this morning, the Polish event selling out. 53 8,000 tickets sold.
Well, that was you guys. That was everyone watching along, Dave.
All the people watching along at home, you guys have sold out Poland. 89 on the board for Axel Francois. What a time.
That is a good score.
To come back to the sport. And I think that's an in-the-game score.
That's a good score. Do you know what? For me, it was good technically, but it lacked a little impact. It lacked that wow factor that we see from Kvia. But just goes to show you, those technical ones, Dave, they're getting in there.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Alexander Kosohov from the Ukraine. 850 horsepower, again, with another 2JZ. Simon, a 180SX S13, whichever you want to call it. And he's been looking pretty strong in a couple of rounds this year, but last round didn't go his way. This is a good entry so far. Very aggressive, very wide. He's coming in very fast. And he almost went into the wall, but he made it work. This is a good run so far from Alexander. Oh, it's a little tentative on the transition, got stalled up a little bit there on fluidity, but not bad at all as he takes it out to the outer, so it's good, it's fast, and this is the last trip. Oh, look at this, takes the cone, and that's the first person to go that brave, that wide there. He's going to be rewarded for it, I think, Ian.
I think this is going to be another good score, Dave, rolling in, because for me, that had the wow factor. That was what we wanted, that little spice on the top there, Dave, the little fizz in the drink as he fires down. This, for me, the initiation, look, he went way brave, flexed the back bumper off the wall, and then if it looks like they're going to crash, they're going to make outside zone 2.
It's good. They look like they're going to crash.
It's good for us, because we're sitting in here.
Yeah, if they do crash, it's bad.
It's bad,
If it looks like they're going to crash and they don't, then it's like a, ooh.
The only mistake, you pointed it out, Dave, was this transition. Watch this, it kind of stalled it up a little bit, used the handbrake to adjust, and the judges
it was a strange point of the run where everything else was so brave, and he just kind of, that was the one he went, oh, maybe I'll take out this bit for me, though. Nobody's gone as wide as this into this zone. There was a cone there going, they're never going to hit me. I am absolutely safe here. And then, boom, it was knocked off the wall. So let's see if the judges reward the bravery of Alexander. They do. An 88 on the board. That's the highest qualifying score he's got all year. And it goes to show, if you smash a few cones off the walls, Kevin, Vernon, and David are going to reward. They'll be happy.
Yeah.
They'll be happy men.
Thumbs up.
Christian Erlandson, well, he's used to smashing a few bits around the place. He had a bit of a spinneroonie in Riga.
Yeah, just a washing machine moment.
And here's a man that has done enough damage to the car this year that he's not going to be afraid of doing any more. Here comes a brave run, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to go for this, Dave. He's another guy lower down the field, kind of needs to get a bit of a result or make a move, but right now it's not happening for him. He's way off of 1 and 2, makes 3, but now as he heads into outside zone 4, it looked like he was going to go too deep, makes it work now. He's on big angle. He needs to slow that down because that transition is going to come up short for outside zone 5. Starts to join the dots, gets to the final 2 zones across the line, but it's a messy run there from Christian Erlandson, and he can't see anything in the car.
Yeah, maybe that was part of the reason, because that car is filled with some amount of smoke. It's great, and it does produce some amount of smoke, I will be honest.
I mean, it is 1,000 horsepower in that small car.
1,088, Ian. Don't forget the 88 horsepower, because there's a Nissan Micra on top of what you just said still left in that car. But what I will say is that he's just looked a little like he struggled on the handbrake on the way in, and again, if you fall off the line here, that outside line, getting back to it can be a challenge.
Hard,
I think once it kind of got to this point, I think he was putting a little too much angle in here, kind of got him out of the zone. And then this bit for me again, when he transitioned back, the angle was probably too much. A little bit too much angle, slowed the momentum of the car, not allowing it to push as wide as he would like. But lesson learned. He's going to be happy with a score on the board. What that score will be, we will see in a few moments.
I think he's fallen asleep there, Dave.
No, I think he just, Christian Erlandson just had a quick nap. 71 for Christian Erlandson on the board, 15th position at the moment.
Do you know what? Any other day of the week, any other event, I would say that's probably enough to get you in top 32. At this event this weekend, I'm going to say I don't think it is. Yeah,
it's hard to say what's going to be the cutoff score here today. As Norbert Zamic from Hungary lines up on the line, 800 horsepower, 2Js. I've said that like 15 times.
I was just going to say, it
should
should be, you should come to Driftmaster and get handed a little book, and it should say, this is the recipe.
The recipe is 800 horsepower, no more, no less.
No more, no less.
2JZ. So Norbert Zamic next up from Hungary. He's a man not afraid of a few walls. He's tagged a few in practice earlier on as he comes in very he's got a big lockup and made a meal of that on the entry, because I think the front wheel's locked, the back wheel's locked, and he kind of thought, I might go in that wall, so I might just back out. So that's going to be a 0 for Norbert Zamic. You know what, we watched a couple of runs there, it makes it seem very easy, but then you watch it all of a sudden, you go, it's actually a pretty tricky corner to get right.
It is a very tricky corner to get it right.
Well, it's kind of like a straight in the corner in one.
Of course.
Because you got to accelerate on the corner, and then you're in the corner way early. And then you got it's actually tightens at the end, but on the opposite side of the racing line. So if you think about it, none of it makes sense. but you know what? It looks cool to watch.
It's very cool. So it will be a 0. There we go, made that one official. Northern Savage sitting on the 0. Wonder what is up with that car. Can they iron out the kinks before his second qualifying run, which will be coming up, obviously, once we've run through this championship order. Up next, it will be Mikael Johansson, the Swedish driver, E46 2JZ, 1,000 horsepower this time, Dave.
Oh, he got another 200 horsepower. Wow.
Oh, no, we're going to jump. Sorry, my bad. We're going to jump. It is Ite Sade. And that is a E46 2JZ 800 horsepower as well, Dave, off the line. It is the young Israeli, another 16-year-old young man that is looking to make some moves. I tell you what, Dave, in practice earlier on, they were letting these guys do twin battle simulations. He was pinning it to the door.
I'll be honest with you, young man with a lot on his shoulders pressure-wise, carrying the Israeli flag into the European Championship. He's done really well this year. He's had some moments of brilliance, but this round, as he goes through it, I did notice also in practice he was very aggressive.
I mean, he's aggressive now as he puts the back end of the E46 BMW in and up onto the wall now. Looks for the transition to outside zone 5, times it perfectly. Could have been a few inches deeper, but he is deeper there, that's for sure. And he's going to go deep here onto the wall as well as he gets it across the line. And look at that young man, full of confidence. And as you say, Dave, doing a great job representing Israel here at the Drift Masters European Championship.
Yeah, great to see the diversity of nationality that's coming to this championship. Yeah. We've had Kuwait this year, we've had Israel, we've had Argentina last year. It's so cool to see people making the effort to travel so far, to be part of the circus, the traveling circus, and obviously they want to be here learning from the best. A lot of the best drivers in the world are here, and if you get to go out there and do some runs with them, some practice with them, you're going to learn a lot, and especially when you're 16 years of age on this level is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, Dave. I mean, we said it multiple times before, but when we were 16, we still had BMXs, Dave.
I was falling off a BMX at 16, and this guy's out here driving an 800 horsepower car into walls. Not into them, around them.
Around them, yeah. Perfectly as well, pretty much. Way better than what we could do now.
Well, speak for yourself here.
I've seen your driving.
Yeah, no, I don't know who I'm fooling.
Yeah, no.
No, Ite is 16 is already far beyond what my capability is, and that's incredible, and it's cool to see. And we love watching these newcomers come in, these new kids, and they shake it up.
Of course, 84 on the board, Dave, shaking it up. He's got himself in to the top 5 at the moment, and that's a big statement from the young man from Israel. And you know what, the Drift Masters European Championship, bringing everyone together and giving these talents the time to shine. We go back across Europe now to Netherlands. It is the one and only Clint Van Oort, the wild man, one of the loudest cars on the grid. 2JZ, 800 horsepower. It's the recipe in a Nissan 200SX off the line as he spins the wheels. Big flick to initiation, but he scrambles and scrambles on that front wheel now as Clint Van Oort looks to get to outside zone. Oh, and the car shuts down for a moment there. A momentary shutdown. He gets back into it as Clint Van Oort now finds a very strange line into outside zone 4. As Clint Van Oort looks for the transition, times it wrong, and he's going to be not as deep as he would have hoped to have been. See, the back end of that car's been in the wall already this weekend, but not right now when it needed to matter.
Yeah, and I was just, having a look over at the judges who are quite close.
Shaking their heads, Dave.
No, just quite close to me this round.
Yeah, too close.
And I'm watching how they're scoring this, and it's actually very interesting to see how they score each independent clipping zone.
Yeah,
how close they are to the wall. It's very technical. I'm not going to watch much more of it because it's quite
Kevin
boring.
O'Connell's actually covering his notepad now, like you're copying his homework.
It's like an Excel sheet. There's just a lot going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but
you just see
it's
numbers.
Very
technical. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to know. But what I'm saying is that they are taking it very seriously, zone by zone.
Yeah.
And Clint making a big error at outer zone 2. Just, coming off throttle, having a little bit of a stall up. And then, immediately starts bleeding you points.
I mean, the funny thing is we watch Clint Van Oort in practice, and we've seen him, driving this car all over Europe, and he does so well in it. And I spoke to someone before, and I said, what goes on? Like one of his crew chiefs and his mechanics. And he said when he gets on that line for qualifying at Drift Masters, he said he just feels the pressure. He said he watches everyone else come off the line, banging out the 90s, the 80s, the 75s, he says, and he just sits there and says, I can't do it. Even though he's been doing it all weekend, the mental game, Dave, at this championship is now just as big as the physical one.
Yeah, he has the stuff to do it. He has to go out and do it.
Yeah,
and that's the hard part.
It's the squishy bit between the seat and the steering wheel, Dave.
That's usually the trouble.
That's the problem.
61, yeah. He's going to have to do a bit of work on the second half qualifying to rectify that. And that's the thing. It's so much pressure. We're just watching driver after driver going, oh, it's a name in a car. But to them, this is their life.
Yeah, of course.
It's all on the line. So Manuel Vaca is our next driver on the start line. S54 turbo. Yep. Nice to have a change.
Nice to have a change.
940 horsepower in this BMW. All the power, all the go. Does he have all the scores as he heads off the line? Our Italian driver, Heads into that first corner, nice and wide. That's not bad at all from Manuel back. Very fluid on the handbrake and the front brake there. But he misses out of zone 3, and unfortunately he's got a bit over-rotating here, and that's a mistake. He's going to drop out of that out of zone. 2 errors almost back-to-back there. And now he's just trying to salvage points, and it's just not going to work for him here, as these zones at the end of the track, in my opinion, and maybe the judges' opinion, not as important as the ones at the start of the track when it comes to setting you up for the perfect lap.
Yeah, I think it's that long outside zone 4 and the two transitions. That point, that centre section of the circuit is probably where this is won or lost, and obviously the initiation, because that's so heavily weighed on, as Kevin O'Connell was telling me earlier. But there we go, we see it. The initiation, though, he had it absolutely dialed, and then for some reason he kind of wavered offline at outside zone 2. That's where it all went wrong, because he was on the wrong line at outside zone 3, and then he dialed on this massive snappy transition, which is not what the judges were looking for in qualifying, and that put him way offline.
Yeah, if you're wondering why we do qualifying, well, we do it because we're trying to find the best lead runs. Obviously, when we go to tandem action, to twin battles, as you call them as well, you want the lead driver to be predictable. You want him to be on the outside line, allowing the chase car to get as close as possible and be able to make some moves without wondering what's the lead car going to do. That's why we don't want big, snappy transitions from the lead car. That's why we don't want them to be wayward or moving around the track. 62 is the reward for Manuel Vacca's few little errors on the track. That said, these lead runs are going to decide the best lead drivers, which eliminate, 50 to 20 people from qualifying as well. Now, Adam Zalewski, sitting quite far down the order this year, has had so many mechanical gremlins and bad luck sort of situations this year. The previous European Championships wants a little bit of redemption here, wants a podium before it's said and done this season. He's coming out swinging.
He certainly is coming out swinging, and as you say, he wants that redemption. He's had a rough season so far, and every single time he steps behind the wheel of this car, he's having problems, but right now it looks like it's working. It looks like he's got it all sewn up as Adam Zalewski gets into the outside zone, sacrifices the tail lights as he pulls it now across the circuit very deep onto the wall, dabs a foot brake, puts the back end of the GT86 into the wall and across the line.
That's going to be a big score. That's going to be a big score, because there's nothing you can honestly look at there and say was a big error. Everything was pretty smooth.
No, yeah. I was just wondering where we was upside down then for a moment and looked at the screen.
The drone
got a little lost.
Just got a little lost. Like, wow, that
there.
was unbelievable. What I liked about Zalewski's run is there was no point of the track where it looked like he was struggling with the car or he was under pressure. He was just flowing through the track, looked super comfortable, a little left foot brake when he needed to adjust, but it didn't affect the balance of the car. You'll watch that front wheel, look at that very little wavering as he goes through that first corner. It's just a little bit of left foot brake. Oh, let's put the back end out here on the wall. Everything's great. Very smooth. We know how talented this young man is. We know how good he is, but he just hasn't had that run of it this year.
No.
And now this could be the round where we see Zalewski just start to re-announce himself onto the European stage and say, look, I know, guys, I haven't been at the top of the podium for a while, but I'm still really good.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And we will never forget that he was a former Drift Masters European champion.
So we have Adam, yeah, well, let's wait for the score to come in from Adam Zalewski.
Wow.
It's a 91 from Adam Zalewski. Massive score. And that is a huge, huge score from Adam Zalewski. As I said, they've got the noise-cancelling headphones on there in the crowd, obviously. It is pretty loud.
Very loud
yeah,
in
pretty
here.
loud.
Yeah, it's very loud in there. It's a battle arena. It is built for concerts, so it is super loud. We're back on the line with a Finnish driver, Mika Keski-Korpi, who once again has had a run of fortune and misfortune so far in 2023, but now running that Ford Bauer engine, 800 horsepower, looking for some redemption. As Keski-Korpi seems to now find himself at home at the Drift Masters European Championship, dialing on into those outside zones. And look at that, he might have a wagon and he's tacking the back end of that wagon into the wall. He's got some room to play with. Big snappy transition. Can he make that one pay off? He can. It won't be rewarded by the judges, but he gets the job done across the line as Keski-Korpi puts on an absolute stormer of a first qualifying run.
I liked it.
Yeah, do you know what? I was just sitting there thinking, there's some moments of brilliance in that day for me.
There
Look
was
at
some
this.
moments where I thought he was going to spin, and then he didn't.
But the problem is, I don't think he's going to be rewarded for those big snappy transitions, because that's not what the judges wanted to see.
True.
But for an impact, for us, for the X Factor, he had it. Yeah, he had the style. And for me, like getting this car positioned how he did. Look at this transition. Boom, perfectly times it into that wall. That wasn't that snappy. It was the one leading out of outside zone 4 to 5 that I think will be questionable by the judges.
Yeah, it looked like we could say, we don't know if it was intentional or not.
No.
But it can look like a bit of an over-rotation. Not an official over-rotation, but it looked like he went a lot of angle
I think he was being super aggressive because he knew maybe mistimed it. So he's like, if I flick it now, this car is so long, whatever happens, I'm going to make the outside.
You know what?
So
He pulled it off, and it was quite fast. On second look, that was really, really good.
That's a very good run. That's probably one of the best qualifying runs I've seen from Keski so far in the last 2 seasons of knowing him as a driver in his championship.
And he's coming on leaps and bounds. He's another contender. It's an 83 on the board. And you can see it was, a little bit of style knocked down there into 8th position for Miki Keski. 83 is still a very good run.
It's a very good run.
I'm just looking at those scores locking in, and all of a sudden I thought we were in a greenhouse there for a minute. Jakob Kroll, a guy that I watched in practice and said, you know what, if he gets this right in qualifying, he is going to be a contender for a top spot. Expect a big run here, whether it's the first or the second run. Oh, he's a little inside there, Ian, as he comes through the first corner, very late on the accelerator as well. Brave there as he goes right out to that outer zone 2, taking it up against the wall. This is the transition we've been watching all the way through as he fires it down. Look at this, getting right out close to the wall. Just flexing the fiberglass as he transitions a little bit wild. A very wild transition, very similar to Keski, but gets it done. I'm not sure if that's the way to do it or that's the only way to do it. If you're losing so much momentum coming out of the center section, you got to fire it to the next section, and it looks so cool to watch.
I think that's what they're doing. I think they're losing that momentum, as you say. They're in that outside zone 4 for quite a long time, and then to get the momentum to transition the car, they're having to really flick it across the circuit. Look at this, so inside the car from Jakob Kroll, very cool, calm and collected, and he was flirting with danger. Look at that, super wide there. I wonder if he tagged the wall because it kind of pushed him away from that wide line into that outside zone. As we see him now looking for the transition up to outside zone 4. Like a little dab of the handbrake, sets the car up back on throttle nice and early, and that was very nice. As Jakob Kroll getting the job done. Yeah, it was a very shallow transition, so I think he knew he was going to overshoot it, Dave. Watch this, look at the angle he's going at it from. He knew if I didn't flick it, he wasn't going to get the back wheels through the outside zone. You can see how that affected him because of how wide he ran after the zone.
He almost was going to end up in the wall. He was
in the wall, yeah.
So he had to put mega angle on to slow the car down. I like watching it, though. I'm a fan of the big, snappy transition, but the judges have said it's very hard to chase.
It's hard to chase, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know what you're doing there if you're kind of putting big angle in. Still an 84 on the board, a very solid score from Jakob Kroll. A lot of 80s. I think by the time we get halfway through qualifying, we're going to look at a very high score as they cut off here, probably higher than we've ever seen before.
I'm inclined to agree, Dave, and that doesn't happen very often. Oliver Randalou steps up to the line, the Estonian driver now, way down the order. Made a few moves last season, kind of announced himself. Had a little bit of bad luck this year, though. Some crashes, some engine failures, some problems, but now needs to get himself back into the zone, back into everyone's mouths as he fires down. Nice line into outside zone 2. On the foot brake he goes. As you can see him trying to work the back end of the E36 BMW into the zones. Flicks across for 4. Very, very nice job there. He's heavy on the foot brake as he tags the back end off the wall. Looks for the transition. Perfectly timed. Tags the other wall as well. And this is going to be a big run right now from the Estonian driver as he gets it done.
Good run again. Oh, I don't know. How are you going to separate all these guys?
This is what I'm saying.
Everybody's on it today.
I mean, we've been coming to the Iron Drift King, we've gone to Ferropolis for now 4 years. So these guys now, Dave, they kind of say, oh, this is the formula. We know what we need to do. You know, it's like repetition. They say, this is one we can go into this and say, we know how it works, because when we throw a new track in the mix every now and then, every different year, we say, here's a new track, try and work that one out. When we come back to a track these guys have driven for a while, they know what works. And I think everyone now is starting to say, oh, I could do well there.
But if the qualifying is this competitive,
what is top 32 going to be
What
like?
is the battle going to be like? Because everybody is going to be...
I don't think there's enough time to do like a lot of one more times.
There is not enough bumpers
to do one more
in
time
the world to survive this weekend. I'm just going to say it, there's going to be a lot of heavy impact from people rubbing doors and getting super close.
There's going to be a lot of scratching heads from judges. I'm just going to say that over the course of the weekend.
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Well, qualifying is tough too, try and separate these guys at 83 for Oliver Randalou. A lot of guys jumping in there in sort of the low 80s right now, which is good in terms of consistency, probably bad in terms of how many people are going to be stuck in that particular area of the scoreboard. Alex Slovnia, we remember he took down Peter Vjajcek in Sweden. Big moment for Alex Slovnia this year. Has to try and climb himself onto a podium to call it probably a perfect year for him in this new chassis. Slovnia comes off the line, 800 horsepower M2, wide body carbon Kevlar, coming in very aggressive towards out on 2, but just kind of floating a little bit there throughout zone 2 and 3, not getting quite out to the wall. And if I owned this car, I wouldn't be anywhere near the wall. I wouldn't even park near the wall. Never mind drive near the wall. Early transition when you make it work. It's going to be tough to get right out to the white line. Does a good job there, Alex. Smooth run again. Very solid. I mean, this is really splitting hairs
It's
now.
rinse and repeat every run now, Dave. These guys are that good that every run is almost copy and paste. Because
I thought there would be a bit more discrepancy because of the variables on the track, the variables in the machinery. But they're just making it work.
Just making it look too easy. That's the problem. This, for me, very, very nice. Nice initiation as he comes down, as Alex Halovnia gets that car perfectly timed here. Look at this, he jumps back onto the handbrake, onto the foot brake and throttle, sorry, at the right time. But then he kind of wavers away from outside zone 3. You can see it here, it doesn't go as deep. And I think the car super gripped up, pulled him away from the wall instead of letting him float to it. And then from there on out, really, I think he just showed some aggression. I think he knew he had to really start putting the bumper on the wall to show the judges he can do what they have asked.
But I mean, this is not, what, 7 times a lap you've got to put the rear end of the car so close to an immovable concrete wall. And they're just going, yeah, whatever. Like, it's incredible. 85 on the board for Alex Halovnia from the Ukraine. 6th position. Driver campaigning here in Europe and in the USA this year. So busy year for Alex Halovnia, doing really well. Both sides of the water too. Pavel Grosz, our next driver up. One of my favorite cars on the grid. Beautifully presented BRZ 2JZ, 750 horsepower. And I'll tell you one thing, the guy's ready to attack these first 2 runs here as they go through. Pavel Grosz, here we go. Look at that, very aggressive on the throttle as he goes through. That's what the judges want to see, but can he get it all the way down to the end of the wall? Just about. Takes the rear end of the car right out to the outer zone 2, outer zone 3 again. Good run, not really scrubbing paint here, but getting the job done. First runs will be more conservative in my opinion, Ian. I think they're going to be a little bit more of a relaxed approach. Pavel Grosz not relaxed though as he throws it back to those last couple of outer zones and takes it across the finish line. Another solid run again. It's probably sitting in the 80s as well.
I mean, this is going to be a tough fight this weekend for these guys because, do you know what? I sat there, Dave, and I just thought about it for a moment. I said, if we've got a whole 20 drivers on 80-point runs, that means they are all very, very good lead and chase drivers.
Well, that's the thing. You're looking at this as where's the advantage for anybody when we go into the battle?
Every lead is going to be identical.
And you're going to have the chase driver confident that every lead is going to be really good.
The lead, yeah. This is going to be probably one of the tightest top 32s I think we're going to see this season. Yeah,
you know, Riga with the weather conditions, Sweden with the speed, all these different tracks you've watched throughout the year. They force errors a lot.
Yeah.
This track, I mean, we have had weather issues yesterday in practice and stuff here, but right now, it's a dull day, but it's a warm day, and the track is dry. And people like Pavel Grosz out there are feeling very comfortable on it. An 86 on the board for Pavel Grosz, a huge score for him, and only enough for 6th place right now, and we're only halfway through the first half of qualifying. So a quarter of the way through if you do the math. Another Mercedes. We have 3 Mercedes on the grid, by the way.
They're getting popular now, Dave.
Especially diesel ones. You just can't move for them out there. Timo Peltola from Finland in this crazy diesel-powered BMW. 800 horsepower, 1,200 Newton meters of torque. He's going to need every bit of it to take this around the circuit. Look at this nice initiation from Timo.
Yeah, it certainly is a nice initiation. A little shallow, though, on outside zone 1. Max now starting to get it to work now as he goes shallow on outside zone 3. Big old car, heavy to throw around as well, even though the back end is fully made of fiberglass. Puts it to the wall now as Timo Peltola looks for the outside zone. Oh, and you can see the wheel uncovered and in big contact with the wall there.
Yeah, that's going to be a 0. He stopped drifting, did not complete the run, and absolutely tore the rear end of the car off. Look at that whole rear clamshell on this car. It's amazing. Yeah. From the C-pillar back is the complete clamshell.
All fiberglass.
However, he's done suspension damage, which looked heavy to me. And if he's just done a couple of arms, they can swap him. If he's done more serious damage to the subframe, that's going to be a tight time frame to get that back out for the second run.
I was wondering here, did he tag it here, which bent something, and then it's kind of upset? Oh, no, the wheel just moved. He was on the marbles. This was the problem, and this is what I spoke about earlier. There isn't a whole bunch of runoff. There is those little triangles in the corner of the arena, but they are just full of marbles. So as soon as you get on there, Dave, it's like glass.
Oh, yeah, because that's where all the tire, the debris is being scattered around. No one's out there, so no one's really cleaning that up. So if you get out there, it is like driving on ice, and Timo found that out the hard way, and he's going to have to limp that car back into the pit area and try and get it back out. Some great teams behind the scenes, though, well able to get these cars back together. And we'll keep you updated on Peltola and see if he can get that car up for the second half of qualifying, because we want to see a diesel BMW in the show. That's what we always want. A little bit different. And, you know, the black smoke, white smoke combo, I quite like it.
Quite like it. Well, if we go back on the line, Paweł Korpolinski, the Polish driver, Dave, finished on the podium last year, said that this is, in fact, has finished on the podium for the last 3 years here in Germany.
That's a statement, and that's a guy that likes this track.
He said, I love this track. I drive it on the sim non-stop. I love being here. I love Germany, and I love this incredible circuit at Ferropolis, and now it starts to show. As look at this from Paweł Korpolinski as he puts the back bumper onto the wall. Look at the way he timed that transition into the outside zone, hammers the throttle through the floor now as he flicks the circuit, flicks the car across the circuit once again, almost touches the bumper on the wall. He's so clinical that he flexes the bumper, trades paint, and doesn't take the panel off. That, to me, is a man that's confident here.
Confident, great run. Was it incredible? I'm going to say it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, I think there's more in the tank for Paweł Korpolinski. I think this is the safe first running, little on the inside of that first initial zone. Nice wall run here, but everything from here just looks to be a little controlled, a little safe.
I think he's so technical on this circuit, Dave, that he kind of takes the sauce off of it a little bit. I think he needed that wow factor, and I don't think it delivered. But technically, this was a very good run. And look, we're looking for the wow factor. The judges are looking for the technicality. They are robots, Dave, sat next to us, typing away, numbers, figures, lines.
Zero personality.
Zero personality people. But we look for the X factor. We look for the look for the jalapeno on the taco, Dave.
People,
that's what we look for.
We're fun people. We like to see fun things.
Around.
They just, you know, does not compute, go to the wall.
Exactly.
That's
and I think that is a run that will impress the judges, because technically that's what they wanted. That's what they asked for.
Yeah. I still think, though, deep down within them, they want to see a cone fly off a wall.
Do they?
Yep. An 88 on the board. Brilliant run from Paweł Korpolinski. I still think that man has a 98 in him. I really do believe it.
You just think he's ready for it?
I think that's a simple run for him. I think
he went out there and was like, this is easy.
Yeah, no. I think,
well, you go from a man that says this is easy and he has, to a man that could literally fly back to Norway for the speed he comes in here at, is of course the one and only Ørjan Nilsen, Dave. Incredible. Who knows what to expect?
Absolutely, he's going to go for the walls here, that's for sure. Very wide from Ørjan Nilsen. I don't know how even any panel is left on this car after the season he's had. He's been on the roof twice this year in this car, as he transitions very, very early there, not getting all the way out to that outer zone. It's a good run from Ørjan Nilsen so far as he takes it to the edge of the zone. This transition seems to be struggling. Everyone's struggling to get that wide line. They go too wide or not wide enough, and it's showing that those marbles on the track are the banana peel that they don't want to get out to. It's a great run from Ørjan Nilsen. Again, every run is great. I don't understand what's happening. There's no comparable. Like usually we go, oh, this is a bad run, and then this is a good run.
There's either a 0 or an 80-point run.
Yeah, it's like this is he's smashed the car into the wall, or here's a brilliant run. That's literally it.
That is it. Look how fast he came in here, Dave. Can we just? I thought he was going off circuit. Look at this. Waits till the split second on the throttle, lights the tyres up, and then pushes it through outside zone 2. It's
great driving from Ørjan Nilsen and his team, who've probably been the busiest team of anyone on the pits. In the pits this year.
They've definitely earned their wages this year.
They have definitely earned a couple of cold beers at the end of the year for the amount of times they've put this Toyota Sora back out. Also, credit to a Toyota Sora chassis for taking what must be the most amount of hits I've ever seen a car take in the championship. And every round it comes back out with full panels on and ready to go.
Well, there we go. Looking at the end of the run there, and I think, look, these cars so gripped up. I think a lot of guys were worried that the circuit was still maybe a little greasy from the rain last night, so they put a little bit of extra grip in the car, and you could see that there from Ørjan Nilsen. The car didn't really want to float to the wall, and it made it difficult. An 88 on the board.
That's back-to-back.
We're like almost bordering 10 scores now in a row of an 80.
I've never seen anything like that before. So we got on that down. We've got a little interview ready with Adam Ivel. Adam is with Ørjan Nilsen after a crazy run. Adam, he must be delighted with a score of 88.
Dave, Ian, I am here with Ørjan Nilsen. Ørjan, you've had a crazy season so far. Score of 88. How do you feel?
Well, I thought I was going to do better, but in outer zone 4, I touched the wall a little bit and I had to slow down a bit, so I made some small corrections. 88 is not what I'm aiming for, so I'm going to push harder for next round. But yeah, I'm feeling good on track. lovely to be here. The car is feeling good, so yeah, I'm going to push harder.
Awesome. Was it a lot of work to get it all back together? Because we know you had a lot of problems at the last round.
Yeah, the engine failed in Riga because of a tiny rubber piece, so been working hard to get it ready. We're here. I'm just happy, so yeah, let's get it.
Well, you're in the show. Thank you, Orjan. Have fun on your next run.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Engine failure. Car flipped on its roof twice. He's still here, and he's not happy with an 88 at round 5 of the
Well, I
championship.
mean,
does that not say a lot about these
It
competitors?
says I'm scared. I'm glad I'm locked away in a steel box that's
Away from these guys.
everyone.
Yeah, because I'm scared of what's about to come later today as well. Juha Poitalaxo is our next driver up from Finland, 2-time Finnish champion, 850 horsepower E92 Fin fighter, as he calls it.
Yep.
Yep. And oh, big early kind of slip of the clutch there, and it gets it done nicely down to the edge of the track. Nice so far from Poitalaxo as he takes it out wide. Could be a little bit wide out of these transitions, catching a couple of drivers out. As you said, Oren is saying the line is tough to keep without backing out of it. Looks pretty fluid so far from Juha as he transitions back to another snappy transition. It's a strange one. I think this is due to the amount of grip in these cars. They're having to fire them out to the edge of the track.
They certainly are. Look, we say that these guys have wound the grip into these cars, but we've also got to take into consideration, Dave, that there's been a lot of driving on this circuit over the past 2 days. We have 2 different championships running here this weekend, and look at the amount of tyre that's been put down, and that is making the track run after run grippier and grippier. So when we get to our championship leader, Jack Shanahan, this track is going to be almost at its grippiest point, and you can see how that's affecting the cars. You can see they're able to let the car float through outside zone 1 to the very last second, and then jump on the throttle. And like Orjan said, getting and keeping in those outside zones is difficult. And 85 on the board for Juha Poitalaxo from Finland. He'll be happy with that one. But I don't know if he will be by the end of top 32, because you might need a 90 to stay in it.
Well, it's either an 80 or 80-something or a 0 right now.
Or a 0 right now.
And then Max Heidrich, well, if there's ever a man that'll go 90-something and a 0, it could be Max Heidrich. He's in his home event.
Home event.
Max, my favorite driver on the grid to watch. Sometimes hard to watch. He's that scary, but he is always full throttle, always full aggression into that first car. Good so far from Max Heidrich as he goes firing down towards the wall here. Not afraid of the walls. Max Heidrich pushing to the limits on this car. 780 horsepower being driven through those rear tires. A little bang off the wall there, a little touch to the rub, as Max Heidrich does a good job of taking this car across the line. With the first people ever to test this layout back in the day. And then look at that, he is a happy man in the car.
Wow. That's a man that's happy to be driving at his home event, Dave.
Absolutely. And the German fans are happy to have a Max Heidrich because he's got his constant entertainment. I
mean, look, what guys to represent your country. A wild cannon that's such a good personality with a really well turned out car. Very nice initiation. He, like I say, lets that car wash onto grip right to the very moment. And look at him, super focused. He looks for the wall, down a gear he goes, and then he's on it, on the throttle, balancing the back wheel right to the edge of that white line. For me, kind of wandered and wavered. I think he was a little bit worried about making too much contact and zeroing out. Might leave that big impact run to the second run, but for me, technical, he was in there. He needs to be where he needs to be, and he's definitely going to get a good score on the board for this one.
Yeah, Max Heidrich doing a great job, and you can see the emotion spilling out of the car, and he was like, thank you, I got a good one on the board. And you know what he's really saying? I can now go for a mad second one because I've got a 93. A 93 from the judges, Max Heidrich. All the speed, all the commitment, and that was the safe run. So if everyone in the first 3 rows could take a step back up to the top, the second run, I'm sure, will be even more spectacular.
Well, the spectacular isn't going to stop until we finish this qualifying session, Dave, because now we move it onto the line to a driver from the Czech Republic. It is Marko Zacharil in this F22 BMW 2 Series. V8 turbo, 900 horsepower. And Zacharil did good things here many moons ago. He was close to a podium, but the car fouled him at the last hurdle. Will this weekend be redemption weekend for Marko Zacharil as he puts bumper to wall now? The Czech driver looking to impress the judges. He knows what he needs to do, and he knows what's putting a smile on their faces this afternoon. And the car ignites across the line. 88 miles an hour, Dave. We're going back to 2019.
Yeah, so he basically started the run in 2023, and by the end of it, he was back in 2018. So we'll have to see what the score is back then. We'll know it, obviously, because it was 4 years ago.
Four years ago, yeah.
So it's fine. So I can't believe that car spins the wheels so violently that once the exhaust backfire comes out, it actually just ignites the rear tires. and it looks cool.
It's
I'm sure the safety
cool.
officer is not happy with Marco Zaccarello, but from where we're sitting,
very cool.
Very cool. I quite like it.
Highlight reel stuff,
yeah,
Dave.
I was like, oh, he's on fire again.
He's on fire again.
Again. Classic Marco Zaccarello. He's on fire.
It's like he's got his own fire team that follow him around. Like,
the guy
he could be at the bar having a beer.
There's a
and all of
guy
sudden,
on an electric scooter with a fire extinguisher following this man around all weekend going, it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
He'll be at the after party just standing there chilling. Next thing, his back will be on fire. Be like, oh, it happened again.
Oh, I'm on fire again.
again.
Rumour has it his dance moves are even so fast. They just spark. they'll ignite. And then, yeah, rear wheel starts to go on fire as he comes across the line. Classic. Marco Zaccarello with an 86. Wow, these scores are kind of ridiculous now. They're all very good. 86 on the board. We're not used to this.
No, this isn't
and
normal.
You know what? This is putting serious pressure on our top championship contenders because they're looking at that amount of guys coming in with 88s, 93s, 86s.
Well, so I mean, almost the top 20, Dave, are on 80s.
Wow. Let's see now if our next driver can join them. It's Michael Reichardt from the Czech Republic. He's got an S54 turbo, E92, M3. 1,000 horsepower. Was it M3 to start with, by the way?
Yeah, it was an M3, a genuine M3 from the factory when Michael Reichardt decided to build this car very wide there on outside zone 1 now on the throttle nice and early. And Reichardt looking for a little bit of form this weekend, fires it across the circuit. This is not very nice for Michael Reichardt. Not scared to put bumper to wall or any panel to wall, to be honest with you, as he fires it back in to outside zone 6. Looks for that final zone across the line. Very nice run from Michael Reichardt.
That's going to be in the 80s as well. Like I'm just going by what I'm seeing. That's going to be up there as well.
We might have to add in like another judging thing for this round, especially.
I feel we might get to names in a hat. That's where we might get to. If everyone scores in the 80s, we'll just go names in a hat.
We'll just go names in a hat.
Or maybe like a fight on the track.
A fight on the track?
Yeah, fight on the track.
No, we don't want to see him fight, Dave. That's very barbaric.
Look where we are.
But yeah,
we're in sort of an
abandoned mine,
battle
in an
arena.
Island. Yeah, in an island.
You know, survival of the fittest.
To be fair, yeah.
I love how like throwing your 900 horsepower car at a concrete wall is fine.
It's fine,
but a small little fist fight sounds ridiculous. But Come on,
and they've all been down on the beach, swimming in the lake, bare-chested, like flexing the muscle.
Yeah.
They've all been down there, you know, like look at me. Like, been doing the training in the season.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of
training. Getting ripped, yeah. Not me, not you.
No.
Never. Too much fast food.
Yeah, we're not on camera. 92, 92 on the board from Michael Reichardt. 3rd position. My brain has just left the building.
Wait, we're not even in the top 10 of the championship yet, Dave.
Well, what are they going to do?
That's the strategy. We'll have to extend it to like the maximum points are 110.
Yeah, we're pushing out to 150. Pontus Hartmann is up next. He had a bit of a hit in practice earlier, had a bit of a crash at the wall, pushing hard. Let's hope he can be at that car 100% now as he takes off the line.
Well, look, he's been here multiple times before, and I do believe that in the past he was the Iron Drift King, was Pontus Hartmann, so he'll want to show everyone how and why and what he did to get there. Right now, as he fires through, he's very shallow on outside zone 3, though. It looks like he's carrying a lot of speed, though. This is fast through the circuit, and that's not helping him as he wanders and wavers in outside zone 4, flicks the car across the circuit. Nice time in there, gets the job done, finds the throttle, picks it up, absolutely flies down across the line.
You know what's funny now? A good run isn't enough. It needs to be a great run. So, like, if you want to get up into the 80s, you've got to have, I would imagine, 2 wheels in every single zone on the track. And you miss one at all, you're not going to qualify. That's where I'm just going to put it out there. I think it's going to be that knife edge when we come to scoring later on, because there's going to be everybody's getting great runs. And watch Pontus Hartmann here. Doesn't really get down to zone 2 or 3 the way he'd like to.
No.
He definitely wants to. He just doesn't get the flow there. And then this one as well, as he transitions back, just kind of on the edge like that, where wheel dropping out of that outer zone. This, to me, is going to drop him out of those higher scores.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you're right there. And I think, again, looking at it now back, more of a technical point of view, looking at where he kind of went wrong and how it went wrong, I think, again, this is going to come down to the grip factor. I think this track's getting grippier and grippier run by run. And I think he struggled there to place the car where he needed to be and keep it in those zones.
Well, I think Pontus Hartmann's going to see a score drop in here that's not going to be in the 80s, I would imagine. Yeah, 76 for Pontus Hartmann, 25th position so far. He's still in the mix. Still a lot of drivers to go.
Yeah, still a lot of drivers to go, Dave. And we go back to the start line to this young man. Is the up-and-coming Polish superstar, the one and only Eric Gottschall.
He's had a very strong Finland, very strong Riga. In Latvia, can he have a strong Germany? Well, he had a fire within the cabin yesterday in practice. I actually called Connor Shannon, had to jump out of his car to help put it out, but it looked like they have everything back together as the youngster fires into that first corner. 18 years old from Poland, 1,000 horsepower in this V8 LS3 powered turbo BMW small car, big engine, big ambitions as Eric Gottschall fires this little car around the track. Looking very comfortable and very fluid and very fast there.
Very controlled. Wow, look at that control, Dave. See the way he backed out of it then and then reasserted himself into that wall. It was incredible stuff. Yep, the youngish Dakar winner in history, I do believe, and Eric Gottschall. This was so early. Look at this. Flicked the car super early. Was so committed, and he was on it all the way down. Look, very nice line through outside zone 1, but then it picked up grip, and it kind of made the car wobble.
Jumped him out of the zone a little earlier than he wanted to, and he had to work the car. You know what? I respect it when people work the car back onto the line.
Yeah.
But you've obviously had to do that for a reason, because you weren't on the line perfectly to begin with. And I think if you look at the fluidity of some of the runs we've watched, at 83, 4, 5, you need to be kind of there from the first zone all to the last zone, looking pretty smooth. Eric, doing a good job, very fast, and this is my favorite part of the track. This transition here, look, transitions back, a little front brake, look, a little lock of the front brake.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Sneaky.
Just to balance that car, really clever. And this is an 18-year-old, newcomer.
18 years old, Dave.
This guy absolutely loving it.
If he waves that flag for 2 days, his arm, he won't be able to.
No.
He's 83.
83 on the board, Eric Gottschall. He's in the mix. And we've got Adam Ivel down with Eric Gottschall, 83 on the board. Adam, it's tough out there today for all of these competitors to get a good score.
Eric, so far this season, we've seen crashes, fires, and you still go out and drive like that. How are you feeling coming into round 5?
I think great, especially on this track. It's been amazing, the training sessions here. We had some barbecues in the car along the way on the training, but I really love it. The energy here is great.
We've done really well for your first run. Good luck in your second, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you have it, Eric Gottschall looking pretty strong.
It wasn't a fire, it was a barbecue.
It was a barbecue.
Yeah, so Connor Shanahan's like, put it out, put it out. He's like, the most sausages are on there.
Connor Shanahan came looking for a burger.
That's how chilled he is as an 18-year-old driver. He's like, I'm just going to cook my burgers and sausages on the way around.
He had a massive crash in the last round, and he had a fire at this one, and he's still looking strong.
Still
Next up,
looking strong.
Naoki Nakamura. He's been struggling to find a little bit of form this year in Drift Masters. Big adaptation from him coming as the Japanese champion. But you know what? This track will suit his style down to the ground here, Ian. I think he's going to do well. A lot of limiter from Naoki Nakamura as he stands on the throttle. He has absolutely no mechanical sympathy whatsoever for this S15 as he fires it through the course. It's a fast car, it's a grippy car, but he's got to get it out to those walls as well. We know, I watched some of his chase driving yesterday. It was absolutely phenomenal. But the lead driving needs to be just as solid as he takes it around the track, not quite out to all of the outer zones, as we would expect. And it sounds like something's almost broken in that car, but it's just the anti-lag.
It's the anti-lag, Dave, yeah. Even he looked down for a moment.
He was like that is aggressive sounding.
He was like, I've broke something here. Let's take a look back at the run from Naoki Nakamura as he fires that car in. Very nice line into outside zone 1 for me. But then he picked up a lot of grip. You can see him on the handbrake, slows the car down. Look at the way the front surges forward. And I think that's this grip thing I keep talking about, and that upset the line. Look, he goes down a gear, and then he's like, God, I'm not near the wall. I'm not where I really want to be. And he kind of starts sacrificing the outside line, sacrificing the wall runs, which Kevin O'Connell said to me, if you're not on that wall, you're going to be bleeding those points. And it's a very late entry to outside zone 4. He kind of gets there towards us, quarter of a way in. He doesn't enter it as early as what we've seen a lot of the other drivers, and then the way he transitions off this wall as well, Naoki style, flicks the car on angle, and that again starts to upset his line.
Yeah, and I think it's, for him, he has, where I think his special move, if he was a Street Fighter character, is the chase driving, right? So 78 in the board for Nakamura. He said, we'll have a second run, but I think the chase driving, he hasn't had a chance this year because when he was in the game, the tracks were so fast, it's very tough to chase. And then on the slower circuits, his lead runs have been allowing him to not qualify so high, so it's been hurting his form a little bit. And we see Peter Vansek's car getting moved, not trying to waste too much fuel on the gridding area.
It's like Formula 1 now. These guys are fueling it for one run. Perfect setups.
Look at this guy, pumped up and ready to go. The Portuguese superstar, Diogo Correa. Well, here comes trouble on the track. A man that could easily top qualifying here if he gets it all together. Correa's had a great season so far. This Mercedes-powered 900 horsepower BMW fires into that first corner as he takes it wildly down to 2. Doesn't get as wide as the judges want him to be. It's fast, he's got all the flicks, he's got all the style, but sometimes the style on this particular circuit doesn't reward you. It can kind of almost exaggerate your mistakes by taking you offline, but it's a good run from Correa. He's like, wide when he gets through it, he will, as he takes it back to it. So again, he's firing the car on big angle, but then it's quite slow when he gets to the zone. So, you know,
yeah, he's kind of stalling the car up, and then he has to get back on and work that wheel
looks exciting
speed.
because he's gone on big angle, but he's actually kind of not going as aggressively speed-wise into some of those zones.
Well, look, he's a guy who didn't have a lot of practice this weekend. He had engine problems yesterday, so they spent most of the day yesterday trying to fix that car and get it back out for this morning for qualifying. Look, Correa, a very capable driver. He knows he doesn't need to be out there every single practice session doing laps after laps, but it's still that seat time, that lack of confidence against these walls has really shown here, and you can see that he did the best he could with the amount of seat time he's had. And Correa, as you say, dial on that big angle, and it doesn't really benefit this circuit.
Yeah, it's interesting how drivers approach, you know, practice sessions. I was watching yesterday in the evening, and you know, our current championship leader, Jack Shannon, choosing not to practice. And then Connor Shannon, who's, you know, just a couple of points behind, taking every lap he could.
Yeah.
And then in the end, Connor Shannon had a breakdown.
Yep.
So, you know, saving the car can work too. And Correa, big score for him, 86 on the board, 11th position right now. But yeah, interesting to see how these drivers adapt and say, well, obviously the car will break if I keep doing too much driving, you know, so do I want to save it? Do I want to get better as a driver? Hard to know.
Well, there's a man that we couldn't keep off the circuit, Dave. He was queuing up for every practice session we had going. It was the one and only Kevin Piscotty, the Hungarian driver in this BMW E92, has a supercharged V8 underneath the bonnet. You can hear it whining away, 800 horsepower being unleashed. And this is a man that is ready to really burst onto the scene, and this could be the weekend. Wow, incredible stuff already from Kevin Piscotty as he absolutely nails the BMW to the wall on every single opportunity. Now, can he finish this one with an exclamation mark as he puts it to the wall? The second outside wall run. Will he get the final? And he does. Wow! Kevin Piscotty has come here this weekend with no messing around. He wants one of those trophies, Dave.
Well, that was impressive. I'll tell you what. There was a couple of moves there where I was like, oh, he's in the water. That's the end of it.
It's finished.
It's over. And he pulled it off. And that's what it's all about. Look at the line.
Perfect.
Perfect, right? Perfect. Let's just see. On the wall here. Absolutely. Like this bit for me. Watch, look at that. Right down to the edge of the circuit. On throttle. Goes right to the wall there. This is just absolutely...
I mean, he is on the white line.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't go no more inches. There was no more left.
I'm not sure there's much to complain about from the judging perspective.
Let's just take a look. Let's just take a look here. Look, goes into outside zone 4. Look at the line. Looks super early. Picks up that zone perfectly.
Come on, Ian, look at this.
There's a little wobble, but then he says, no, I'm back in it. I'm back in it. For me, I was like, nah, this is the one that catches everyone out. Not Kevin Piscotty, Dave. He tags the wall and says, shut your mouth, Ian.
Yeah, quiet, guys.
Quiet, guys. Don't talk about me like that. Look, and the way he finished the run.
That's going to be the highest qualifying run so far.
It has to be.
It has to be. I don't know if I've seen much better on this track. And 97 from Kevin Piscotty. Well, I'll tell you one thing. We are in for a weekend of it now.
Kevin O'Connell.
If Kevin Piscotty's pulling out 97s, this championship is far from over.
I haven't seen Kevin O'Connell with a smile on his face all weekend. He is beaming like a Cheshire cat right now, sat next to me. But there's a man that everyone was talking about in practice saying, if anyone's going to win this weekend, an outsider, it's going to be Cherba. Well, he just watched that and said, oh, hold on to your hats. He's off the line. The Lithuanian in an E92 BMW Eurofighter, 2JZ underneath the bonnet. It's Benediktas Cherba, and he's going for it. He runs the wall on initiation. He runs the second wall. He's going to go for the third wall. This is insane. Cherba are looking to take Kevin Piscotty off the top spot. He's in the wall harder than Piscotty was earlier on. Now he looks for the transition. Can he run the wall? Oh, he's millimetres away. As Benediktas Cherba from Lithuania says, hold my beer for a moment.
You know what? I think bar the little transition, just a little stall up, everything was perfect. He was on for it there. But I think his transition, it's unbelievable run, right? I think he was even better than Piscotty here. Look, watch this. Along the wall, unbelievable fluidity there. Gets it right out to the edge of the wall. That was sensational. Beautiful.
I mean, if you're top 10 in the championship at the moment, you're looking back down. You're saying, well, yeah,
not good now. But everyone be a little crapper this weekend because I need to.
Look at that.
This for me. Look, watch just a little stall up here. But it's not much.
It was a dab of the handbrake to set himself up. He's in the wall, like closer to the wall than Piscotty was earlier on.
I would say, Yeah.
That was...
Kevin O'Connell agreeing with me there, Ian, that
You think it was
a
too
little
much?
No, a 90. It's the only difference I'm saying between... It's a 94, and we're still criticizing the one piece that was wrong. But I'm saying that's the difference between him and Pascalti. I think if he'd got that transition right, he'd have been at a 98, 99 there. We're not even, what are we? We're not even halfway through qualifying.
Well, we're starting to get into the top 10 now, Dave. So there we go. We can see the Shanahans down there, chilled out, relaxing, not taking too much notice of what's going on circuit,
Definitely
keeping their own game
do not
going.
watch what's happening on track if you can avoid it, if you're in the top 10 in the championship, like Pashkansky is here. Kuba, we're into the top 8 in the championship
Yeah,
now?
we're in the top 8 now, Dave. And they're starting to heat up now as Pashkansky from Poland comes off the line. The most decorated driver on the grid as regards to any form of motorsport, as this GR86 Toyota comes through. Look at that, hangs the spoiler over the wall, and this man is absolutely clinical when it comes to line driving. His technical skill is phenomenal. Look at that, nudges the cone, gets to the wall, takes both the cones down. This is underrated and understated as he absolutely nails it across the line.
Oh, it's another massive run. It's a massive run.
And then he just casually throws in a 360 across the line and says,
oh, cash.
Casual.
See you later, guys. What do you think about that? That was my casual, safe run. That's probably better than I've ever seen anyone go around here before. I will say, I think it's right up there again. Is it as good as Pascalti's? Maybe not. I think Pascalti's had the wow factor.
Yeah.
Pashkansky took a little while to get into the wow factor, but there's not much wrong with the run either. It could be a little wider there from 1 to 2 for me, but other than that, there's much to really complain about. It's another phenomenon.
It's a very phenomenal run. These guys are not messing around this weekend, Dave. They have come to put on a show here.
Oh,
look at that
transition is pretty special from Pashkansky.
I mean, that spoiler is millimeters away from hitting those fences.
Watch these two cones down here, just having a good time.
Look at this one. He just nudges it.
That cone's like, oh, got away with that. His friends are like, I don't think we're going to have such a nice evening. Bang, bang, goodbye. That's the highlight reel stuff there.
Highlight reel.
Highlight reel.
The judges are rubbing their hands together like someone's just opened the banquet at a wedding. They're like, oh, food's here.
Someone just said,
food's here.
Oh, 93 again. Yeah, the judges are happy now. I haven't seen them smile since 1997.
Yep.
But they're smiling now.
Oh,
really
there's
smiling.
hands in the air.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
They might be drunk.
Well, do you know what?
Need to get breathalyzer in here and test them. Kevin Passeur sits on the line, the Estonian driver. Look, flexes the hands, Dave. He says, I'm in the top 10 of the championship. I'm ready. I'm 7th in the championship. I can kind of claw back some points this weekend. We need to make it work. He comes off the line. M50 Turbo, BMW 2 Series. Wow, 90 degrees to the wall. Initiation touches the wall again. Kevin Passeur, another man that has come this weekend not to mess around. And this is beautiful so far from Kevin Passeur as he gets that car right where it needs to be. Looks for the transition, perfectly timed. Almost run the whole bumper along the wall there. As he looks for that final outside zone, job done.
That's another great run. How many more ways can I describe how good this is?
I'm just going to say, look, every run is a great run. If it's not a great run, it's almost a 0 because they've crashed or something's happened.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
It's literally perfect or nothing.
Kevin Passeur absolutely nailed. There was one part of this track, it's just here, watch this outer zone 2. Absolutely full tilt into that outer zone 2 there. And we were waiting like for maybe a couple of runs at the start for someone to do that.
Yep.
Now every run, just full tilt, outer zone 2. You know, this transition as well. There's a lot of good in this.
There's a lot of good in all of it. And if you were questioning, if you were sat at home saying, are these Drift Masters drivers the best of the best?
I think the best in the world.
If this qualifying session hasn't just proved that to you, well...
We've had 90s from within the first 10 12 runs.
Well,
all the way.
Kavir was in the wild card, and he was 8. There was 8 wild cards.
Yeah. So that sets the scene.
That sets the level.
A 96 for Kevin Passeur from Estonia. Puts him into 2nd position. I've never seen so many 90s in the first half of qualifying.
Could we get a 100-point run?
I think it's there. I think it's out there.
I think it is.
I think a couple of boys are out there with a fishing rod trying to find it.
I think there's a man sitting on the line that says, I've got a lot to prove this weekend.
Oh, Peter Gajcek ready to go. 2-time champ. Ready to send it. 98-point qualifying run in Riga. Can he do it again? It's another super run down to the edge of the track, but oh, he's very late on it. he stays on it here as he goes right to the edge of the wall. Peter Brandt's car is absolutely hooked up. You can see how fluid he is and brave on the transition. That is absolutely stunning on the transition as he comes through there. And he goes back out to the end. He's on big angle. He almost has a moment there, but he keeps it going. Pushing. He is pushing here, Ian. I think the championship may be a little bit far away from him right now. So this is all for the glory, and he wants big scores.
It certainly is. That is a glory run there. That was... hold on, look at this run, and you know, look, two-time champion. He's not had to turn a fortune this year. He's had some car issues and some problems coming into some of these events. But now, right now, Peter Vincek says, well, look, if I can't take the championship, I'm definitely going to go home with a few trophies before the end of the year, and that's for sure.
The only difference is he didn't kind of hit the wall.
No.
Didn't rub the wall
I think
too much.
that might be the exclamation mark that the judges are looking for.
I think, like, technically that's an absolutely perfect run, but the little, you know, wow factor of like touching a wall or knocking a cone or whatever, like that just adds that little extra point or two. And we're down to those finest of margins now. It's not like it's between a 70 and 100. This is going to be up there, but is it up there with Kevin Pascalti right at the top? It is up there with Kevin Pascalti at the top. 97. For Peter Vincek at 97 in the first half of qualifying. And Adam Ivel is down with the man who just did it again. 98 in the last round, 97 in this one, right even halfway through qualifying.
Peter, a 97-point run puts you top of the leaderboard so far. How does it feel out there?
Yeah, it feels awesome. It feels great to be here, especially with this score. So it's great after the first run, but we need to do a second run. I know that everybody will be pushing, so we still need to stay focused and be prepared for a second run. So it's great, but it's still not finished yet.
Thank you very much, Peter, and good luck in your second run.
A 97, but I still need to focus on the second run.
Take what he said away from that, though. I know everyone else is going to be pushing.
But there's only 3 more points to push to.
But that's what he's saying. Is everyone going to be pushing for 97s? Will the top 10 be all 90s?
Oh, this is going to be ridiculous. So
we've
Dwayne
got to be
McKeever
close.
is now on the start line. Another man that's capable of topping qualifying. And here we go. Dwayne McKeever comes off the line into that first corner. Nice early initiation. A little on the inside there for Dwayne McKeever as he takes it late down onto the wall. He's very wide here. Just had to come off the throttle a little bit or he was going to go into that wall. But it's very precise again for McKeever. You see he's dropped off that big rear spoiler on the car. He knows that it's not going to survive one of these runs to this track. As McKeever transitions back, wild transition from McKeever. It's a good run. It's a solid run. It's another great run. I don't know what a great run is. What's a 97 anymore? I'm looking at Pascalti and Vincek's runs, not to take away from Dwayne McKeever's there, but thinking maybe one was all about the impact and style and the other was all about the precision, and that was kind of where they balanced off.
I kind of look at this. Look, he was a wheel over that white line, so that's not helped him on that run into outside zone 1. He kind of waited a long time to get on throttle. Look at this. He's waiting, bam, he's on throttle. And that kind of upset his line because if you watch him to outside zone 3 here, not as deep as everyone else. I mean, I'm saying not as deep. He's not flexing the back bumper off the car on the wall, which is what we know now is the exclamation mark. It is the stamp of, boom, that's a 98-point run. McKeever does a very good job, but then here, dials on a lot of angle and goes for a big, snappier transition, and that kind of is not what the judges want to see, and it upset the line to outside zone 5, Dave.
I love how critical we are. It's still a very good run. It's still going to score quite well, I think.
I mean, on any other
we're
day.
trying to be so nitpicky.
And I think we have to be, because these guys are so good every single run.
I feel by the end of this qualifying session, an 80 is going to look like a 50 at any other round. So here we go, an 88 on the board for Dwayne McKeever, which would be enough to probably see a top 3 at this stage of the competition any other day, but it's 13th at the moment, which just shows how many scores have dropped in. We had 3 90s in a row, and so 88 is the lowest out of the last 4 runs.
It's
runs,
crazy.
Yeah. We move on to the man who is one of the most popular drivers on the grid. He has the Finnish fan base right behind him. It's Lauri Heinen. Him and Juha Rintanen need to make a move early this weekend to get back into this championship. Lauri Heinen with 1,045 horsepower, Dodge NASCAR supercharged V8, and he's on one here from the start.
He certainly is, Dave. Well, he knows he has to be because he wants to get that championship. Oh, and he goes very close to the wall there. Now he's going to tag that wall. He's going for the exclamation mark. He knows what the judges want. That was a brave transition into outside zone 4 as he puts the car, parks it onto the wall, looks for it to flick back, gets it timed perfectly, runs the wall, absolutely nails this S13 to every single wall. That is phenomenal from Lauri Heinen.
You know what? I think the judges are under pressure here.
They are.
I think
Do you know what?
I think
it
the
was
judges,
fun earlier.
I think the judges were having a bit of fun earlier, and now everyone's causing them a problem.
I can see beads of sweat on the foreheads of the judges because they were saying, oh, earlier on it was all fun and games when these guys were banging out 90s and
I think
88s.
when Kevin
Now,
Biscotti got a 97, they said, well, no one can do more better than that.
and then they all started doing 96s and 97s.
Yeah, this is a beautiful
And then
one.
Heinonen comes out and says, well, I can do what Kevin Biscotti and everyone else has just done.
That was a lot more wow than a lot of the runs we've seen.
That I'm going to say that's up there with Kevin
Technically, I think the
Biscotti.
first corner, he could have been a little wider from outer zone 1 to 2, but he made up for it. It's phenomenal. This is probably as exciting a run as I've ever seen at this track, in my opinion.
Dave, I've been wowed by the last 50 runs we've done so far.
We're not even halfway through.
I mean,
We don't even need to do the second runs,
we've
really.
got to do all the second runs. We should have done this as a shootout. Can it
Here
go
we
higher?
go. 98 for Laurie Heinonen. Into first position he goes.
And you just questioned if it could be more. Well, Dave,
I'm just saying,
they shut you down.
I'm saying the 100-point run is out there. I'm going out there to say it. Juha Rintanen could be you, buddy. You could be the man. Laurie Heinonen puts a 98.
A 98 on the board. First runs.
Juha Rintanen now. He was the winner in Sweden. Qualifying hasn't always been his strongest suit, but he's firing in here with a lot of intent in that first corner. Runs that GR86 right down towards the wall. Nice. Oh, backs off the throttle quite heavily there. As he goes out to outer zone 2, transitioning back to the wall, he goes. It's nice and fluid through the center section of the course from Juha Rintanen, as he's not afraid to scratch up that brand new chassis this year. Oh, a little bit wayward. He's going to watch the marbles there as he comes around the last corner. Yeah, there's a little bit of wavering in that one. But you know what? Again, it's going to be a good score. It's got all the clipping zones. It looks great. He's close to the wall. Just a couple of stall-ups for me.
Yeah, look, there was a few stall-ups.
I think we're harsher than the judges today.
We are being very, very critical here, Dave, this weekend. But because the quality and the level is so good right now at the penultimate round of the 2023 championship. And things like this little stall up, are really what we're saying now. Well, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that this late in
it's
the
like,
game.
you know, you're watching an Olympic race, right?
Yeah.
And the guy who's last in the 100 meters is not slow.
No.
He's still the 5th fastest in the world, or
Yeah.
10th fastest in the world, whatever. So we're trying to judge these guys against, we're not judging them against each other anymore. We're judging them against perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection is what we're trying to look for here, because that's a phenomenal run from Juha Rintanen. It's going to score well, and it's a great run all the same. But you're trying to compare it to 98s and 97s. Naturally, we're like, oh,
okay.
let's have a look at what's not right with it, because everything's 91.
It's still a 91.
It's a 91 for Juha Rintanen. I told you it would be a big score. It would score well.
I mean, before we used to roar at a 91. Now we're like,
whoa, it's a 91.
okay. And I mean, look, now this is it. This is it. This is Juha Rintanen, 3rd in the championship. We head to the two people that are
I'll
fighting.
tell you one thing, the Shanahans are under pressure.
The two Shanahans are fighting head-to-head, brother rivalry, family rivalry for this championship this year. And Connor Shanahan, the first to step up to the mark as he fires this GT86 down. He waits and leaves it late because he gets to the wall. He dabs the foot brake. Now he gets on the throttle, puts the back end of the 86 to the wall, transitions the car across the circuit. Very nice line into outside zone 4 as he puts foot to floor now, dials off the angle, looks for the transition. He knows it can't be snappy. It needs to be fluid and smooth, and he makes it work as he looks for the final outside zone. Across the line, on the wall he goes.
I was just watching going, I would hate to be a judge here today, because that was another phenomenal run. Connor Shanahan putting in a very technical, almost perfect run there.
Oh, and there's a hose that's come off of Connor's car.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not important.
Let's
I
hope
was still
he
able to do a
didn't need it.
qualifying run.
I mean, it's still going to... Where did it fall off?
Not sure. But watch the front wheel. Perfect. That is literally
That
perfect.
is perfect.
Goes late on the wall here, stays late, which is what the judges want. Stay right down late. A lot of left arm work there.
It's that view inside the car, you can see how quickly that wall comes up.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at it, waiting to get on throttle.
But look at the rear wheels to the white line.
Yeah,
Wider, probably wider than most of the people that have been out on that corner. Again, here he's playing with the wall the whole way through. The concentration levels are so high as well at this. I mean, this is high speed.
Very high speed. And it very cleverly dials off the angle ever so slightly to try and tuck the back end of that GT86 up to the wall.
97, only enough for 4th position for Connor Shannon. It's only a 97, and it's enough for 4th. Wow. I don't know what are we expecting from Jack Shannon now?
Well, look,
he might skateboard ride the whole wall around the edge of the track.
Well, here's a man that normally watches everyone else's qualifying and they see the 96s pop in and he says, watch this. What can he do now? He needs to beat a 98. Is this the 100-point run we're waiting for? Shanahan off the line, absolutely perfect on that marker. He's closer to the wall than his brother was. He's on the throttle earlier than his brother was. He's on the first outside zone. Now he gets shallow on outside zone 2. Miscalculated it, but he gets this one absolutely perfect. He's on more angle than his brother was on outside zone 4. He goes for the transition, and Shanahan, a little shallow on the wall there, scrubbed the speed too much as he looks for that final outside zone across the line. That is still a phenomenal run.
Again, we're judging against perfection, not against other drivers. Shanahan's run, phenomenal. Another phenomenal run from Jack Shannon. I mean, what the judges will look at on that, as opposed to Connor Shannon had the precision.
Yeah.
But Jack had the speed. Less handbrake, less braking, less safety nets. Like, he's just like, look at the wall come up so fast, and you're like, oh.
I mean, look, and you can see the crowd. They're like 20 foot away.
They're like, oh, don't hit us. As Jack fires through against the wall. And look, to be honest, that's the thing. That the line is pretty solid throughout. Look there. Yeah, he's not handbraking.
He's not even. He didn't even touch the handbrake.
I don't think he touched the handbrake on the transition, where Connor definitely used the handbrake. Most of the drivers.
A lot of drivers are,
using it to slow the car down. Does he use it here?
And I mean, they're not slowing it. They're adjusting for the transition, Dave. And he doesn't even use it there. And I mean, I think that was what upset him going to the wall, because the grip pushed him away.
He's almost overcommitted.
Overcommitted, yeah.
Overcommitted to
it was like he said, well, unless I do 100, I can't top qualifying. So he was like, do you know what?
I mean, for a championship contender, you need to get in the show. That's the most important thing.
I see it falling,
So Marcin giving a part of his... This is your brother's car. He left it here.
Back, yeah.
He left
it's like a PS5 game.
It's like when your friend leaves the nightclub. And a 96. A 96 for Jack Shannon. 96. I don't know what's happening anymore. But Adam Ivel might. He's down with Jack Shannon. It's at 96, but it's only enough for fourth somehow halfway through qualifying. Adam, what's going on?
Jack Shanahan, after the first round in Ireland, we spoke and you were saying nothing's going right. Now we stand here. You're the king of Riga round 4, going into round 5, just got a 96. How do you feel?
Not too bad. No, obviously the season turned around after Sweden quite a lot. We went home, took some time to myself, reset, and just came back out swinging, you know, like, and not even swinging to try win, just swinging to try have a good time, you know, because, you know, I just done that run there. I knew it wasn't first place, but it put on a hell of a show, I thought, you know. It was full commitment, full throttle, full angle. I was like, whatever. It was just good fun, you know. So the 360, people clapping and cheering, that's kind of why I'm here. So, yeah, I think this mindset is definitely better, and, yeah, it's a lot more fun, I tell you that.
It looks like you're having a lot of fun out there too. You actually won this round last year. Are you slightly confident coming into the second run for your qualifying?
Like, obviously coming here from a win last year and without leading the championship, all the eyes are on me. You know, everyone's like, oh, Jack is the only person that can mess up, basically, you know. So my brain is like, don't take it into too much consideration, just try to get the job done and see what happens. But after the first run there, now I know I have points on the board, so I'm just going to go in. I'm going to do a gearing change because it's not perfect, and I'm just going to go mad at the next one and see what happens.
Jack Shanahan, you're certainly putting on the show, dude. Thank you so much.
I'm just trying to consider any other motorsport where you would say, I'm just going to try and go a bit mad on the second one.
I mean,
can you imagine Max Verstappen going, no, I got a lap in, but you know what, I'm going to go a bit mad.
On the team radio.
Yeah, I'm going to go a bit mad on this one. Do you know what? I also love that the interview when Jack Shannon brought the wisdom of, if you're trying to win a championship, pretend there is no championship. Yeah. Don't overthink it. Just have fun. That's why I'm here to do 360s.
I'm sure all top athletes do that.
Top athletes say
they definitely
winning isn't everything. Entertainment is everything.
He's a showman.
Which means he would be actually a worthy champion with that attitude.
Of course.
But the Shanahan team are out there, and the DMEC is also the shark in the water for me here after the first one. And everyone's on a 90. If you haven't got, who's in the 90 club? 12 drivers in the 90 club. And it's only the first half of qualifying. Ian, doesn't make any sense, doesn't have to make any sense. That's Drift Masters. Johan Rintanen got a 91. He's mid-pack at the moment. It doesn't even make sense.
I've never even had that. We've got our own laptop, and we just scrolled through and looked at the cutoff, and you guys are going to see it in a moment as the screen changes.
This is halfway through qualifying.
The cutoff is 79.
79 is the cutoff halfway through qualifying. Not like everybody's gone for their crazy runs and they're all putting it on the line. This was some of the more conservative runs.
Right, let's take a look though who's out. Lipsky, 76 is out. Romanovsky out. Like, these are big names. Clint Van Aert, he's out. Like, we get to Joshua Reynolds, obviously he's spun, he over-rotated. But there's a lot of big name drivers that are out. We didn't see Felix Lindvall come to the line. I was watching practice earlier and I heard that car shut down. I wonder if he can make it out for his second qualifying run.
Yeah, we know. So we have, what, 52, 53 drivers?
So yeah, we had 56 in total at the beginning of the day. Obviously, there are mechanical failures throughout the weekend. We know that from past experiences. But when that panic's on, Dave, to make it to the line, that's when it all counts.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
If
I had a 91 in qualifying and I was sitting in the middle of the pack, I'd be going, well, what a day, what sort of a day is this? And now people like these guys coming out for the second half are going, well, what have I got to do? We start with our next driver up. It is going to be a first of our second half of qualifying drivers. Nicolas Moinouer from Switzerland. 33 years of age, 800 horsepower. GTA 6 is going to have to go harder here, and he's going to have to push.
Well, I mean, look, he's got 57 on his first qualifying run. As you said, he has to be exceptional now. He has to risk the car, basically, to get into the show. A 79 is the cut-off for top 32 as it stands. So Moinouer needs to push hard, and he is pushing on. You can see, look at the aggression, the way he's locking the handbrake, clutch kicking the car. He needs to make it move. He did a very good job there in his second qualifying run, Dave. But I don't know if a good job is enough to get top 32 here.
I'll try and describe this the best.
Okay, I'm watching this.
He was prodding at the throttle. So he was kind of coming on throttle, off throttle, on throttle, off throttle. And it worked on the line.
Yep.
But watching some of those 90-plus runs, they're a little bit more committed on the throttle throughout the whole course. So that's a good run. Just wondering where these great runs lie, where do the 90-pluses lie. I think that's definitely an improvement over his first run, 100%. Yeah. And again, it's a new car to him and a new track and everything, a new team. So it's a lot to take in one weekend. And I really liked some moments there, but just, you know, dropped a little bit out towards the end of that zone. But the entry of that zone was really good. So I think, is it perfect? No. Is it really good? Yes. On another day, without all these other lunatics on the track, you'd probably be looking at a top 5 qualifying run from that.
100%.
But not today. Not today. Today is a mad day where you just go, I've got 117 in the bank.
Something must have happened when that thunderstorm blew in last night, because
I think it electrocuted a lot of drivers. And
everyone's on another level. A 78 is out of the show.
Yeah.
Just take that into thought for a second. A 78 out of the show. So unfortunately, we do lose Nicolas Moinouer from Switzerland in this new car, this new program. Hopefully we see him back for Drift Masters, but it will be the end of the weekend for him. He'll be on the sidelines watching, but can Jason Barnet now make it in? The French driver sits with a 70 at the moment, this Subaru BRZ 2JZ, 800 horsepower underneath the bonnet. These guys now say, well, this is it. We have to risk it all to get into the show, and he's going to go for it right now. Perfect line down on that initiation, dials on the angle, gets on the throttle nice and early, and he's going to go to the wall. Barnet now, too much in it, Dave. Sacrifices that zone. Now he's trying to get himself back into that qualifying line, but this is going to be bleeding points every single time he makes a mistake, even worse than it was before. And now he's off that line. It's hard to get back onto it once again. More outside zones missed. He gets the last one, but I don't think, Dave, well, I know, I'm pretty certain right now, that is not what the judges need.
I mean, the problem is when you have so many exceptional drivers putting in big scores, your mistakes start to get exaggerated.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, because that's what's going to happen. And it looked like to me with Barnet there, he went in pretty hot. It all kind of just fell apart after outer zone 1. He just kind of he just couldn't get the car moving the way he wanted it to. And then all of a sudden he's short on that left foot brake for me. Left foot brake to kind of over rotation on outer zone 2. That's pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, there we go. We can see the mistake there from Barnet as he gets himself into outside zone 4. Kind of rescued it a little bit there. Dials the car, the back bumper to the wall. But then, as I say, that transition from 4 to 5 pushed him back off of that qualifying line, and it really upset him. And that, as we say, we know, we're confident now in what we've seen so far today, that those kind of runs aren't going to be enough to get in the show. You need to be bumper to wall, scraping paint, and wowing the judges to get in the show this afternoon or tomorrow for top 32. So we await the score to drop in for Jason Barnet. And these wildcard drivers having a tough weekend, the toughest one they're ever going to visit, and a 60 on his second qualifying run. It isn't enough for Jason Barnet, a 44th place finish for him over the weekend. We're going to go back to the start line, though, to Olav Haugen Hasdal from Norway in this crazy Mercedes-Benz A-Class, BMW V8 underneath the bonnet, twin turbo, 700 horsepower. Super nice guy, wildcard driver, didn't think he would ever make it to Drift Master. He said, I am so honoured to be here on this grid with his outstanding talent. And he'll be happy just to watch from the sidelines, but he'd be more interested being in the show as he fires that A-Class Mercedes-Benz to the wall and now starts to pick up that nicer line, goes wide to the second and third outside zone, lights up the tyres, very nice entry into outside zone 4, sticks the back end into the groove, and these short cars, as Dave said earlier, not easy to manoeuvre or put where you want them because the wheel is so close to making contact with the wall. Very nice finish to the run as Olev Haugen Hasdal lays down his second qualifying run of the day here at round 5 of the 2023 Drift Masters European Championship. Let's take a look back. You can see very early initiation. That front wheel exactly where the judges wanted to be, though, on those 2 white lines. Nice initiation down. Then it kind of works out. It picks up the throttle nice and early, gets into it, gets into the zone. But as I say, not as clinical, not as clean as what the judges wanted.
Well, we're going to be super harsh now,
Is it an 80? That's what we're saying. This is it an 80-point run now? That's what I'm looking at. This is what I'm breaking them down to. Is it an 80-plus point run?
Well, think about if you were doing an exam, Ian, and I mean, you've never really passed many of those.
I didn't do any, no, I didn't pass any.
So you know the way you'd be getting the 30s and the 40s?
Yep,
and
20s.
or 40 or 50 could be a pass.
Yep.
Today, an 80 is a pass. So you're just a pass to the show. To get in the show, you need to be 80% brilliant. And that is very tough.
It's tough.
That is not an easy thing to do. And he's in an A-Class Mercedes. So look, I think he should get 10 more points for just having the most ridiculous car here. But that's not the way the judges are going to see it.
No. And do you know what? For me as well, like we're saying this like it's so blasé.
Oh,
79, look at that.
On the drop zone.
On the drop zone. This track is so dangerous. It holds no prisoners. There is nowhere to escape if it goes wrong.
Take a moment, folks, to remember, this is not easy at all.
And they are knocking out 80-point runs and 90-point runs like this is the easiest drift track you've ever seen.
Well, Krzysztof Romanowski got a 75 on his first run, so he needs to improve on this run. Wildcard this event, he has been in the championship previously before. 900 horsepower 2JZ, and again, a little shallow on that initiation. Has to go wide, has to go wide. They've watched all the other runs now. They know.
Oh, yeah.
Unless I'm putting bumpers on the wall or bumpers on the track, this ain't going to do it. And this is what Krzysztof Romanowski is trying to do here.
Yeah, he certainly is. And he went too wide on outside zone 2, and that upset his line to 3. He's got himself back into the groove now. Transitions that car to outside zone 5. And he needs to be wider than this. He needs to really wow the judges. He does go wide for the final outside zone, but I think that stamp of authority across the line just doesn't cut it no more, Dave.
Take a moment to respect the level and the depth of this field right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking over 30-something drivers out of 50-something have already scored 80+, and they're worried, a lot of them. Is it enough? This, for me, a little early on the initiation for Romanowski. Comes in a little shallow. This was nice. Got to the wall. You're going to see a little bump here in the car when he hits the back bumper off the wall there. It was a nice touch of the wall, though. It actually didn't upset the car too much. Just here, just flex the bumper off.
I think what
but
it
he
done
backed
was,
off a little bit.
I think what it done was, Dave, I think it dragged the car and that slowed it down, so it put it on more angle, and then that upset his line to outside zone 3.
I'll tell you one thing, I don't know. Like, this 80+ run for me, it's got to be perfection. And we're going to sound like the most negative people here because we're criticizing.
And we're not.
Look at this. He's smashing the taillight off the car, and we're going, I don't know if it's enough, Krzysztof. Like, it's crazy how we now look at this and say, this has to be exceptional.
And my mind is blown.
I don't know. I don't have
blown.
enough descriptive words in my vocabulary to describe how good this is.
We watched a lot of practice yesterday. We didn't watch too much this morning. I watched a little bit out on circuit. And these guys were phenomenal. A 75 isn't enough for Krzysztof Romanowski.
Like, that's usually enough to get you in the show. Consistent, you're 75% good enough to perfection.
Yep.
Sorry, not enough. You're going
Not
home.
enough.
That's
Not
crazy.
enough.
Andreas Vasilevskis lines up for his second run. He got an 88 in the first, which is only enough for 16th position, which is halfway in what's going to go into that top 32. Vasilevskis is going to have to turn it up, and I don't want to see what happens next because this car is way too pretty.
I mean, we were very impressed before with the run, but we need to be absolutely blown away by Vasilevskis. Can he do it again? He's done it again so far, and this is absolutely textbook, but he's dialed on big angle, and he's now way off that qualifying line. That was a huge mistake from Vasilevskis, and he knows it now, Dave. He's just going to throw caution to the wind, pin the car to the wall, and he knows he's going to rely on that 88 to keep him in that show.
I would be incredible, and this is a smoke show as he comes across the finish line. I would be incredibly surprised if 88 isn't enough to get, I mean, stranger things may be happening, but 88, surely 88 is enough to get you in the top 32.
Do you know, any other day I would have said, yeah, no, that'd be fine, Dave. But today, of all days, this circuit, the way that the mentality is, obviously, in the paddock this weekend, I don't know.
I'm going to ask Kevin O'Connell, does he get any more points for having a very modern, cool car? No, nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. So just checking.
It's still a robot.
Just checking.
Just
yeah,
still
Kevin said no.
Mechanical
he
inside.
over-rotated into the outer zone 4, and that's all he saw. It's just a car to Kevin O'Connell, and it's a car that wasn't going the right direction through that zone, so it's going to score him way down. So this is going to be one just to put in the that never happened book of Andreas Vassiliauskas' career, because he had the almost perfect first run. Such a cool car, though. Full carbon Kevlar M4.
Unbelievable car.
Yeah, 70, still a 70, but not enough. And it's 15th position, right in the middle at the moment of that top 32. And you can see the fueled up and ready to go is our next driver. He's in a Mark IV Supra, which I'm always going to be a big fan of. It's Andreas Lia from Sweden, 29 years of age, 2JZ, over 1,000 horsepower in this car, which is about 4 times the power this car came with from the factory. Just put that into perspective. As he comes off the line, firing into that first corner, is Andreas as he levels it down towards the outer zone. Going a little wider than he was before. Look at that flex in the back bumper. It pains you if you're a JDM car fan to see this Mark IV smash into the wall, but that's what he's got to do to try and score a big score. He hits it again as he goes through the outer zone. He's left nothing. The spoiler's gone. The bumper's gone. He is holding nothing back here as Andreas absolutely pins this Mark IV Supra to the wall. What a run.
That was an incredible run. That was an incredible run. He sits with a 79 at the moment. I just...
There's just one singular spoiler leg left going.
That is
what happened? What happened there? Where's all my friends gone?
He threw caution to the wind because that was so close to being contact to a spin, because he literally threw that car at every single wall. Look at this. He fires it down, throws it on big angle in that outside zone. He does sacrifice a little bit. But then once he says, well, I'm in it now, and he absolutely, look, bangs it off that wall, comes to this wall, bams it off that wall. Every single wall he gets to, he's like, I don't care about this car anymore.
It's got to have the style factor and the X factor now, because he's sacrificing the car, essentially, to get the score, which is painful to watch. Also secretly quite exciting.
It's very exciting. He's still carrying very good speed as well.
Look at this, the spoiler's like, oh, I've given up. I'm out of here. I warned you on the last 2 corners that I'm leaving the building, and exited the chat there and said, no, that was a good run.
A very good run.
I mean, there's been a guy walking down the grid going, just to let you know, if you don't smash a few walls out here, you're going home. 89 on the board for Andreas Lilia from Sweden, and well rewarded for his bravery there. And that's the message. Someone's saying, guys, just to let you know, if you're not smashing into the walls,
we sent a messenger out there.
Being incredible, you're going to go home.
Well, look,
Torren and Kvyat sitting there going, what? I thought I was unbelievable the last time. I got a 94, right?
Any other time, I would have said, well, that's it. There's your first place
94,
qualifier.
And he goes, oh, you're only in 7th, Tor. He's like, well, wait to see this. Torren and Kvyat comes off the line screaming. He's got to be absolutely inch perfect here to go higher in scoring. Leaves it late on the transition, a little wobbly there on the decel zone, but it gets out to the wall, which is what the judges want to see. And he's tagging the wall again. Kvyat's going for it here, out to the wall again, flexing the spoiler all the way along outer zone 4, folding in the back of the car. Now here we go to the other side, touches again. This is another sensational run from a man we have missed at the top level of European competition.
Wow.
Kvyat came to play.
Dave, that was exceptional. That was I was.
Can you get your thesaurus out, because we need a few more words.
I was ready to mute you when you was like, oh, the initiations. I was like, I'm gonna turn Dave off. Dave's cancelled. That was phenomenal.
I told you. Just
watch the initiation.
Yeah,
I know you criticised it, but from my look, the wheel is on the line. Look at this. Look how close the bumper is.
It's perfect, but it's a long handbrake.
Yeah, but it's a D-cell.
Yeah.
They're going to let him get away with that.
I think it'll be a small deduction, but not enough that it's going to hamper what was an exceptional run.
Like, he was... The bumper literally touched the wall, and then he was like, well, I'll flex it here, and then I'll really start flexing it.
The walls are starting to look like little rainbows. There's that many colours on them at the moment.
On them. That was exceptional.
At this. He's buried in the wall here.
Is it more? Can he beat a 94? And do you know what? I'm going to say that was the little 10% more than what his first run had.
Better than the first run, I think. I would agree. I don't know, but to me it seemed...
To me, I think it did, because he was a few inches off the wall here and there on the first run. It was technically correct.
Oh! A 98 for Tor Arnike. I'm going to ask a question to the judges, but I don't... Would he have got 100 if he didn't decel as much on the initiation? He would. Yeah. He would. So here we are. Adam is down with Tor Arnike. It's a 98. He goes top again, Adam. What a run.
Tor, you certainly had your entry already, and then you decided to give that away, and then you entered again, and now you've just topped the leaderboard with a 98. How are you feeling?
It's good to be back. It's really good to be back, and we're having fun here, and we're with friends and family, having such a good time, and yeah, so good to be back here. Germany, you are awesome. Yeah, fun.
We're so glad to have you back, Tor. Well done, man. Congratulations.
There you have it. I said, just wanted to remind us, I had a little word with Kevin there. He said, if that decel on the handbrake was just a little bit less on the initiation, we could have watched the first 100-point perfect run there from Tor Arnike.
We've never had 100 at Drift Masters.
We've never had.
Never had 100.
Today, it's got to happen today.
I'm just going to put it. I think we're going to get a 99.
No, I said it like lightning strikes twice.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I'm just sitting here. I was watching that and I was like, "Welcome back, Kavir," because we have missed you here.
And welcome back, Sebastian Fonten, who now has to go there and step it up.
When he's on an 84, he has to do something now because that's low 20 score, and now he's going to go for it. He's on the wall already. He's on the second wall already, and now Fontaine knows he needs to push harder than he did before. He knows what everyone else was doing, and look at the line into outside zone 4. This is very good from the Dutchman right now. As Sebastian Fontaine fires across the circuit. Oh, too much into the wall, and that is the limit.
Yeah, we found it. We found the limit. We found the limit of, oh, everyone's just looking, this track must be really easy. It must be fun. Oh, no. Hold on a second. And I think he's lost gear in that car. He's lost...
Oh, handbrake. It looks like he's trying to pull the handbrake and the car won't do anything.
It's like a brake caliper is locked on or something there on the back. But, yeah, no, he's something is awry, but you know what? He went for it.
He did,
and they all have to go for it now.
Well, now he holds on. Where is he sitting? 26th with an 84.
Something's very wrong. We know nothing. Oh, he stayed on the handbrake a little too long.
Too long, yeah.
You know what? I think that was a problem created by a lot of left foot braking on outer zone 4. It slowed the car down. So we had to sort of torpedo the car out.
Fire it into fire.
And he went a little too fast and a little too wide, and he hit the wall, and it's knife edge.
It is. And between getting a 0 and getting a 98 is literally knife edge.
Yeah,
it's a razor's
If he had
edge.
just gone around the track there, that would have been probably in the high 80s, 90s if he just finished that last corner. But hey, he didn't, and that's what happens. Kalen Kieran up next from Romania. He is sitting outside the top 32. He's got a 75 on the board from his first run. It's only enough for 42nd position right now. Well, got to move here.
Yeah, the cutoff now has moved up. It's an 83. Yves Meyer sits on the drop zone with an 83. So we need an 83 plus run to get yourself in the show and be comfortable. And that's a very nice initiation from Kalen Kieran. And he's pushing in this one. He's really going to go for it now. He does that wall flex zone, pushed him away and out of outer zone 3 as much as he wanted to be. He's on the wall there as a big slap into the wall, and that affected the line from Kalen Kjorten. And these little mistakes, we've seen it before, can upset a run massively. And although he's onto the wall, he's dancing with the devil. He's making mistakes getting there.
You know what, though? He went for it.
Yeah.
And it worked in many areas there. He was absolutely sensational. I mean, when we see that rear end flex without it affecting the car's line, he did it a couple of times there.
Yeah.
I think it was outer zone 4 for me was just the bigger mistake.
Yeah.
But everything else, like look at this entry, really good, stays late on it, comes on the throttle late, gets out to this wall, look, right out to the wall, flexes the back bumper, and it affects the car a little bit more than you'd like it to. Gets through this. This is for me, when he comes in here, this is where we see probably the biggest mistake. He gets to the wall, but he hits it too hard. So he goes, there's a little bump there, and it just kind of pushes him out of line.
You can watch the front of the car, look, it upsets the steering. You can see he changes the angle of the steering, dials on a little bit more, and that's a correction.
And he has to come out of that zone very early. Now, the next transition, this one, he just threw caution to the wind. He went to the wall. But for me, this is what we want to see from these guys at the top level, moving towards perfection. And look at this. I love this wall ride. Look, oh, perfect. And the white line where the rear wheel. Oh, Kalen, don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him.
Or yourself, because that's also a risk they take.
Yes, yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah.
An 80 on the board jumps him only up to 33rd. I don't believe that is not enough for a top 32. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is where we're at, Dave.
What's happened?
This is Drift Masters 2023.
We used to make sense of this championship. Now I can't make any sense of it. Right. Henry Hampa's on the line. He's outside the top 32. He had a 78, which he would have said, oh, that's reasonably good.
Yeah, for him.
Reasonably good first run. It wasn't. It's now outside the top 32. He's got to go big, and that car is far too pretty to put on these walls. Hampa fires into that first corner.
Yeah, he does, and he's don't care what you think, Dave, of the bodywork or any of the livery, because he needs to get himself into the show. Wow, that's a very nice line for those first 3 outside zones as Henry Hampa gets into outside zone 4, and he just knows he needs a high 80, and look at this, and he's going to go for it. This is going to be a very nice run, a little shallow there on outside zone 5 and 6, but he looks for that final outside zone, gets to the wall and across the line. That's a very nice run from Henry Hampa.
It's a good run. There's very little there that you could say was a mistake. The judges will just now have to categorize how perfect he was on the line. Yeah. So basically, like, there was no major errors, nothing really terribly bad happened. It was very smooth, very capable. How good was it? That's what they're going to look at. I think, again, what a heavy decel on the initiation. This was good, really good. Gets to the white line perfectly. There's not much to pick apart there. Outside zone, again, a pretty solid run the whole way through. Not much to complain about.
Back looking at it, you're saying,
you know what, me and you are sitting back
90
now.
degrees to the wall there, like the whole back bumper is on the wall.
Could have been a little wider there, but
I think the transition sacrificed those 2 zones, and he made up for it here at the end of the run. He was like, well, let's just throw caution to the wind and fire the back end to the wall.
It's going to be a big score, but it's not big enough. 81 is not enough. Just take a moment,
We're
folks.
just looking at each other here, Dave, in disbelief.
81.
Even the judges are looking at us saying, this is crazy.
And 81 is 33rd.
That is where we're at.
Well,
Enver Haskasap, well, he sits with a 0, Dave.
Oh, this is not the place you want to be. In a 0, and he's got to go higher than 83.
If you go home at the end of the weekend and say, oh, I had a 78 and an 81, you'd be like, those are really good qualifying scores. Where did you qualify? 33rd.
Yeah.
Like, you can walk away saying, well, everything worked. You just sit on the line with a 0.
Look, you got to put the car on the line. You've got to put the car on the line, or else you're not going to get in the show.
That line is so fine. That line is getting in qualifying or throwing the car away at the end of the weekend, because you're going to risk it all. And he fires down. Enver Haskasap, he's shallow on outside zone 1, and now he's shallow on 2. And this is starting to fall apart real quick now for the North Cypriot driver, Dave, as he looks to make a move in outside zone 4. And risking the car is something that Enver Haskasap didn't want to do this weekend. And unfortunately, I don't think that this not risking it is going to be enough to get into the show, and it's not. As he gets across the line, I can already say confidently, Dave, for the first time in my career, that is not enough to get in the show.
And there was nothing really wrong with it.
There was nothing wrong with it at all.
It was fine.
It was a good run.
It was a good run. If I had scored that, I would have been like, oh, look at me. I am. And even Enver Haskasap's going, that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
But as you said, not scraping bumpers on walls. Again,
not risking it.
Yeah, not really getting out of zone 1 is a big error, to be honest. So it's gonna I would imagine if he had stopped the run and out of zone 2, it still wasn't enough. That's how knife edge it is. Just when he missed out of zone 1, you're not getting a score high enough.
Yeah, you could have aborted the run. You could have aborted the run at outside zone 2.
He could have just stopped and said it's not enough.
But that's not enough, because they start with 100 points. They're on the start line with 100 points, and as soon as they start making mistakes, they bleed points. Yep. So 73 there for Haskasap. So yeah, you're correct, Dave. Outside zone 1 and 2, as soon as he missed them, it was like, well, he's obviously lost enough points there to not get in the show.
Yep, you're already down to a 70-something at that point. So all of a sudden,
just take that into consideration.
Just have a watch of that as you see these guys go through the first 2 white boxes on this track.
So if they're not in them on the wall, on that front wheel, on those 2 dotted white lines, then you know already yourself.
Already they're not at
they're not enough.
So here we go. It's going to be Maciek Jarkovic, our next driver, off the line, firing through. Scored a 76 on his first run. Oh, and again, there you are. Misses out of zone 1. He's going to miss out of zone 2. And pretty much, I'm going to say, with guarantee now, that is not going to be enough to get him in the show. Which is incredible that you've got to still run about 400 million miles a wall after that. But I think that is enough right now, knife edge-wise, at this level, with this level of drivers. And it's not to say that Maciej Jarkovic isn't at that level, but one error is all it takes. One error and you're done. That's a harsh game.
It's a very harsh game. And, you know, reality starts to kick in then, that this is not just a drift competition. This is finding perfection in the best drivers from around Europe. And these guys now are starting to realise that they are the best of the best, and they have to push themselves and their machinery to the limit to be in the show.
But I mean, even the fact that you have no recovery time, like even if you come in and something weird happens and you go, oh, I'll get back on it again, and it's enough to just say, well, sorry.
And you know what? And I think the shortness and the intimacy of this circuit, where it's close proximity, doesn't allow you, like, say, Sweden, for instance. It's such a long, fast-flowing circuit that if you're ever so slightly offline, you can make a small adjustment because you have the time, the recovery to get back on it. Here, there is no way you can do that. 75.
That is not like 2 bad scores. A 76, 75 is pretty good, but it's 39th position. I'm telling you, the 100's coming. It's coming. So I don't know who it's going to be.
I'm telling you, if it doesn't come, you owe me a beer, because now I'm ready for it.
Oh, I think it's coming. I think it's coming. Timur Lipski on the line in this incredible Supra. Let's see if he can get himself higher up the order. 76 on his first run. He's only in 41st position. Needs to go hard.
Then he's going to go for it, Dave. Look at this. Yeah, 16 years old. He wants it. He wants to be in the show. He hasn't come in and mess around this weekend. The bottom of the Supra, bottom now on the way into the run-up. And look at this. He's going wild. He's going very, very wide now. Timur Lipski has proven himself once before that he can do it. He can be one of the best. And now he needs to do it on this stage here in Germany. Can he prove to the judges he's got what it takes to get in the show? It's an incredible run from Timur Lipski.
It's a big step up from the first.
Yeah.
Big step up from the first run. I have to say, it's a great run.
It's a very, very good run.
It's got to be, you know, is it going to trouble the boys at the top? I don't think so. It's going to be in there, though. But now you're just wondering, is it enough for a top 32 space? It's got to be above an 83. Little wobble here, little wobble on the way into that first outer zone. Just had a little bit of a moment. But other than that, he recovered from it well. It wasn't a disastrous moment.
That's a very nice line there. It's like he was pushing.
Look how cool that car looks doing that. How far has drifting come that we're here watching a fully carbon Kevlar 2020 Supra smash walls?
I just looked inside the car and we're like, we always talk about, oh, there's carbon fibre everywhere on the outside. The gear stick in the car is carbon fibre, so is the dashboard, so is the seat, so is his crash helmet. Everything, these guys are going to be made of carbon fibre one day.
He's going to float away if it's that light.
In a strong breeze that will blow away to the next town.
But what I love about it is you're watching this incredible car do incredible things and you're sitting there going, oh, I don't know. And like normally this would blow your mind. Like
I haven't sat all the way on this chair since we started. I've just realised.
I'm telling you, 5 years ago, that run in that car would have blown your mind clean off.
Yeah.
And now you're going, well, I don't know. I don't know. Is it? Yeah. It's incredible. Like if you watch a soccer match, it's not like they're scoring 78 goals now compared to 10 years ago.
No.
It's kind of the same.
Yep.
This progression of this sport is insane. And it's the machinery, the talent. Let's see where he lands. 87. Love to see it.
Very
87.
good score.
That's what I want to see because that was a good run. It was rewarded by the judges, and it's 21st position with an 87. Everything I'm saying has a question mark at the end of it now because I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, that knocks Yves Meyer out of top 32 at the moment and puts Keski Korpi on the drop zone. 83s. We've got 4 of them in the line here. And Oliver Randalou, Gottschall, Keski Korpi, all on an 83. You need that plus some to secure a spot in top 32. Yves Meyer needs to secure it. He needs to put the back bumper of this Supra on the wall, and he's going to go for it. Very nice initiation, super fast, but now he's shallow on outside zone 2. He needs to push harder than this as Yves Meyer fires this A90 Supra across the circuit. Looks absolutely beautiful in and around the walls, but this isn't going to be enough already, Dave. And we know it. We know the formalities. We know where these guys are bleeding the points as Yves Meyer tries his ever most to get to that final wall, and he can't get there.
I don't know. I don't know. It was a good run. I'm not sure if it was a great run. The car is exceptional.
The car is
the driver
a
is
work
exceptional.
of art. He is a phenomenal driver.
I just don't know. Is
I
it
mean,
more than 83?
Yves Meyer, like, he has done so much other motorsport as well as drifting. And he has some accolades in drifting in his hometown.
Just look
in
how
Switzerland.
cool this looks to watch this car. We're in an abandoned mine, a quarry, on an island, with a 2020 Supra that's probably about €250,000 worth being thrown at walls as if it's a €2,000 beat her.
And then we're saying that's not good enough.
And we're going, I don't know
to get
now.
in the show.
Yeah,
And
this is
that
crazy.
outside zone 4 for me has absolutely secured the deal. Look at that, because he wanders and wavers so much, he leaves it early.
I think outer zone 4, you're bleeding it the whole way through there. Let's see where he lands. It's an 83, which is enough for a 30th position, but I think that's because of all the drivers on 83, he is the only one to score a second score, which means that the other drivers will have the same target.
Oh, it was on fire. I did see a little flame.
Overheating the car a little bit on the second. It's a tough track on the car too. You're on throttle pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah. I mean, there's no let up. There's one decel. Apart from that, the car is on full throttle the whole way through. We go back to the line. It is going to be Max Miller sitting on the line, the Ukrainian driver in this incredible BMW 2 Series F22. 2JZ underneath the bonnet, 1,000 horsepower. Mad Max, as he likes to call himself. Well, he needs to be all of that Mad Max, and he's certainly going to do that as he lights the tyres up all the way from initiation. He's way over that white marker now. He needs to flick the car on angle. Will that allow him to get to outside zone 2? And it does. And now he starts to really stamp some authority on this run. He wants to be in the show. He said, did I not do enough earlier? I smashed the back of the car off of every single wall, and I'm now looking at a 75, and I want to be in the show as he puts the back bumper to wall once again, and the final outside zone done and dusted from Max Miller.
It's a good run. It's a great run, actually. And I'll tell you what, he does come a little inside on those two inner markers on the initiation, and that snappy transition, the second transition, it seemed a little bit like desperate to get out there.
Yeah.
But everything else was spot on. So I'm not sure where the judges are. Like, it's just a little inside there.
It's very inside, to be fair, Dave,
And then here, everything else is really good. The look goes really far out to the wall here, and it kind of plays with the edge of the track a little bit, the danger zone there. I like the car. I like the run. I think Max is a great guy.
Oh, he's an incredible guy
but
to have
none
around
of
the
those
paddock.
things are going to matter to the judges.
Do you know what? I just feel really bad now for the guys that are putting down
This is
really good
unbelievable.
runs.
Like, I'm just watching that run there on the replay going, that's unbelievable. Like, to do that in that car, look at that fleck, is the whole back end of the car mashed into the wall. This little too snappy for me.
Yeah, if he would have.
But he made it work. He got the zones. So like, he still collected every single zone on the track. So that's got to be what, 75 plus. From
Don't try and work it out, Dave. Don't turn into one of those.
Oh yes,
boom,
it's an 89.
Knocks it out of the park. An 89, 15th place. That's a really good score for Max
Great
Miller.
score. And that's again rewarded for the bravery.
The bravery
Huge
is where it comes
bravery
down
there.
to,
And I could even see the 11 points where they were on the track, which is I'm starting to figure it out, Ian.
No, Dave, come back. Don't turn into a robot, please.
No.
We've been normal for a long. Well,
we don't want to be judges. We don't want to be judges.
Jeez. Right, Tobias Pushan sits on the line, 77, Polish driver in this BMW E92, 760 horsepower.
Got a 77 in 40th, needs to move up here.
Yeah, look, he's got the fear though still, Dave. That car was buried into the wall in practice, and now it needs to be buried into the walls in the right places to make top 32. He's doing a good job so far, Tobias Pushan. He's pushing to the right edges and the right positions on the circuit, gets buried into that wall on outside zone 4 and stays there. That wheel almost making contact with the concrete wall as he now looks for the two final outside zones. Tobias Pushan right to the edge of the circuit. Job done. That was beautiful from Pushan.
I loved your initial. You were like, oh, he's going to be a little bit tentative here because he had the big hand. He wasn't at all. He just went out absolutely 100%. I think the little wobble was he went to the wall too early here. Watch, he gets out to the wall too early here, and he has to kind of drag it along, but it worked. He got away with it. And then the rest of it was pretty solid. Good run. An improvement, I would imagine, from a 77.
Yeah. I'm just looking at these scores, like, what's 31st and what's...
We're trying to do the math here going, you've never had to work this hard.
I've never seen so many high scores on the computer in front of me before. It is unbelievable.
And this is a good run. Like, again, another great run in the zones, right out to the edge of the track, what the judges wanted to see. Definitely pushing.
Yeah. I mean, look,
look at this. Oh, it's
look at the wheel. The wheel is like... There's going to be a tire mark all the way around that wall by the end of the weekend. The guys are risking it. That's what I'm now starting to... These guys are going out there saying, if I don't come out the other side, then I know I've done enough. An 86, 23rd position at the moment.
23rd, 86.
With a run like that.
Wow. I don't know what you have to do. Like, I'm looking at the drop zone now. It's 83, right? Could that drop zone go to...
Well, there's only one driver
85,
on an 83.
86?
yeah, it's 84s and 85s, literally above it. Joshua Reynolds on the line, a 0 on the board for him. Another Swiss driver from that Drift Force team in these beautiful A90 Supras built by the guys at Drift Force. They come off the line, down he comes now, and he knows where he went wrong last time, but he initiated way too early, got on the throttle, now he's tagged the wall. Oh, and Joshua Reynolds falls foul to the walls here in Germany.
Was there a wall? There was just a piece missing there. He did well.
He literally missed
he
the
hit
wall.
the only place there was no wall. But so unfortunate to see. You could see he missed out his own, out of his own one. I was just about to jump across the end, but I wouldn't be so rude.
No, no, it's fine. Sorry, it's cool.
In the middle of the run, I was about to go, well, there you go. He's missed out his own one.
I feel like a samurai with you're just cutting people down like a ninja. Like, nah,
he missed out his own one. Not enough.
You're gone.
Not enough. See you later.
It's like you need a man on the middle of the circuit with a flag, a black flag. So as soon as they miss outside one zone, they just walk out and hold the flag up and go,
see you later.
Pack it up.
Yeah. He did well to come out of that without much more damage on that car.
Do you know what? I was just going to say, looking at that rear wheel.
The back wheel is probably the only thing that took it a little bit worse than anything else. Oh, got that camber, yo.
It's been a painful year for Joshua Reynolds. Learning a new car, Dave, is not easy. I struggle.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. Joshua Reynolds is a phenomenal driver.
Yep.
He's in a new chassis. He's learning, and he's gonna. And he's like, I'll go out there and I'll feel it out.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, feeling it out means you need an 85. So you can't feel it out. You got to go absolutely full steam.
Yep.
Made one error, just one. Boom, you're done. And that's how it works. Oh, so outer zone 1, everyone. That's where it's all going down today. That's where the party's at. There's Marston. He's having a party on his own head.
He's always got a smile on his face. He's always happy.
Yeah.
He likes it in Germany.
He does.
He said to me before, I like Germany. I like
the minute he finishes this last qualifying run, he's running straight into the sea, into the lake.
Yeah, he's going to go swimming with the boys.
He's just going to go jump into the lake. He's just going to be like, I'm done. Boom.
Well, it's a good chill for everyone here, all the Drift Masters guys, because they get to support the Iron Drift King this afternoon. So everyone gets to hang out and watch the competition as we see Axel Francois.
Yeah, Axel Francois now sits up.
He blew the doors off his first qualifying run.
I thought it was a great run.
89 points. I think he's sitting confident at the moment.
If you're listening, Axel, I thought it was great. The judges, however.
No, what I'm going to say to Axel is don't do too much. Do that again, I think you'll be fine.
An 89 surely is enough for him.
But a 60.
No.
He just did the...
He did the whole, we're going to go bad. And we're like,
oh, no. We've seen that in Poland, and coilovers were in the grandstand. Here we go. Axel Francois fires in this Toyota GT86. That's a very nice initiation from Francois now. On the throttle nice and early, out to that zone. Oh, wheel on the white line. And he comes up a little short on outside zone 3, though, now as he transitions into outside zone 4. Into that zone, stays in there, a little shallow once again. Maybe this isn't as wild as what we thought it was going to be, but that transition sacrificed outside zone 5, and he's starting to bleed a lot of points now as Francois gets the job done.
It's a good. I'm going to make 2 points.
2 points.
I think it's harder for a driver in a GT86 or a car with very little rear overhang
to run the wall.
Run the walls, because if they actually get close, that's the wheel hitting the wall, which causes damage, whereas someone with a longer overhang can kind of hit it and flex it. Secondly, I think that how Axel Francois didn't spin the car, he was on the lock stops. You could actually see the car, the steering shake in the car because he was that much angle. Not here at the end of the course, you see it. He goes on so much angle to try and obviously force that exclamation point to the judges that, like, there's an angle judge, right? He's like, have a look at me. That's all it has. But, like, that was on the edge. Like, it was on the edge towards the end of that run. And he got it done. I think it's going to be another good score. Is it more than his first?
I mean, he's on big angle on this transition.
Watch this transition. Look at the front wheels. Oh, he didn't want to show it.
Didn't want to show it.
Didn't want to give away the secrets.
Teased us.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a flag. Polish flags are up. They're up. Ready to go. Axel Francois scores an 85, so it's only an 85. So, he'll be disappointed with that 85.
Yeah,
These are the sound clips you want to record from this event.
Yeah.
Oh, 89, 85, only mid-pack.
Mid-pack score.
Oh, it's okay. Incredible stuff. Now we move on to another driver who had a great first score.
Yep.
Alexander Kostahov. He was the one that I think Axel and him started, reigniting everyone in the mid-pack to start putting in big scores. Alexander going for a big run here from the Ukraine, 2 JZ power, 850 horsepower. Nice on the line, not a lot of angle, but he's going to make it. Oh, he's coming in very fast into that corner. He's going to make it work. He makes it work. That was brave. Through that first section, he smashes the spoiler off the wall as he transitions back. Alexander's on one here as he goes into the wall again. A bit too heavy, maybe, into the wall. They're definitely too heavy. There, Cohen's flying into the grandstand as he transitions back into that last corner. He's definitely going for a big score here. This is an impact when he put a wheel over the line. Oh. That was a little bit tense at times.
That was nervous. That was a wild ride there for Alexander Koshov.
The fans love it. We love it.
They're loving it. Do you know what? They've been treated to some of the best qualifying I think I've ever witnessed, for sure.
And
this was very fast, Dave.
I thought he was going in the wall here. And then all of a sudden he went boom back on the throttle. I went, oh, he got away with that one.
And he collected outside zone 2 perfectly. Look at that.
Real
nice.
He was like, oh, I could even go closer.
Now, the only mistake for me that I pointed out was this. Entry to outside zone 4. Look at this. Little slack there on the entry. Then he hit the wall quite bad. It slowed the car down. And it's to really get back into it to make sure it's not good. The cone is getting an absolute beating.
Yeah. But the real heroes out there.
They are.
Always
MVPs.
standing their ground. I mean, the spoiler was making move. How does it even look? The spoiler went up and down like. How is it not in pieces? I don't know. It's like made
What is that spoiler made of?
Apparently, it's made out of weapons-grade titanium. It has to be.
Yes. Any other spoiler that would have been in a million pieces.
I don't know how a spoiler would contort like that and come back to original shape. It's an 86. Good score. 88 and 86. 17th position for Alexander Kosov's. Good runs. Very consistent.
Very consistent.
Hit a few cones. Did some smashing. And now I feel like, what are the battles going to be like if everybody's this good in the lead position? Now,
phenomenal.
Christian Erlandson, he's got to improve.
Well, any other day of the week, any other event, a 71 for Erlandson would have been a good shot. He would have been happy with that. He would have said, look, that's enough to get me in the show. I'll be in the top 32 tomorrow. We know he's had some problems in the past. He did the washing machine in Riga, but now he needs to really put it together, and he's missed outside zone 1 completely. Drops wheels over the edge of the circuit and starting to fall apart already. And like Dave said, could this be curtains already?
I'm going to say it is. I think once you miss out of zone 1, you've just lost. You're down to in the 70s there because you happen, you've already been at 5 or 10 point deduction straight away, which means that it's not enough.
Yeah, no.
I've never watched a drift event, and I've watched a few, Ian.
Just a couple
over the years, and I've never watched a drift event where if you miss one zone, it's enough to go home.
No.
Zone or home?
Zone or home. As you paint that on that bit of wall.
Yeah, look, missed it. Yeah, straight away.
It's game over.
That's game over. You can't miss that out of zone 1. And if you miss out of zone 1, you're losing 10 points probably, maybe more.
And you can see the corrections in the car as he's letting the car go to angle to try and wash wide for that outside line. And from then on out, he gets himself back into it, but it's just too late already, and we know that from previous experiences.
I mean, second half of the course from Christian is absolutely fine. It's just there's no recovery.
No.
You can't recover from the points you've lost. You can recover if the rest of the grid weren't all scoring 83 plus.
Yeah.
But when they are, you have to be as perfect as they are. Perfect is what we're talking about here. We're talking about a qualification session here that's looking for perfection, that may reach it closer than any other event in the history of drifting. Because if you have that many 90s, that many people in the 90 percentile up, fortunately for Christian Erlandson, there you go, not enough, 41 is where he stays.
And I'm going to say that's probably the best qualifying session he's had this season.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, I'm trying to say no one here is bad. You don't turn up to Drift Masters if you're bad at drifting. We're not good. They're all incredible. But it's the bar that you're setting with the scoring.
Every event.
And now Norbert Sandwich is sitting there in the same position with a 0 from his first run going, I've got to get an 85 here. And look at the first 2 zones.
Well, there we go. He's on that white line, that wheel on that marker, and he goes wide now for outside zone 1. It's looking good so far for Sandwich. He's come up a little short on outside zone 2, and he needs to pull his socks up. He's starting to bleed some points now as he heads down to outside zone 4, puts foot to floor, dials on the angle, puts the back end into the groove now, looks for the transition. Can he get it done? He certainly can, but he's staying away from the walls. He doesn't want to do too much, but he may need to do a little bit more.
That's going to be borderline.
And you know, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but you had to say it.
Like, you got to be honest. Like, we're not being harsh on the driving ability.
No.
We're just going by what scores the judges are giving. He gets out of zone 1, okay. 2 and 3 were adequate, but not phenomenal. And then, have you got the wow factor? Have you got the craziness? Have you got the wall rubs? Have you got the cones flying in the air? The things that are scoring other people high points. Are you getting them from that run? And we got to be realistic and say, Maybe not.
Not.
Maybe not. So yeah, you know, you got to risk it, and I don't think there was a lot of risk in that run.
There was no risk in that run. Looking back at it now,
But I still think it's a good run. I still think it's going to creep in there, but I think it's not going to be 90 plus like what we've watched. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's where you want to be safe.
I'm looking at this run and I'm saying, look, if that's not enough, and then in my mind I'm replaying the 98s, the Kavir 98s, the 97s, the 96s,
It's an 84. It's in the third, but
30th.
it's still on the drop zone if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because how many drivers are probably on 84 right now? A
Well,
lot. And 83.
There's four drivers.
There's 4 drivers on 84
84
right now. So yeah, it's a dangerous place to be. It takes that our next driver. He got an 84, so he's one of those.
Yeah, so he's at
So
the
now
moment.
if he improves, that's going to hurt everyone else in and around the mix there. Matej Sadal, 16 years of age from Israel, ready to take to the circuit, and he's got to improve. He's got to go big here in this E46 BMW. Fires it down, got to get wide, doesn't get quite wide enough to outer zone 2. Got to be more committed to those walls. Oh, right, that's a nice transition for Matej Sadal. And you know, we're trying to judge a 16-year-old driving an 800 horsepower car here, so it's very hard to be realistic, but this is phenomenal for Matej Sadal in terms of his age, in terms of what he's doing. Is it going to be enough?
You know what, the second half of that run, Dave, was phenomenal. The way he positioned that BMW, like out the second half of outside zone 4, he was on it. I think the points bled was there, the wheel over those 2 dotted white lines, and then really for me the initiation was beautiful, but he just wasn't really committed onto the walls.
I'm not sure he was quite into outer zone 1 as much as he would.
Well, as it would look like, yeah. 1, 2, and 3 for me though were kind of where he lost a few points. This transition was so buttery smooth.
I love how
it was
they're
lovely.
getting the zone. That's not the problem. It's how much of the zone they're getting.
Yeah. But from here on out, like this was beautiful, this line into outside zone 4. But from here on out, he really nailed it because he gets the car right to the wall. The transition was lovely. Look at that, not too much angle, nice and smooth, right to the edge of the circuit. And then again, 6 and 7 were absolutely dialed. The wheel is on the white line.
No, it was perfect at the end. Let's see where it drops in. 89. Yes, we see someone get rewarded for that line. You got a 54 out of 60 on the line. And we have got Adam Ivel down with Matej Sadal. He's in the show, Adam. He must be happy with that one.
Matej, a great score. You're here representing Israel. You can't hear me, no? Let me get a little bit closer. You're here representing Israel. How are you finding your first season in Drift Masters?
Oh, I find it amazing. The level here is so much higher than any other sport or league in the world of drifting. It feels amazing to be able to compete here with all these amazing drivers and these amazing tracks. So I'm just loving it.
Well, you did excellent there. You're in the show. Good luck tomorrow.
Maybe happy with that one, Matej Sadal. I mean, getting in the show here is almost like winning a final anywhere else.
A driver years ago said to me, you make a top 16 at Drift Masters, you walk away from that weekend happy. I think now, if you qualify, you walk away from this weekend happy.
100%. That's what Clint Van Hout is going to try and do. The man from the Netherlands got a little nervous in his first run. He's got to go all in here.
He has to throw caution to the wind, Dave. He has to throw everything and the kitchen sink more at this. And he was way over that white line. And you can see how shallow he is on outside zone 1. He now starts pushing to the wall. The Dutch driver needs to show the judges what he can do as he parks the back end of that S14 into the wall now. That 2JZ screaming underneath the bonnet. Fires across to outside zone 5 as Clint Van Hout dials on the angle, and that's going to sacrifice a little line, but he makes it work as he looks for that final outside zone, and he gets it done. 2 very good runs from the Dutchman.
He has absolutely obliterated the tires on the back of that car afterwards. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Again,
I hate it when you do that.
It's outer zone 1. It's outer zone 1 again. Watch outer zone 1.
Dave,
does he get there?
I'm like a little balloon floating, and you just keep
watch the rear
popping
wheels. I'm not sure he gets out of zone 1.
I think he scrapes it with a wheel. Can we just let him have a little bit of glory?
I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just trying to. I'm being realistic.
You sound like the bad man, Dave, between the two of us now.
Look, I love all these guys. I love this sport, but I'm just trying to figure it out because mostly we'll go, oh, this is the way it is. Today, I'm not so sure.
Today is not a normal day.
Today is not a normal day. I think he did a great job everywhere. It's just out of zone 1 for me. Does it warrant 84 plus? Is it a good run? Absolutely. Is it a good enough run to get you in any other show on any other day of the week?
I've
Absolutely.
seen the score drop in, and I need to shut that laptop. We need to shut that now. We're finished with this. Stop looking, because I've seen the score drop in. He goes for a 360, and he's so...
That's extra points for me,
yeah, he's
but not from the
drift drunk there, Dave. He's
just like, wow. An 84, he's in 30th position, right there with the rest of the guys on that drop zone. 84. Like, I'm telling you, it's just that outer zone 1. That was all missed on the whole track. Oh, Manuel Vacca, next up on the line, Italian driver, 940 horsepower. First run was a 62, has to get an 84 to make it into the show, and even that might not be enough. There's a lot of 84s there.
And this is when you just said about Clint's score. I don't know if an 84 is enough. He's off the line as Manuel Vacca pulls through the gears now, puts that front wheel right where it needs to be, and this is nice and deep into outside zone 1. Is it deep enough? I don't know if it is on 2 now. He starts to work the back end of that BMW 36 into the groove, transitions across the circuit. Into 4 he goes, and now he wanders and wavers, and he's bleeding points now. It's very slow as he's on the foot brake, transitions the car, looks for the wall, almost makes it there now. As Manuel Vacca, final outside zone coming up, he saves it off the wall. I don't know, Dave, if that is enough.
We genuinely don't know.
No.
We're not saying this for a dramatic effect. We genuinely don't know. No. You know what a 90 plus looks like. I think everyone watching knows what that looks like. What is the difference between an 85 and a 90? This is kind of what we're trying to figure out.
This is what we're trying to work out. Where is the fine line? What is the difference between that and doing enough to get in and enough to not get in?
Yeah,
like,
you know me, big outer zone 1 guy. Big outer zone 1
you're
fan.
a big outer zone. And I'm like, if you're not on the wall, I know you're bleeding 2 points.
Yeah.
Every zone, you're losing at least 2 points a judge.
I think he got every zone. Did he get it like right deep into the zone? Maybe not.
No. And this is the crucial one. Look at this. The wheel's on the white line there.
I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to say it's going to be close, but not. But I don't know anything. And also, I count for nothing. I actually just talk and you listen.
Just fans. We are drift fans.
No difference to what the scoring is.
No, we have no influence
There you
whatsoever.
are, an 83, 35th position for Manuel Vacca. It's very harsh when you get an 83 and you're not on the show. And also when you get 51 out of 60 on line and you're not on the show. Oh, Drift Masters, not for...
the faint-hearted.
No,
well,
not at all.
Zalewski's secure, that's for sure. 91 on the board at the moment. He sits in 12th place. I mean, just soak that in for a second. And what's he going to do on this one? He was a guy that likes to be at the top of the leaderboard when we finish qualifying. He's doing something exceptional right now, and he's very deep on outside zone 1. He's on the throttle nice and early. Very deep on outside zone 2. Now he starts to collect the points. He's not bleeding them. He's collecting them as he fires in to outside zone 4. He is as close to the wall as anyone else has been without even trading pain. He is right there with it. And Zalewski makes this one technical and clean. He looks for the final zone. Job done for the Polishman.
That's perfection. That is almost up there for perfection.
He was there, but not touching.
Unbelievable. And you now have the comparison between the last couple of runs and Zalewski to say that was a big step up. This is going to be up there. This is going to be up there, Ian, right up there. There is, again, as I said, GT86, not the easiest to flex into the wall. It's always going to be on a walled circuit, a bit of a disadvantage because you can't bury the car in the wall because it's the wheel.
The wheel, yeah.
Yeah, and the fuel cell is going to be in the wall. So for what he's working with here, the fluidity, the speed, got every zone, the transitions were almost full throttle. It's going to be up there. It's got to be right up there. Zalewski's back in the game. I think his 91 will be improved on. Big statements.
I can't even make a comment anymore.
It has to be.
I have no idea.
96 for Adam Zalewski. The Polish driver moves into 6th position with a 96, which is just ridiculous. But that is the kid. He can't believe it. He's like, oh, my top qualifier? No.
No. But you got a 96, so
yeah,
congratulations.
you're not even close, Adam. It's a 96. It's just average enough today. So, you know, enjoy. That's crazy stuff.
Do you know what? He's had such misfortune this year. For him, that will be a brilliant score. Well, Mika Keski-Korpi, he's in 38th now. 38th position with an 83.
I don't mean to laugh. It's just so ridiculous. So he has to score above an 85, really.
Yeah. I mean, plus to make it secure. Very nice line at the moment as he flicks that car to angle down, goes for the initiation, tags the wall, and that was a mistake. That wasn't calculated, that was a mistake from Keski-Korpi, and now he's going to pay the price for that one as he gets into outside zone 4. Keeps it pinned, looks for the transition, snappy, makes it work, but it does not put a smile on the judge's face as he looks for that final outside zone.
It's all the X factor.
It's everything you want from a run.
It's everything you want from a run, except if you're a judge at times, because that was how he got out of zone 2 the way he did and got away with it. I have no idea. He fired that car at that wall.
I thought he was in the wall.
Everybody watching thought that was going to be squish BMW there.
He was carrying a lot of speed. Look at this. He was like, he waited so late to handbrake, and then he trusted the grip in the chassis, and he just tagged the wall.
But I think he made that corner from a curve to a triangle.
Yeah.
He didn't get out of zone 1 properly, so he dived to the wall, almost stopped on the wall, which means he kind of made it a triangle of a corner, not a perfect arc, which is a mistake, as you said. It's not how it looks cool, but
it was a mistake.
It's not how he wanted to get there. I don't think it's how the judges wanted him to get there either. But it's still a good run. He'll still score him pretty well.
And he knew he had to push. He knew, sitting back there watching the live stream on his phone, he watched the broadcast. A lot of these guys do. They sit in their car watching it, seeing what everyone else is doing, where the mistakes are made, where the points are lost.
Look at this.
And he knew he had to push.
In the wall.
He buried the whole back end of that car in the wall multiple times to try and impress the judges. And
I think he did too much.
I think I think he did too much. I think the initiation was too much.
I think he was trying to have that X factor, but he didn't get the line right to get the X factor, so he made it hard work for himself. There you have an 80 on the board. We'll see Mika Keski-Korpi knocked out of competition, must be for the first time this year, not even making the top 32.
Right, so I've just had information in my ears now that to be safe in the show now, you need an 86.
That's bananas. Take that, Jakob Kroll, who has an 84, which would have looked pretty good, but now he only sits just inside the show.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's on the drop zone, Dave. He is 32nd place at the moment. He's over that white line. That white line is, for me, is key. Will on that white line needs to be the one. He's on the throttle nice and early, picks up outside zone 2, but now he's going to be shallow on 3, and you can see that bumper not on the wall. Very nice entry into outside zone 4, all the way along that wall. Now enters the second half of the circuit, and he starts to shallow away, starts to move away from the wall where he should be closer than he was before. And I think that's going to be a replication of what his first run was, Dave. I think that is just a mirror image.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I said I think that he's consistently done the same 2 runs, but the first run wasn't enough. So
no.
Did he risk a lot on that? I don't think he went over and above to risk it.
I think he done exactly what... I'm
just trying to check the score.
Yeah,
here.
that is just ludicrous looking at that score.
It is.
I think he done what he did in the first run, maybe with a little bit more aggression. He was a bit more aggressive in his second run than he was in his first, but I don't think he done enough to wow the judges there.
I was just looking at the scoring because I was thinking, current championship leader is Jack Shanahan. He scored a 96 on his first qualifying run, but it's not even enough for the top 7.
No, he's at 8th place.
He's 8th place, but it's 96.
Even the judges are shaking their head.
They're the ones giving the scores, so they have no excuse. We're only analysing it. Yeah. But I think Jakob Kroll, for me, did 2 great runs, but great... sorry, great isn't even good enough anymore. Good was fine earlier in the year, then great came along. Now excellent and exceptional is what we're expecting. Connor Shannon, look at him, delighted with himself.
Delighted.
There. 83, there you are, same almost score, 30th position. He's still in the show, but we don't know how that's going to move over the next, 20, 30 runs.
I mean, in front of me now I have a whole list of drivers that are in those 80s. It's like the next 5 drivers, 6 drivers are all on 80-point runs. So they can all now improve and push the order down and raise the bar off the top 32. Oliver Randall, we spoke about him before, made some moves in 2022. This season, not really made a name for himself. But now, this could be the weekend. Absolutely beautiful on that outside zone. And this could be the run for him if he can hold this one together that gets him into the show and moves him up the order. And this is absolutely phenomenal so far from Oliver Randall, the Estonian driver, pushing harder than he did before. He knows the mark. He knows where he needs to be. And that is technically beautiful, Dave, as he puts bumper to wall, looks for the final outside zone and says, that's the one, baby.
Yeah, that's a big improvement. That is a great run from Oliver Randall. He did everything he could do. I think that's all he had in him on that track. I think that was literally to 100% for him. That was everything he had. I think he maybe loosened the car a little bit between the two runs just to give it that extra little bit of wash to get it out there to those walls, or what, but it was perfect on the line. You know me, massive outer zone 1 fan.
You're a big outer zone 1 guy.
And he got outer zone 1, and watch how easy it made him to get to outer zone 2 and 3. He was wide from the start.
We talk about taking grip out the car. That front wheel was off the tarmac when he was left foot braking it.
Three-wheeling his way.
Three-wheeling his way
around the track, load of walls, in a mid-90s BMW with massive amounts of power. What a time to be alive.
That's lovely, that is. That's really nice from Oliver Rando.
It's smooth.
It's so
smooth. He is like a jazz musician.
He's just looking at the wall like da 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 da.
Yeah, like it makes it look very easy when it's certainly not.
The back of the car's like, ah!
How does the back end flex so much and doesn't really seem to fall apart?
These cars now, Dave, they are designed so the back ends just flex on the walls. It doesn't upset the steering, doesn't upset the input to the car, and they can run the wall safely without making those corrections, which we know get crucified by the judges.
I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be a good score. I think it's going to be right up there. Randalou jumps to 9th position with a 95. I'll tell you one thing, he deserved every bit of it.
He did deserve every single
bit of it. That was a phenomenal score. And do you know what I liked about it? He had to step up, and he did.
Yeah.
That's the difference maker. He didn't just slightly step up.
I think these next 6, 7 drivers are going to do that. I think they're all going to look and say, well, we know what we need to do.
Hlavnia's got to go for this as well. Hlavnia from the Ukraine sits in 29th position. He's got an 85, but that might not be safe enough. Has to improve, has to do what Randall did and go hot into that first corner.
He certainly is. And look at this, he is. His bumper on the wall from where I can see. And he now starts to push wider than he did before. He's really going for it, but he's shallow on outside zone 3. He's gripped that car up. There's still a lot of grip on that circuit. Absolutely firing round. The pace from Hlavnia is incredible, and you can see the way he adjusted the car on the handbrake, but he sacrificed a wall run, and he goes for that final outside zone. That was a quick run pass through the circuit.
Quick run, good run. Did make some errors along the way. Why am I so negative today? I think I want a 100-point run. I want a 100-point run.
Yeah, you want a 100-point run, and I think the bar has been set so high.
After outer zone 1.
He run the wall.
No, look, just locks up kind of a little bit late. Look, after the decel, another handbrake there. That, for me, just a little bit of an error.
Not doing it for you, Dave?
No, not doing it for me. Doesn't matter what I think.
Judges, yeah, true.
The judges will probably say that was the decel zone, and then he deceled again after the decel zone.
Yeah.
The rest of it was amazing.
The rest of it was amazing. I think they made a few mistakes, like the transition from outside zone 4 to 5 for me was a little, yeah, I mean, we're going to see it.
I think it's an improvement. I think it's a good score.
Like you watch this, he handbrake there ever so slightly as well in that outside zone.
I still think
look at this, the transition, like he handbrakes, tries to extend it.
But it's accurate, but it's pretty accurate to the line. So he's making the line work. He's got a bit of style when he goes to the walls. Is it a 90 plus? I don't think so, but it's going to be close, I'd imagine. An 87. 87 for Alex Hlavnia, 24th position with an 87. Like, normally the team would be jumping on the roof of the car, celebrating with an 87.
If you in 32nd place, you're 5 points off a 90. That's
what do you do if you're Pavel Grosz now? You got an 86. You're only 29th. You're on the drop zone with an 86, and you got a small rear overhang car. You've watched Zalewski do it, you got to do what Zalewski did, right? You got to go out there and absolutely throw down.
You have. You've got to push it to the limit. You've got to push it past the limit. You've got to put the car in an uncomfortable place, and he's very shallow on outside zone 1. And that's now starts to upset that line. You can see he's not deep onto the walls, and you need to be deeper than that. You need to be really showing the judges that you're not scared to put paint on the wall. As Pavel Grosz comes out now for the transition, looks for that zone, he's put on a massive amount of angle, and that's sacrificed that zone, and that's going to hurt him massively now as he gets back into it across the line. That was a huge mistake on that transition.
I don't think that's going to improve his score from the first half. I think it was a cleaner run. The 86 that he got on the first one was far cleaner than that one for me. Beautiful car, though, and a great driver, and I can't believe some of these great drivers doing great runs is not enough to get us in. What's the top 32 going to be like?
My mind's blown.
How are they going to judge top 32 battles when everybody's unbelievable? Like, mistakes are usually where you separate these drivers. People aren't making massive ones here. We are over-exaggerating small ones to try and find a difference maker. I mean, it's a track full of walls. It's very fast. And they're still making it look quite easy, I think. This bit here is really sketchy, and everyone seems to get this bit pretty okay. It is fast, sketchy wall runs.
Long. That's a long wall run. Like, that is a long wall run. There is a lot of time there to make a mistake and put the car too far into the wall.
He pretty much half spun the car there at the end.
Yeah.
That was definitely an over-rotation. That's going to hurt him at this level. And unfortunately for Pavel Grosz, I think he's going to have to accept that his first score, I think, would probably be his only score. We didn't get a score. Did we get a score yet? Maybe we will.
No, not yet. Hasn't dropped in just yet, Dave. Judges.
78, yeah.
78.
So 26th at the moment with an 86. Oh, nervous moments, right? Nervous moments to see if that is going to be enough.
So there we go. We await to go back to the start line to the next driver. And yeah, I mean, I'm still in my mind saying, what is this going to be? Oh, what is this? What's happened? Oh, it looks.
What has happened here?
Oh, it looks like we've had a complete engine failure, potentially on Peltola's car.
Oh,
yeah, and he's out of the car. Wow.
That's a lot of oil.
Oh, and he's sat with a 0 as well after making contact with the wall. And
yeah, he's out.
I mean, yeah, look, we have a 2-minute clock that runs to get to the start line, and he's failed to get there. So Peltola bows out of competition, the car failing down there in the tyre warming area, and we move to the line to Pavel Korpelinski.
No, I said he had more in the tank.
You did.
Bring him back. I said his first run was conservative at an 88. I think, knowing me a bit of Pavel Korpelinski, he has the big run in him, and this could be it.
Well, here he goes. He's through the gears. Down he comes, puts the wheel on the white line, hits the rev limiter, goes deep on outside zone 1, but now he's going to come up a little short on 2. No, he's going to be right there. Onto the wall he goes. Bumper to the wall all the way around so far now. Very nice line into that long outside zone. Flexes the back end of this Nissan 200SX S14 as he gets dangerously close to every single wall. And this is absolutely clinical from Pavel Korpelinski.
I wouldn't be a man to highlight being right often, because it doesn't happen often.
Is that a 98 beater though?
It's up there. It's up there.
That's what you've got to think
there. From if the first run was an 88, he definitely was wider, faster, and more risky on that one than he was. In my opinion, that was what we expected from Pavel Korpelinski.
Yeah.
Technically great. Outer zone 1 could have been a little wider, just saying. But what I'm saying is that all the rest of the run was bumper to the wall. I feel it's up there. I feel there was not much you could say from that run that it wasn't good.
No, it was very good.
No mistakes. He was in every zone. He had 2 wheels in every zone. I'm pretty sure this is going to be up there. Will it be the top? I'm not sure top, but up there. You know?
I don't need. I've got no words. I'm running out of words, and we've still got a lot of drivers.
We're having a very public debate here.
That is just. Do you know?
Always remember, people, we're sitting on the couch with you. We're right there with you. 95. Pavel Korpelinski, 95. 9th
place.
Yeah. Imagine you got a 95 and you weren't in the top 10. You'd be fuming. You'd be absolutely fuming. Pavel Korpelinski's won. Well, he's very close to winning this event numerous times. Back in the mix again. Now, Oren Nielsen, if there's ever a man that looked at him and went, oh, hitting the walls, that's what everyone's at. Join me up. Sign me up.
Here we go.
Nielsen's got to go for it here. He's another driver that needs a little bit of improvement. He's in the mid-pack at the moment.
No, he's absolutely firing. This is quick. Dave comes down. He's on the throttle nice and early, and he goes wide, and he's absolutely screaming through the circuit so far. No messing around from Oren Nielsen as he now gets into that wall, puts a back bumper up and close and personal with it, crosses through. And this is a fast run from Nielsen as well. Look at the way the car's hop, skipping and jumping across the circuit. Looks for that final outside zone, tags the wall and across the line. That was
it's a great run.
It was a good run, but there was some moments there where I was like, is he holding on to that car?
I would say I would increase his X-Factor craziness, like wow ability, because that's how he drives.
Yep.
And then take down a little bit of the fluidity.
And the line maybe ever so slightly.
Some bits here and there, you're like, is he just holding on or is he okay? And then he always makes it work, Oren, he's one of the most exciting drivers we had. The front wheel didn't even hit the ground in the first 2 zones.
But look at this, he shallows up and takes he triangulates from 2 to 3.
He does. Big word for you, Ian.
Very big. Had to think about that one for about 2 minutes before I came out.
But Oren Nielsen, the thing is, you know you're going to get a banger of a run.
Oh, for sure.
But now it's like, what's the difference between an 80 88 and a 95, right? That's what we're trying to decide, because he already has an 88, so it doesn't matter.
I'm sure that front wheel didn't touch the tarmac.
No.
Look at this, it's up and down.
It's either just bouncing fully locked or it's in the air.
That car is gripped up.
Yeah. Let's see what he scores. Or Nielsen gets a 90, moving into 16th position, of course. 90, not a great score. Not a great score anymore.
Mid-pack score
yeah,
now, 90.
Real mid-pack stuff from Nielsen.
We're going to have to think about the scoring now.
What is happening?
That we need to add points for 2024.
Yeah, we're going to have to go up to 150.
Yeah, we're going to have to, yeah.
It's not relative anymore.
Yeah,
so you have Poitalaxo, his first run was an 85, which at the time seemed like unbelievable, but now it's not as unbelievable. He's nearly on the drop zone. So here we go. Poitalaxo has to go to the walls. He's going early with this front wheel, perfect. Outer zone 1 looks like he's on track. Yes, that's what he goes late, very late, but then comes away from it early, backs out of it. And he could have stayed in that one to go closer to outer zone 2, but he's doing all right, gets back out to outer zone 4. Foot to floor, but that's a lot of left foot braking, and he kind of pulls the car away from the wall a little bit there as he transitions back, missing an outer zone there as he takes it through that last corner. Not a bad run, not a great run. Will it improve on his 85? Not so sure.
Well, there we go. Juha Poitalaxo, yeah, 30th place at the moment, sits with an 85. I think that is a mirror image score, and you know where I think that was going wrong for him, Dave? I think that they've left the amount of grip in that he had before. Watch the way the car wants to drive across the circuit rather than flow on that qualifying line.
Very good point.
And every time he stands on that accelerator, the wheels pick up wheel speed, they get grippier and grippier, and it pushes him out of those zones, and he struggles in outside zone 4 to stay in it, well, because he's running that much grip.
You know what, Ian? Not often I'll say this, but you may have a very good point. The amount of rubber being laid down now, because remember, every time the rubber was laying down before, the rain washed all the rubber away.
Yeah.
But now we're getting a lot more grip on the track than we've ever had at this point. And I think it's starting to affect some of the driving. I think some of those guys think the car is going to wash, and it's all of a sudden not washing. And 87, he does improve. He's in the 25th position. You have Poitalaxo from Finland. I hope it's enough, because 87 not being enough will worry me tonight. But it's, you know, we're here. We're partying. People are trying to be great. Max Heidrich is like in a situation where he doesn't need to risk much more, but I feel he will risk a lot more.
I mean, he's on a 93. He's 13th place.
Just calm down, Max. You're in front of the home crowd. You want to make it to the battles. You don't need to go too crazy. Please just give us a moment of rest this season. No, he's gone flying in again. Yeah, here we go. Max Heidrich fires into the first corner. He's wider than a lot of people are there. Oh, he's got a big angle too. How has he made that work? He's slammed into the wall. Max Heidrich's going to slam. Oh, he's a little bit wayward there. It's actually a mistake. He's hit it too hard. He's going a little too aggressive around this run as Heidrich pushes out to the edge of the circuit. Lots of anti-light, lots of limiter bashing, lots of angle. It's what you come to expect from the calling card of the man. Max by name, Max by nature. But he's still alive, which is good.
Yeah, he's still with us.
His first run will be, I think, his higher scoring run.
Yeah.
But he's still not too much damage.
No. And he's
bonus.
Look at this.
Bit of a bonus.
Look, the showman doing a little victory lap, waving to all the German fans here.
Yeah, he ran over the guy in the scooter.
Yep.
Fans like it.
They love it.
We like it. Everyone likes a bit of Max Heidrich.
German hero. Look at this. There was, for me, this was phenomenal, because look at the angle. He's carrying all the way down the wall, but then finds himself very shallow, and you're a big outside zone 1 guy, Dave.
Aficionado.
Yeah. You're the chief of that town, and he struggled to get there. He was dragging wheels along the white line, and that messed him up.
Yeah, that's what I just feel. If you don't get out of zone 1, 2 becomes either a hit, or you're kind of holding on, or you're mid-track, or you're kind of on this weird stop-start thing.
And he did that triangulation
again. You don't get the flow. You want to see the rear wheels of the car use the outer white line to get to zone 2.
Yeah.
If you see it from like 1 to 2, it's a jump. It's not quite natural.
No.
So therefore, you're going to see those mistakes being made. But Max Heidrich should be smiling. He's got a 93 from the first run. He's doing all right. Look at him, delighted with life.
Happy.
Very happy. All smiles is Max Heidrich right now, as he's pumped. It's an 86, which again we're going, oh, rubbish. It's an 86. 86 is still very good. Adam Ivel's down with Max Heidrich. 93 on his first run, Adam. Should be enough to see him in the show. He's here in front of the home fans, having some fun.
Max, you're once again here in Ferropolis in front of your home fans, laying down a 93-point run. How does it feel to be out there again?
It's absolutely amazing to be out here. You fans are really crazy, and it's a good atmosphere here, so I absolutely love every minute on track.
You're always a showman, Max. Good luck tomorrow, man.
Big showman.
Yeah,
Got a lot of
that guy
fans.
was loving it.
That guy
German
was-
flag, had some sort of a musical instrument. I mean, if you're coming with a musical instrument, you know, this guy's ready to party.
Vuvuzela, isn't it?
If Vuvuzela, yeah. Well remembered.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there, Dave.
Vuvuzela, German flag.
Marco Zaccaril from Czech Republic.
Marco Zaccaril. There's a cocktail.
There's a cocktail. That's a party.
That's
if you want to go, if you're going to have a house party.
Vuvuzela and Marco Zaccaril. There's a party.
There's a party. Well, it's an 86, which at the moment is enough for 29th place. He won't be happy with that, and he's going to go for it. And that's a big initiation. He's fast. He's on big angle. Pushes to the wall. He looks for this one. Zaccaril hoping to stamp a little bit of authority on this. That's very nice. That transition flowed like a river as he absolutely sticks it to the wall. Flicks it across the circuit once again. A little shallow on 5. Now he goes to the wall for 6. Looks for that final outside zone. Smokes out the crowd and gets the job done.
That's a big improvement for me. I think that's one of the better runs he's done all weekend.
Yeah.
Marco Zaccaril putting in a phenomenal, and the pace of the run for me was the standout.
Fast.
Very fast. I don't think if you were to put another run that scored like, say, like a 90 plus in the chase position there, I don't think they'd have caught him because he was flying. Look at that, 2 wheels into outer zone 1, and watch how easy it makes at outer zone 2, as I was saying earlier, as he just puts the throttle on and just sails perfectly through it, pushing wide out towards outer zone 3 as well. This is a big score here. So what the judges want to see, look, very little deceleration as he transitioned, kept it pinned. That's what you want to see. Look at that, straight out to outer zone 4, really, really nice. 2 wheels again buried in the zone the whole way through. I'll be honest when I say this could be in the mix.
It could be in the mix. It could be in the mix. There was a few shallow zones.
I would have liked to see a little bit more madness, a little bit more wall rubbing.
Yeah.
Personally, from a style point of view, but from everything else, it was spot on. There you have it, 91 on the board for Marco Zaccaril. 15th position, real mid-pack score again, and 91. 9 points off absolute perfection, and you're still 15th.
15th.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the top 17th place is a 90 at the moment.
Yeah, and then we have a 92 on the board for Michael Reichert.
17 drivers scoring a 90 or more.
Never heard of that. Never heard of it. You must be mistaken, Ian.
No, Michael Reichert's one of those guys. He's got a 92. Well, he is a wild man, and he's going to make it an improvement at the moment. Look at this. He absolutely nails outside zone 1, 2 and 3 as he glues the back end of this E92 BMW M3 to the wall. And now he looks comfortable in this long outside zone. Flexes the bumper, flicks rubber at the camera. Goes a little shallow on outside zone 5, but now makes up for it for 6 and 7 as he gets the job done. And again, another fast run. Michael Reichert has come to party this weekend. And look at that, the Czech fans absolutely in love with that run. Chairs in hand. I don't know what that means. What's the chair in your hand when you wave it? Is
No
that
idea.
Like, take a seat.
Yeah.
You've stole
sit
the show.
yourself down.
Sit down, relax. Look at this. Yeah, that ticks all the boxes for you.
I told you, this first corner for me is probably my favorite part of the track. And if you were, because it's a weird initiation, you've got to be so precise. It doesn't just naturally happen in the car. You've got to make it happen. And he did make it happen and made it happen really well. And I think for Michael Reichert, for me, I think when you look at the battles tomorrow, which remember, this is just to warm up. This is the bit where it's this is the formality.
This is the formality, yeah.
You'll see that first corner be so important right throughout the battles, because if you don't get the first corner right, the chase car is already kind of at a disadvantage from there. So Michael Reichert, I mean, where did this Michael Reichert come out of? Just absolutely unbelievable through all those zones. Could this be an improvement? I think it's an improvement. I think this is going to be another massive score.
Yeah, so there we go. Michael Reichert doing a stellar job on his second qualifying run.
Probably the best I've seen him drive in qualifying. There you have it, a 94 from Michael Reichert into 11th position, a 92 and a 94 from Michael Reichert. He's usually sometimes hit or miss in qualifying.
Yep.
He's in the game here, and he's going to be a very tough contender to come up against tomorrow.
He certainly is, Dave. And we just took a look through the list, and the next 4 drivers have to score an 86 or more, I believe, to stay in the show. Or
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, 84 at the moment is the drop zone. That's the cutoff for Clint Van Aert. Clint Van Aert sits on the drop zone of an 84. You need an 86 really to be safe they're off the line. It's going to be Pontus Hartman from Sweden in his E46 BMW 2JZ. He knows what he needs to do. He's got a 76. He needs to improve. He said he was the Iron Drift King at one point in his career, and he knows this circuit. He said he knows how to drive around it. Now he needs to put it in to text. He needs to prove to everyone what he's got as he fires across into 5, looking good, looking rock steady as he puts the back bumper of the BMW to the walls and across the line. That is a huge improvement for Pontus Hartman.
It's a big improvement. Not perfect, but again, it's going to really jump up his 76, put him in the mix, get him in the conversation. Interesting fact, Ian.
Interesting fact.
You want one?
Yeah,
I was just thinking about how long ago Tor Arne Kivia put that 98 on the board.
Oh.
Because he was like the 10th driver up. So we've had maybe 30, 40 drivers go by.
Yeah.
And they still haven't beaten that 98 from Tor Arne Kivia. So just interesting to note that, you know, a lot of people think the high scoring comes late in the competition, but it came right at the start here.
Well, we've still got a few heavy hitters.
Still got a few to go, to be honest.
There's a few guys that, you know, doing a thing out there,
100-point run. It's coming.
You say
it's coming. It's coming.
I would love to see it, Dave.
It's going to happen.
I would love to see it.
I'll will it into existence. 99 or 100. 99, easy peasy.
I'll be happy with that.
I feel that's going to come, no problem. But 100.
That's never happened.
No.
Not in Drift Masters history. We've never had.
Well, have you ever had 85 as the cutoff for a top 32? No.
Oh,
he's right on the cutoff.
And he's on the cutoff.
31st position for Pontus Hartman. 85 is 35. What is happening? If you're at home wondering, do you want to go join the Drift Masters grid next year? Probably not the best idea if you're watching this, because it's very tough.
Right, so with Hartman jumping up, that is Clint Van Oor out. Eric Gottschall sits out by 1 point. He needs to get this 86, this golden 86, which is what I'm being told is that enough to get you in the show. What has Eric Gottschall got? The Polish driver goes bumper to wall, and he wants it. He's hungry for it. He's shallow on outside zone 2. He needs to pull it together. He needs to pull up his socks now as he looks for outside zone 4. Goes for the wall, and this is very nice. This is much nicer from Eric Gottschall as he fires into 5 on the throttle nice and early, and I don't even believe he braked for the outside zone as Gottschall hammers across the line. Incredible stuff.
Wow, this kid is amazing. I'm going to go out there, regardless of the score, and say that Eric Gottschall is a future European champion.
For sure.
He has it.
He has
I don't know what it is. I thought I once knew what it was, and I didn't. What mightn't have been it, but I know that this kid has it.
Yeah.
Like bravery, talent, machinery, all at his disposal. He's going to be a big name, and this is only his first real jump at this level, and he looks comfortable here.
He certainly does. Big Dessau on outside zone 1. I think that kind of upset the line and the depth into outside zone 2, but the rest of the run was phenomenal. He was so collected and so precise, so the transitions worked so well. I think he's going to be rewarded for this one massively, Dave. He's out of competition at the moment, as I say, an 83. He's way out, but he needs to improve massively.
this is far better than the first run. It's going to be up there. It's definitely going to be safe, I think.
Oh, he was lucky there.
He smashed the back wheel. 91 for Eric Gottschall. Into 16th position he goes. 16th position with a 91. That's a sentence that I'm saying today, out loud, publicly.
Never thought you'd say it, ever before.
Here's a man under some pressure. Naoki Nakamura sits well outside, I think, at the moment, isn't it?
44th place at the moment, Dave, with a 78. So he needs to absolutely glue the back bumper of this S15 to every single wall. Is, of course, Naoki Nakamura comes flying in. That front wheel positioned perfectly. Goes very deep into outside zone 1. That's nice for Naoki now. Gets a little deeper into 2 and 3 than he was before, and he's definitely reined this one in, pulled up the socks and worked out exactly what everyone else is doing. And this is looking much, much nicer for the Japanese champion as he goes into the 2 final outside zones, sings the car on the rev limiter across the line, and Nakamura gets the job done.
That's a great run.
Very good.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I was starting to doubt his ability to get into that, 85, 86 plus, because I watched practice. His chase run was exceptional. Lead run was always just a little wayward for me.
Yeah.
The first qualifying run, I think, also was a little wayward, but that one was some departure from that. Great run. Front wheel was where it needed to be. Outer zone 1 collected. Stayed really deep, actually, between the 2 outer zones.
Yeah.
Like, he's not scrubbing walls to some degree. So, I mean, maybe the 90s might be out of his reach, but definitely between Good run, actually, now that I look back at it. Very good run, very solid.
Very technical as well.
Yeah, I think you know what, maybe creep into the 90s with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely could creep into... I mean, look, if he's not in the 90s, he's not even a mid-pack driver there.
Yeah,
just think about that for a second.
It's not... No, it's a good run. I look back at it now, I'm going, there's not much the judges are going to take away from this, especially with the line he's driven. Oh, that last wall run is a bit sketchy when you look at it.
When you look at it at that angle?
A 92 for Naoki Nakamura from Japan. 15th position at the moment with a 92. Yeah, look at the line. 56 out of 60. That's where he gained a lot of points.
Well, that is it. That is it at the moment. Everyone in our top 32 now is in our top 32. All we can do now is rearrange the order because...
Shuffle them up.
Nakamura was the only person out. That leaves Diogo Correa, who is on the line at the moment in 32nd place. He scraped in with an 86 in 32nd place.
Scraped in with an 86. Anyway. This is real life, folks. Diogo Correa from Portugal fires into that first corner, goes wide. Correa's going very fast here.
Wow.
That's brave. He went wide and he went fast for him, as he has a lot of momentum through that corner. Correa always ready to put on a show for anybody here at Drift Masters. As he fires out to that outer zone, Correa doing a good job here, looking like he's well in control of this one. Nice and out to the wall again. This is a man very comfortable with his machinery after 5 rounds of competition. Correa looking exceptional once again.
I mean, look, the podium for me in Finland was the stamp of authority that everyone kind of needed in their passport to say that Correa has what it takes to play with these big guys, because he is a talented driver. He's a huge following from Portugal as well, Dave. From Spain and Portugal, those guys absolutely adore this man.
He's a following from me. I think he's a
phenomenal.
Yeah,
we've been
We're big
fan.
Correa fans.
Big Correa fans from day one. When he first turned up, we knew. We said it. We said it, Dave.
You know what? He's a bit wild. I like that.
Yeah,
he's a little bit wild. But
not out of the car, though.
No.
Out of the car, reserved.
Reserved out of the car, but in the car, a bit wild. I like the flair that he brings to runs. And that's another flary run there. Very, like, you know, lots of angle, throwing it here, there, and everywhere. Very committed on the entry. Very, very fluid on the entry, like that. This will be a good score. Again, he's in 32nd position, so you can only improve, really, from there. He's in the show, and I think he will with that. I think that's a better run. A more aggressive run.
More aggressive,
definitely more aggressive. A 92 for Diogo Correa puts him into 15th position. And 15th position is mid-pack 92. I just don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense, Dave. It's not going to...
We come here and we don't expect this level of upside-downness to happen, but hey, it's Germany. We're on an island. What do you expect?
Well, when we go back to the line, Kevin Pascalti stole the show. Yeah. He was top qualifier, 97 on his first qualifying run. He's currently now sits third. He won't want a wild card coming in here and stealing his thunder.
Come on, Kevin. 100-point run.
He's been here all year. What can he do? Through the gears comes his supercharged V8 BMW E92. He's on the wall. Big initiation right to the edge of the circuit. Up into the wall again he goes, and up close and personal now. Starts getting a little bit more technical. Doesn't flex the bumper this time. Just minor touches onto the wall. He's shallow there, though. On outside zone 4, he fires across the circuit. Now a little touch onto the wall he goes. He looks for 6, and the final outside zone awaits as Kevin Pascalti finishes up an incredible run.
Oh, good one again. Kevin Pascalti could be the dark horse this weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Imagine if he walks in and wins this.
Kevin Pascalti right now could win the whole thing hands down. He is phenomenal right now. Is it the 100-point run? I don't think so.
Slam your bottle down with disappointment.
I slammed my bottle down with disappointment and a bottle of water because I was like, I'm waiting for this 100-point run, and I've only got 10 chances at it.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
You want to see it?
But I can't make it happen, and the judges can't make it happen. It just has to happen. But you know when you get those moments where you start to feel, he's beginning to believe.
He's beginning to believe.
Kevin Pascalti is definitely beginning to believe that he can win the whole thing.
He has come with an attitude this season.
Oh, he's been phenomenal this year.
And he has come with this mindset that I can do it and I can compete with these guys
He's
at that
probably
level.
the first driver, not the first, but one of the only drivers I've ever looked at and gone, he is willing himself better.
Yeah.
Like he is just saying, no, I can do this. I'm going to get better. Such positivity. No complaining from him. You don't hear Kevin Pascalti getting disgruntled over anything, judging decisions where he just says, no, I'm going to do better, do better. And every round he is doing better. Big fan of Kevin Pascalti.
Yeah.
And I think that one's going to be a good score. I think it's, I don't know if it's going to be a 97 now. No, I don't think it's going to be a 97. It's not going to be 100.
Who knows?
It's a 94. Who knows is right.
Oh,
a 94.
Kevin
so
O'Connell was making a hand at me that looked like a fish swimming in a river, which I'm saying he was very wobbly. He was a lot of steering inputs.
Kevin was just saying that he loves fishing.
He loves fishing.
Loves fishing.
Big fishing guy.
Yeah. Benedictus Churba, you can do a 100-point run. You've been close in the past. You can do it.
94 on the board at the moment for Benedictus.
It's only 6 points. It's only 6 points he needs.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting next to 3 robots that don't want to give 6 more points away.
I'm willing this into existence.
Here we go.
Go.
It's through, and this is nice. Wheel on the line, bumper onto the wall that actually flicks the tailgate of the car there on initiation now. As Benedictus Churba, the Lithuanian, goes right to the edge of the circuit, and this is nice. This is very smooth. He's in outside zone 4, and he's deep, and he's on the wall, and it looks absolutely controlled as Churba goes to the wall once again. Very clean, very technical from Churba. And wow, it has the X factor too.
It's a contender. It's a contender. I think. Is it? I don't know if it. I
mean, he's 12th with a 94.
I know, but it's phenomenal. The speed he came into that first corner was crazy. Watch this. Fires through the first corner. Gets look at it.
Look at the tailgate.
Tags the wall. I think it's got close. It's very close to it.
I've never
Come
seen
on.
Dave winning a score.
It's got to be close to 100. It has to be. There's nothing you could say. Like, let's put it this way. This could have been a little closer to the wall, and this transition for me could have been a bit more aggressive. But
I think 4. I think the entry into 4 was beautiful. Look at this, the way he gets in there.
Yeah,
it's absolutely lovely. There was 2 points. There was 5, and there was 3 where he just didn't touch the wall. I think if he would have touched the wall, that could have been it.
It'll be very close. No, it has to be. It can be 100. It could be 100.
No, it's not 100. I think
close.
there was more to it. There was more out there. There was 2.
I don't know. Was there much more out there?
What's he on? 94. So he's 6 points out there.
It'll be close. It'll be close. It's way up there. Way up there. Has to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
we've stopped being commentators now, and we're just shouting like fans.
We're just fans now. We should go out in the grandstands and just shout.
Come on. Here we go. Oh, it's a 98 for Benedictus Churba, 2nd position. And I was disappointed by the 98. But that is a phenomenal run. How many 98s have we got?
Right, so we've got 3 98s. At the moment, Kvyat and Churba are tied on qualifying scores. Laurie Heinonen divides them with a 98. So if Heinonen can score higher than a 94, he will overtake Churba. I think that's how it works.
It's a lot of math for you, Ian.
But then will Churba overtake Kvyat because Churba's been in the championship with more points?
No idea.
I don't even know. We're going back on the line with a 93 from Jakub Pszczonski. Now this man, well, he is Mr. Technical, but he was way over that white line. Oh, wow, he took the back end off the car on initiation. He risked it all, but now he's upset the line and starts to bleed points. That was a mistake.
Yeah, it's not going to be anywhere near his 93 from his first run. His initiation actually was very strange. It's almost like he kicked the clutch and the car didn't react the way he wanted it to react. And then he just absolutely walloped the wall, and that's burnt out that lap for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, he knows it himself.
He's in the show either way, and he's going to be a contender tomorrow in the I mean, let's be honest, getting in the show is the most important thing. So
yeah,
everyone goes, oh, qualifying scores, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Nobody remembers them. They only remember who's on the podium at the end of the battles. The qualifying is to get you in. There is championship points for the top of qualifying, and it sets it up. But right now, we want to see how far we can push, and that is too far.
That is too
far. Into the wall, went too early.
Bam. That is why Dwayne McKeever removed his spoiler.
Yes, because that's what happens. In the whole boot lid, never mind even the spoiler, the whole thing just did an absolute 720 and left the car.
And it's carrying some pace.
It is.
Yeah, completely upset the line of the car, and that was it from really then on out, because he missed those outside zones. And
it's not going to be a good score.
No.
But his 93 is enough to get him in. Joe, he actually recovered okay from the rest of that run. It's an 85. 85 on the board from Kuba Pszczonski. So funny when I don't think it's 100. I'm just starting to lose interest. I'm losing interest once it's not 100 now. So we got an interview with Kuba Pszczonski. But Adam, he took half the back end of the car off and still got an 85. What's happening in the real world right now?
Kuba, like Dave said, you took half of the rear end off while trying to hunt that magic 100. How does it feel inside of the car?
Feeling was good in the first zone. I think the rear spoiler was a little bit too far from the car, and then I hit the wall or the fence up, and then I changed my reach. But
I'm really happy. The first run was perfect for me, and the competition is really tight here, and it's really hard to judge the drivers.
Well, thank you very much, man. You certainly put on a show today. Thank you.
Well, Kuba Pszczonski, even in the car, he knows it's hard to judge this one.
What got me was he was so relaxed.
He's like, oh, well, 93 was perfect for me.
The car, he got a 93. He's like, that.
Cars in pieces, but you look, here we are. Now we move back to, well, look, here we are. Kevin Pazur. It could be Kevin Pazur.
Dave.
Could be. 96.
I think you should give up.
He's got 96.
He's only 4 away, Dave.
4 points away.
Where are 4 points?
On a day like today, a man like Kevin Pazur...
You tell me where the 4 points are.
He'll relish this, Ian. He will relish this opportunity. He's nothing to lose.
Nothing.
Nothing. Here we go. Come on, Kevin.
The Estonian off the line. Oh, wow, that's a perfect line down there. He's on the wall, he's rubbing the wall, he's on the throttle nice and early. Can he get to? Oh, I don't know, he's a little shy, Dave. He didn't trade paint, but he did with outside zone 3. Transitions to outside zone 4. But he's very shallow and he wanders away from outside zone 4. He has to correct. And now starts bleeding points as he tags outside zone 5. He's on an absolute flyer. Is Kevin Pazur right now across the line?
Yeah, it's not going to do it.
Nah,
it's not going to do it. The 96 from his first run will count as his overall score because he did have a bit of a wander into outer zone 4, as you picked up on, Ian, and he didn't on his first run. So it's not going to improve. Still a good run, mind you. Kevin Pazur, he could win tomorrow, by the way, because he's very good.
I'm just going to say, looking at the list, Dave, there are now...
But like
the top 20.
But think about Kevin Pazur, right? He's been kind of, who's Kevin Pazur? And then all of a sudden, he's top 16, then he's top 8, then he's right in the mix, then he's top 3 qualifier in Riga.
Yep.
Kevin Pazur is ready to make that move.
He certainly is.
And I think this could be the weekend.
There is 20 drivers with a 90-plus score that all want a trophy at the end of this weekend.
The minute someone misses a zone now, I'm just like, well, that's it.
Dave throws his headset across the room.
That is not happening. I have such unrealistically high expectations for what's about to happen. Will it pay off? We don't know. That's the drama now. Am I right to expect this 100, or are you right in saying there isn't one out there? A 94.
And we're not impressed with a 94.
No, I knew it wasn't 100, and I knew it wasn't better than the 96. But I definitely didn't know anything else, or what's happening right now.
A 96 and a 94.
This is real life, folks. Everybody's getting 90s, and we're saying that's a disappointment. It's not 100. Now, here we are. Here's the man.
I was just waiting for you to see.
98 in Riga, 100 coming today. Peter Wiańczek, 2-time champ, 1,000 horsepower. That's what you need. 2JZ, that's what you need. His experience and flair, this is what you need.
Well, he's absolutely going for it, Dave, and he is deep on outside zone 1. It's a beautiful line into 1, and he's very close to outside zone 2. Now he's close again, and he was rewarded last time for not touching the wall. The technical line was what the judges rewarded him on. Outside zone 4 is absolutely beautiful as he gets himself into 5. He throws a big angle, and he makes it work. How did he even pull it off? Into outside zone 6, he's across the line. Wiańczek is on a mad one.
Now we have a contender. Now we have a contender. I'm not sure. I thought he was going to spin at the end there, but he made it work. So they had the style, had the angle. Angle was great. Is there anything to take the points away from? It's going to be very close. Kavia, 98. Heinen, 98. Sherba, 98. Where does Wiańczek
Well,
land?
if it's a 98, he will top qualifying because his second score, his first run, was a 97.
Yeah, so just to explain that to people who are first-time watchers, Ian, it is your best score counts, unless it's a lot of tied scores, and that's your other score counts because of who is the highest of those. So Wiańczek would go first if he got a 98. But it could be 100, it could be 99, we don't know.
There's not a 90, there's not 100 out there, Dave. I'm telling you, there's not 100 out there.
It's got to be up there. Come on. I don't know what the judges are doing.
I think it's too risky to get 100 out there.
Oh, someone's got to risk it. Or maybe Peter risked it. Maybe that little flick at the end, that 90 degree was enough.
No, I think that's unchaseable. I think he will still get rewarded, but I think it was...
No, it's a 97. It's 4th position.
I'm going to have a look at Kevin O'Connell. Was it the angle, Kevin? It was the walls.
He needs to be closer to the walls. Somebody tell Dwayne McKeever, tell the start line marshal to tell all the drivers, closer to the walls.
100.
We want 100 today, closer to the walls. Dwayne McKeever, he took the spoiler off the car already. He's ready for this. Dwayne McKeever, ready to take on the rest of the circuit here as he comes off the line. That's good from Dwayne McKeever as he comes into that first corner. Very wide, very late lock-up. He could go in the wall here, but he doesn't go in the wall. Keeps keeps it together. McKeever goes to the other wall. That was a risky maneuver. I'm not sure how the judges will look at that. It was either perfect or a mistake. Look either way as McKeever fills outer zone 4, fires back there. This is good for McKeever. He struggled in practice with some issues. No such issues in qualifying as he fires across the line. Now Ian Waddington.
It was good.
Have a quick look at that.
It was good. I'm gonna break it down on the replay.
I think
I'm gonna pull it apart like a Christmas present, Dave.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna rip it apart.
Just.
And I'm ready to take the RAF from Dwayne later.
This is good.
Let's have a look. This is very good. For me though, he came away from outside zone 1.
He did.
He handbraked and he came away from the wall. He gets on the throttle. Look, he risks. Look at that from inside the car. Four-wheel lockup though. Gets on the throttle nice and early. Very nice. Very, very good there. Comes to outside zone 2. Oh, it kind of late to the zone. If you look where the bumper was, it was at the end of the zone.
Yeah, but this is definitely going to score in the 90s, right? Because it's that good a run. I love how critical we're trying to be over perfection right now. We're only comparing perfection. He wasn't perfect.
No, but then the rest of the last part of this run was. Yeah, there was 2 mistakes there for me. It was outside zone 1 and it was outside zone 3. He came to it late. These were beautiful.
Not mistakes, not mistakes. Not full point earners.
Not full point earners.
Yeah, because he got the zone.
I think 1 was a mistake.
A little bit.
I think he came in maybe a little bit too fast.
Hey, I like fast. I like speed. 93 for Dwayne McKeever, 13th position.
I was right.
You were right, Ian. I'm going to admit it.
And a day like this, Dave, I could...
And now I've got how many chances to get this perfect 100? 4? 4. Yeah, 5. We've got 5.
No, 4, sorry.
Yeah.
4.
4th position in the championship right now. Lauri Heinen from Finland.
He needs a 90-something or better.
So here we go. Wow, firing in. Lauri Heinen goes right to the end of the circuit, gets it up onto the wall. That's what we want to see, and slams the other wall. Heinen's coming for this now as he fires back to outer zone 4. This is perfection so far. Can Heinen keep it together as he transitions back? Gotta go to the wall.
Oh, no!
What did you do? What did you do, Lauri? You had it all in your hands.
That was a 99.
That was up there.
That was a 99, I'm telling you, because that had speed, aggression,
style.
He had it all.
Risk. And a spin, unfortunately. Oh, he went for, I don't know what he went for there at the end.
So I was just trying to look at what he needed a 94 or better, and he hasn't got it, so he can't top qualifying.
He got a 0. There's a mix of scores. 98 and a 0, and he's still in 3rd. But you know what? Lauri Heinen went for it there for fun, because he's already got 98, so he's in the show anyway.
Like he had nothing to lose.
None of this will matter tomorrow in the twin battles, because they'll all have to beat people head-to-head anyway.
Yeah.
But there are championship points. There's championship points on the line for qualifying, so they're all looking at these little, minor margins.
Yep. And bragging rights.
Yeah.
To walk around the pits.
Phenomenal mustache on that guy there. By the way.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Impeccable.
He knows it.
Impeccable. Yeah.
He's looking for the 100. Now we only have 3. Oh, we got Adam Iveley's down with Lauri Heinen, and a 0 there, trying to get that perfect 100. Adam didn't quite make it work.
Lauri pushing for that perfect 100 there. See a little spin, but you're sat in 3rd going into tomorrow. Championship fight is on. How are you feeling from inside the car?
Yeah, I'm a bit in a bad mood because I overshoot it there, but you have to just push everything to get that top spot. But this is fine for us.
Well, we can't wait to see you in the battles tomorrow, man. Good luck. Have fun.
There you have it. 98 on the scoreboard, described as fine by Lauri Heinen.
It's fine.
It's fine. That's fine. That'll do fine.
He was angry.
He was like, I'm a bit disappointed, but it's fine.
Do you know the worrying thing is? He's going to go into tomorrow angry.
Oh, he won't sleep tonight.
Great.
He will be literally crushing eggs. So angry.
Stamping his feet.
Just stamping. I am going to take down everybody tomorrow. Juha Rintanen, is he going to get a perfect 100?
Well, he's 20th at the moment, Dave. He's 20th. So he's way down the order with a 91.
91. He could do it, though. And then he could come out of nowhere to be the new contender for the championship.
I love the belief in Dave's face.
Come on, Juha Rintanen. You can do it. Off the line he goes. He won in Sweden for the top qualifying here in Germany. Perfect line so far from Juha Rintanen. Oh, a little wobble there as he goes for against outer zone 2. He's wide. Outer zone 3 from Juha Rintanen. Here we go as he fires back onto the wall. He goes. That is very smooth, very nice from Juha Rintanen. This is a really good run so far. Oh, and out to the wall he goes again. Juha Rintanen is absolutely unstoppable in this GR86 this year, and still very much in contention for this championship.
He is in the fight. He is in the fight, and you know what? That is a man that has been reignited from changing from that Nissan Silvia chassis to this new GR86. This was beautiful. There were mistakes though, Dave. He was shallow there on outside zone 1. He didn't touch the wall. We know now you're expected to run that wall, but then he carried a very shallow angle through these first 3 zones. Look at this, he dials off the angle there. He's very shallow. Then he starts to wind it on, looking for the transition. He's looking for the speed, but the speed I don't think is what he's going to pay off in qualifying to get the high score.
I think it's going to be in the 90s. I think it's a big improvement. I think it's an improvement on his first run, to be honest. But that would leave us with the 2 Shanahan brothers to make the dream of the 100 a reality. I don't know. And it'd be very interesting that the Shanahans spent 10 years fighting for a European championship, and now they have to fight each other this year for the championship. And
well, I mean, Dave,
you've got Connor's calculated style, and you've got Jack's wild. Jack has the potential for 100, but he also has the potential to spin. So that's the way it works.
You say that, right? But this is Drift Masters. And every single round so far has been a different winner.
True.
And I said at the beginning of the weekend, when I turned up, oh, it's going to be a new winner this weekend. And everyone went, oh, don't say that. We're going to go to Poland with 4 drivers that can win it. And I was like, that'd be cool.
But yeah, but I think
there's going to be an outsider or a Laurie Heinonen or
Laurie
a Rittinen,
Heinenen's primed.
or a Rittinen
Primed and ready.
standing on the top step, or a Kavir out of nowhere. Just turns up and goes, ha,
just spills over all the apple cart and says goodbye.
All the Skittles.
Yeah.
Jack and Connor stand all the Skittles up and comes in and bowls them down. A 97 for Juha Rittinen, 6th place.
That's an amazing run.
That's an unbelievable run. The shallow angle, I think.
Yeah, that's the 3 points.
I think that was the points.
Right, 2 Shanahans. Doesn't matter what they do now, except they're both scored a 97, right?
Right,
97.
so Jack is currently sitting 10th.
96.
And Connor is 7th with a 97.
So this is it. 100 or nothing, right? Not that they'll take.
You have nothing to lose.
There's nothing to lose. Go for the 100. Connor Shanahan, can he make history? He is currently 2nd in the championship. Can he be 1st in qualifying?
Well, that's a beautiful line down that front wheel. Oh, he's very shallow, and he's spun. He's going to go into the wall. And that was a massive mistake from Connor Shanahan.
Good at all. What happened there? And I'm thinking that's done some damage to that car.
I think that was a problem with the car.
I think it shut off. I think the car shut off.
Well, we've got on board, so hopefully we should be able to see.
I have a feeling that car shut off at around outer zone 1. Just shut off.
It drastically dropped away from outside zone 1.
For me, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's happy, but to me, it didn't look like that was a driver error.
No.
I think the car just completely shut off. He went in there and it just, nothing happened. Oh, it's big damage to the rear end of the car. And the championship on the line, end of qualifying. You're expecting Connor to go out and make, real light work of this qualifying session as he always does. And then we've got drama straight away at the end of the show. Before tomorrow, Shanahan's car shuts off and crashes. 2nd in the points in the championship. Not what you want to see right now.
No, not what you want to see right now. And I'd love to see a replay of the onboard from initiation, because kind of want to see if something happened in the car. I want to see Connor, his reaction to what went on there.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we'll get an interview with Connor to see what happened, but that car took a big hit to the rear end. And again, I've been saying it all the way through qualifying, in those GT86s, there's not much room for error because everything's so close to the back of the car. Your wheel is close to the back of the car, your fuel cell. So Connor having a little bit of a look just to see how bad it is, but it's definitely folded a lot of that car up there at the moment. Well, you want a drama, Ian? You're getting drama? 2 spoons.
2 spoons? I feel like I've had a bucket load poured on my head, Dave, today.
You've overeaten on drama today. Oh, well, I mean, the car is still on, so that would have said it didn't shut off.
Yeah.
If something happened, I'm sure we'll know. A very bemused look on a lot of the Shanahan team face of what actually happened to the car. We did report the car breaking down at the end of practice yesterday. So do we think there's some gremlin in there?
There might be a gremlin in there, Dave. And could that be the tail of the tape for the rest of the weekend? Tomorrow, these guys go head-to-head, and Connor said to me, I need to come away from this weekend with a little bit of points clear. Let's have a look. Comes down, very nice, early initiation. That front wheel, perfect on that white line. And he comes down, jumps onto the handbrake.
Yeah, something very weird happened there.
I don't think the car reacted when he went back on throttle.
Because the wheels... Watch the smoke screen on the back of the car.
Yeah,
right?
the wheels didn't spin when he disengaged the clutch again. Watch this, he goes on the handbrake, goes to go on the throttle, nothing.
It's like a wildly out of control Shanahan.
Plus, here we go, look, we're going to see the onboard now.
He's firing along, pulls the handbrake. He goes down a gear. Oh yeah, he's lost it completely. Something very strange happened there. Oh.
That was a lot harder than when we looked from the outside.
Yeah, you could feel that. He's completely lost control of the car. He's on the handbrake. He knows he's locked the whole car up. All 4 wheels locked. Boom, into the wall. Those walls don't move.
No, they don't.
That's a worried face right now, and it should be.
Yeah.
Should be, because again, we're having fun here at the end of qualifying because we know all the drivers are in the show, but you want them in the show. And is Shanahan going to be in the show if this is the case? Now remember, he started qualifying in this car. Can't change out of that.
Well, I mean, look, let's take a flashback, Dave, to 2022. We're in Poland. We're at the stadium. Jack, Connor is...
I'm just listening there. He's saying whole subframe wrecked on the back of the car. Everything gone. So that's not a good sign.
It's going to be a late night, a long night. But they've got... The lucky thing is, Dave, the qualifying session here is early in the day. They have all afternoon now and all night to fix that car ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. You got John Shannon, Jack's and Connor's dad there on the right, and you've got one of the mechanics there, and they're assessing the damage before it comes in because they're going to have to start on this pretty quickly.
I'm going to go back to what I was saying. Flashback 2022, Poland final. Connor fighting the championship for Peter Vincek. Gets to the car on the line, ready to go for a battle. Power steering fails, ends his weekend, ends the championship.
Yeah, close to the end again here.
Close to the end again now. Could a gremlin once again put an end to Conor Shanahan's championship? Or will he do everything in his power to make sure that doesn't happen once again?
Well, look, it's happened at the right time. He's already qualified.
Yeah.
So it's happened at the right time. He has quite a considerable time to fix this. If you think about it, we have a late start tomorrow to top 32 here, local time, as we go under the lights here in Germany. So he has got time to fix this car. A lot of time. So I'm not worried so much about that to a certain extent, but it does knock your confidence. It does put you in a little bit of a shaky position.
It's an uncharacteristic mistake, and I wonder if there is something else that's going on that kind of forced Connor into that.
And now we have one qualifying run left. It's Jack Shannon, it's his brother, it's the current championship leader. He's already qualifying in 10th with a 96. He's warming his tires. He could do the 100, Ian. I'm just saying, after
You're still holding on, Dave.
Holding on.
Holding on.
He has the stuff to do it.
Well, we make that one official anyway.
Clearly
that's official.
a zero. He has the stuff to do it. He has the flair.
Yep.
And his ability to go to a place that he's uncomfortable being is what 100 looks like to me. It's got to have something about it that you say, that's a bit silly now. What has he done there?
Well, if anyone can do it, Jack can do it.
He can do it. Now, we're building it up here, and it may not happen at all. His brother just went in the wall. Didn't even get through the first corner. So don't get me wrong, this matters very little at this point. But just wouldn't it be cool if Jack Shannon came out here in top qualifying as the championship leader to put it to everybody else who scored all those 90s? Could happen, might not happen.
Well, he's only 4 points away.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what's about to happen. Jack Shannon comes off the line, last run of qualifying. Into the first corner he goes. Clutch kicks through the first, little shallow on the first corner. Fires down very late into that last bit. Sends the car right onto the wall. Now Shanahan's coming for it. But doesn't go quite wide enough there on the second run as he fires back. And this is a very, very good run, but not an amazing run. And we wanted an amazing run. He's already had an amazing run with a 96. It's a little bit wobbly. The steering looks bad. The Shanahan's finished qualifying looking a little shakier than we expected halfway through the event. And a shake of the head from Jack Shannon will probably tell you not the perfect run for him. Still, 96, 10th position. I'm not sure it's going to improve with that run. But I thought it was all sewn up. The Shanahans were coming in there saying, oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, look who's out-qualified them. Both drivers that are below the Shanahans in the championship have out-qualified them here in Germany. So take that into perspective before we head to top 32 tomorrow. Jack Shannon looked to me like just, watch this, inner wheel drops on the inside of that white line. Line it's not bad by any means. He gets into the outer zone. This was quite good. But just looked to me like he wandered out of outer zone 3 and
I think he made contact with that wall. I think that's what maybe done it for him. When he got to outside zone 2, I wonder if he made contact with it, because it kind of He dialed on a lot of angle. It was the angle that sacrificed outside zone 3. He didn't sacrifice it. He just wasn't on the wall where
still a very good run, mind you.
Everyone to be.
Yeah, I think we're judging incredibly negatively on these runs because this would have still been like the best run ever a year ago.
Yeah.
Like we would have been like, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen. 1 year later, we're like, well, you know what? He could have done better.
Could have done better, yeah.
But this has been the wildest qualifying session in my recent memory anyway. I've never seen anything quite like this. And 91 for Jack Shannon, stays in 10th position. Only good enough for 10th with a 96. Just take a moment, folks, and realize that this is, 55 on line. You can see losing a little bit on style. Didn't have enough style. Jack Shannon.
Yeah, I mean, 3 points, whatever it was.
So let's have a look at where we are. It is Tor Arne Kavia, the wild card, topping qualifying with a 98 and a 98 for Benedikt Sturba, and also a 98 for Laurie Heinen. So all three with 98s. Peter Wiańczek back in business, 98 in Riga, 97 in Germany. And look at this, all of these scores, all the way down, are all 90s. Everything. 16th position, Kuba Pshazi, guess what? Another 90. McKeever, 90. And Eric Gottschall rounds out, look at it, Oren Nielsen with a 90, 21st position. Never seen anything quite like it. All of these guys, high 80s, 86 was the cutoff. And 86, Pushan with the cutoff, and here are the drivers that did not make it through to our top 32 tomorrow. This has definitely been the most competitive, wild, unpredictable qualifying session we've witnessed in recent years. And it goes to show that if you think all of these scores are in qualifying, how competitive do you think the top 32 is going to be tomorrow? Head judge Kevin O'Connell shakes his head because he knows tomorrow
he's got a busy day.
He's got a busy day. Better get the sleep in tonight because tomorrow there's going to be a lot of really close battles, and it's going to be a long night of no sleep for Conor Shanahan.
Well, Dave, this is what I want to see. I want to see this that's going to pop up on the screen right now. This is the grid for tomorrow, the top 32 bracket. What does it look like? Who's going head to head?
Well, let's look at the championship contenders first. Let's see where they've dropped in. Jack Shannon gets a taste of that. Big one.
Dave, if Conor and Jack make it through top 32, they meet in the top 16.
That's not what they wanted from this.
Wow.
So Shannon's could take each other out, or they might get taken out by that stage. Wiańczek looking strong over on the left-hand side of the bracket, away from his championship contenders. Now, where is Rintanen? Rintanen, yeah, he'll have to kind of meet the Shannons.
in this corner as well, look.
Oh, so all the championship contenders are on the right-hand side of the bracket. That's interesting.
Wow. You just take a look at that.
Yeah.
Just take a look at that and think about, you've got to think about where these championship contenders can end up after that top 32 battle, if they win that battle.
That's if they even make it to it, because Conor Shannon has no working car right now. Just to remind you guys, local time, 4:15 tomorrow. You know what you're doing. You're watching Drift Masters European Championship here on the island. And then at 8:25, we head to the main event. The action has only begun this weekend. We hope you guys have enjoyed qualifying. We are leaving here this evening with a lot of bated breath and anticipation for what's to come. We'll join you guys tomorrow for the top 32.